Also a Rihanna song.
Disturbed. What is that movie? Disturbing Behavior is what came to mind when you said Disturbia.
That's not what I was thinking of at all.
I know. But just how
Like
mine works.
not even close.
I don't know how to help you. It's a good movie though. I think. I haven't seen it in a long time. But you know, it's got Katie Holmes in it. That's what I remember.
Ooh.
Anyway, ready to do this thing?
Ready, Freddy.
With your feet on the air, your head on the ground. Try this trick and spin it. Yeah. Your head will collapse if there's nothing in it, and you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
Hey man.
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, it occurred to me that a couple of things as you get like how long is that intro? You know how long the song plays for? What, like 30 or 40 seconds or something?
Yeah, something like that.
About 4,000 things run through my mind as I'm
Really?
listening to it. I mean, like, yeah, like what could we start off chatting about? And
Look at
do
you.
I-
This,
like
is
I
why
could just
this is why you're so good at podcasting.
oh really?
Because I'm just multitabbing. I'm like hitting Twitter, seeing Discord.
Oh yeah, you're
like,
doing
what's
the
going
thing.
on over
You're
here?
in a, but you're
I'm
in a
not
different
paying any
experience.
attention. I'm not
You're-
thinking about any of that.
You have a totally different experience. I get to just kind of sit here and I watch the record player just kind of go
Yeah.
around and the thing and everything. And one of the things was like this is the show that you were born to do. Like I'm actually surprised you don't have like 5 or 6 of these. Like
Let's see,
just
Hanks?
hang out and just like chat with people.
Oh. Well,
Feel
I
like
could
this
do
is-
like you beat me to it, right? You've got your We the Gamer cast. That's kind of already that.
Yeah, but with different people. I don't
Sure.
know. I don't know that it could really like keep
I think
going.
like our old PSVD DLC used to be.
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true.
And I mean, I don't want to put myself over, but I did very much enjoy doing DLC, and
Mhm.
I often got comments from folks, even the PSVG team. They're like, "How do you just do a show? Like you just like I am kind of I'm very I don't know talkable.
Yeah.
I can just hang out with people for a
Yeah.
long time."
It's rare, man. That's not everybody. Sometimes you just I don't know. And I don't want to get like too in our own heads about it because it probably just like halts the whole thing. But the other thing that came to
I just think
mind.
some people you can hang out with. Obviously, depends on who you're talking to,
Yeah.
right? If I don't care about what you have to say, then I'm not going to be that interested. Where I think that's where we very much differ. Where I honestly think you can have a conversation. You can do a podcast with a stranger.
No, well,
seen
I
you
do have
it.
I do
Yeah,
have it
like,
with
what are you
strangers.
talking
Yeah.
about? Like, I
No.
cannot.
But I
can't-
am genuinely interested more often than not in
And
what
I'm
they
not.
have to say. In what strangers have to say.
I know I'm not that interested in what that many people have to say. I'm positive I'm not that interested in what that many people have to say.
I don't know, man. Sometimes people like Robbie Bobby Miller's on the show this weekend, and I was like, "Holy crap, dude! Like the life this
Blowing
guy
your
has
mind?
lived." Yeah, man. And
Sean is one of the easiest people to talk to. See, I'm not alone.
But-
you are. You're the Bob Hope.
White Sea Deer
You
is
got
the
it.
same. Like, dude, like you're one to talk, man. Like the experiences these guys have had are like, tell me more. Like, why wouldn't I want to know more about that? But there's definitely people in my life who, you know, we talk about this, especially as the holidays start to come up. It's like, I don't care. And nobody cares about what I have to say either. I think that's the other thing that we found here on the internet for whatever reason. Like, I feel like you and I can genuinely be interested in what each other has to say.
Yeah.
But like,
of course.
there's people in my real life who like don't give a damn about this stuff.
Well, yeah. If you want to talk about real life, nobody outside of the internet
or
gives a
anything
shit
we
about what
do.
I'm saying.
It's not even just like the podcasting or video games, like anything, like the
My
movies
kids
that
and
we
wife
like.
just write me off. They're
Oh
like,
my
"Okay, Dad."
gosh, no
whatever.
kidding.
Go back down to your basement. Go back down to your lair. We'll let you know when we need more money.
Yeah. Send the invoices down.
Right.
I'll be
And
here.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. This is how dads turn into the dads that we are. We're just like
yeah,
grumpy,
that dad
just
energy.
like totally disconnected, just dejected, whatever, man.
A time
Just
capsule.
do whatever you want to do.
You know, like
Mhm.
they're like they haven't grown up from like that point in time where they
Pretty
really
much.
found it.
Yep.
Just hanging on to it. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
a lot of sense.
There's a couple dads, because we used to go out to hang out with friends in high school, especially, and like the dads would just kind of like put up with it for the most part.
Sure.
And a couple of dads just like, man, they didn't care. Like they did. They were mostly just disappointed in us. Like, what are you doing with your lives and all that kind of stuff?
You should be
Like,
out
we
there
don't
saving
know.
the world, building
I
something.
know. They build something, exactly.
building
Like,
bridges? What are you doing?
Do you even know what a monkey wrench is? I
You
bet
fight
you
a
don't.
war yet? Gosh.
Hey, we were just a little delayed. We did our time with the pandemic, maybe. I don't know if that's really the same. I don't know if that's
Not
fair
at
to
all.
compare.
Nope,
Probably not.
even a
Especially the
little
way
bit.
most of us handled it.
Yeah.
Probably not the same. Although you never know. My IRL crews don't give a yeah. No, this is but other people are doing it. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Other people are like, that sounds great to just like jump on a podcast and talk.
Yeah.
That
just
sounds
hang out.
amazing. Hmm.
It's just it's replaced the phone.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like, I don't use the phone anymore. Like if I'm on the phone, it's about business. I'm either paying
Mhm.
a bill or it's about the job. If I'm talking
Oh
to my
man, I
friends,
can't stand
it's
talking on the phone.
syndicated.
Yeah.
Like when I talk to my friends, it's public,
yeah.
which is strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
different.
if
It's weird.
you step away from this for a second, you kind of
Mhm.
realize that it is a little bit strange, but I mean, yeah, I guess so. But we gotten so used to it very quickly.
It's modern. Yeah, and it's just like a new way of doing things, but it is strange. Like if you compare it, generation to generation. I
Mhm.
used to always say that back when we first started podcasting. I always thought it was super, I don't know, just odd. Probably is the best word, strange, that our kids would just have like videos of us
I know.
that'll
Just-
just live on forever.
Probably
Apparently,
you want to say for better or for
at
worse,
some
but
point
probably for
Google has
worse.
to like just clear the cache, right?
You would
they're
think
like,
so. Like how
look,
much
You can't keep this anymore. Like,
the
you can't keep
YouTube
this going.
archive is got to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's something like a year's worth of content, like in time wise, like a year's is uploaded like every second or something
Mhm.
crazy like that. Like something stupid like that. Like,
Yeah.
and especially now with shorts and everything, and
Where does
even
that
not
go
even
in?
just YouTube.
Where does that go in 200 years?
I don't know. They must
It's
have like
amazing
these
we don't
data
sleep
centers in
on
the ocean or
servers.
something.
Yeah, true.
The fish do.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I think about that every so often when I get like reflective. I'm like, man, it's weird. Like I'm gonna die one day, hopefully not
Mhm.
soon, and my kids are just gonna be able to like, here's dad. I'm gonna pull him up on my
There
phone.
he is. Yeah.
That's bizarre. I'm almost envious,
Mhm.
because like our generation before us had photos, and it is not quite the same.
Definitely not.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
even a little bit.
I sat down with my grandma before any of this stuff. She was way too old. I should have done it even 3 years before would have made all the difference in the world. But I sat down with my grandma and I put a camera in front of her. I was like, just tell me about your life.
Yeah,
And I honestly don't know how much was real or like she had dementia and stuff. And I think that
Mm.
at a certain point, she's just kind of telling stories that seem to make sense in her brain. So, but like, yeah, like things like that are kind of lost. And I don't know how much to trust like this whole like ancestry thing or me, what is it, 23 and me or something like that? You me and 23.
Capri.com, yeah.
20. Yeah, that
just
should
got
be
a
the
picture of
just send me.
Sean just railing your mom. You
Oh
me
my
and
god,
Capri.
that's not what I was thinking at all. Just send me your mouth swabs.
Put a brand new spin on that.
Send
tag.
me
You,
your
me, and
toothbrushes. Yeah. Oh no. Oh man.
Capri. Everybody's family history just has a little like thumbs up Capri off the side.
It's all
of the
me.
tree,
Yep.
just like
Yeah. I'm everybody's cousin, man. Never show up at anybody's family tree.
oh man.
Yeah.
That's
6
funny.
degrees of separation. 6 degrees of Capri.
Yeah.
Not Kevin Bacon anymore. You're gone, Kevin Bacon. It's
Before the
me.
show, you had mentioned that I was posting photos on Twitter, and you're like, "Why aren't
You're
those on
living-
Discord?"
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't.
That's not what I
pay
meant. That's not what I meant. I meant to say like I thought we were supposed to be podcasting. I see you tweeting stuff. I'm like,
my bad. Never
oh,
mind.
and then I
Never
missed the
mind.
link, and it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
But okay, please. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I post my photos on Twitter because of the stupid Discord photo limits. Like I can barely ever post
oh, I
anything.
know.
So what I can do though is I can post it to Twitter, and then if I copy and paste it from Twitter to Discord, I think it just references the photo on Twitter and shows up.
Right.
So it totally works. It's like
Mhm.
I bypass their stupid Nitro
Smart.
thing.
Yep.
So that's why I'm usually like.
And that's
you'll
why
see
they
my-
do it.
My tweets, yeah. Such a stupid way to monetize. It's like
I
how
know.
let's be as annoying as possible until
Yep.
folks give us money. It's like, or you could just create something cool that
Just
makes
be
us want to
great.
give you money. Like you could
Yeah.
just do that instead.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Fantasy Critic is something we all use, and that dude doesn't make any money at all. Like
Does
that
he have
should.
does he have like a donate tab or anything?
I don't know. I think there's a Patreon, but I don't know if it's really done all that well or whatever. I want to, like give him a call. Just like this should be a thing. Even if you were to charge like a couple
Gamercast.
bucks, I'd love to reach out to him
The next
actually.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, probably in yeah, there is a John 32 in the chat. There is a Patreon for sure.
Yeah, they should have like a donate link, like a Wikipedia thing.
Or like some sort of like when you sign up, you create an account. There could
Sure.
be emails. They could spam you a little, at least a little bit, like not aggressive, but there could be like a, hey, I hope you enjoyed this year or whatever. Hope you're
Just a
enjoying
pop-up
something.
banner.
Yeah,
Keep
just
that
kind of basic stuff.
every 100 times you visit the site, it's like, hey, do you want to buy us a cup of coffee?
Hey, I noticed you're in 4 leagues.
Yeah.
You like maybe
Are you in 4 leagues, Sean?
and you know what? As I say this, and there is a Patreon, I probably should
Yeah.
send
I
some
don't.
money
I
over.
don't do the fantasy stuff anymore. I've
Oh
stopped.
man,
I've retired.
you retired. Did you ever win?
Oh, I used to win. I've won several leagues in my past. Yeah, I used to be really into the fantasy sports. I was in fantasy football league that had annual trophy, annual draft, real life in person physical draft. I ran a basketball league for
That's too much.
12 years.
Basketball's too much.
I was a commissioner, and then we had members coming and going and settings and changing all that. And I won that one 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it's like so many things. I feel I'm just like, I spend too much time doing this.
Yeah, so I'll
I
stop
just
that and then
stopped.
run a podcast network instead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's about it. I stopped doing
Mhm.
fantasy shortly after starting PSVD.
That's the thing, man. Like, because that reminds me, this is maybe a personality kind of thing. I used to run a ball hockey team. First, I was brought on, and very similar actually to history repeats itself. I'm realizing this in like 5 seconds. I was brought on to a ball hockey team because I was friends with a whole bunch of guys who actually played hockey. So I brought all my friends onto this ball hockey team, and eventually, like, why are we on this one? Why don't we do our own?
What is ball hockey?
Ball hockey is just really
Lacrosse?
It's just- no, it's hockey, but you're not skating. It's just on a floor. You run around like it's
Like
like
a
street
basketball
hockey, but
gym?
inside. Yeah, but
Okay, but you're not
but-
on skates.
right. I can't
I
skate.
feel like skating is kind of important to hockey.
Well, that's why normally I would just call it hockey, which is the skating part. Ball hockey is with the ball and you run around on a
Thanks,
floor.
Dev. I'm thinking, I'm like, wait a minute. If you take the skating out of hockey,
The
it
hell is
feels like
ball
you're not
hockey?
skating. Like it's kind of not hockey anymore. That's like the kickball version.
It's like street. You
baseball.
know street hockey? You ever like
I
street
do,
hockey?
but
Like,
but you have to skate.
in the streets.
Yeah.
You don't skate in the
Rollerblades.
streets.
Yes, you do. You
Oh,
play on
rollerblades.
That's street
Rollerblades.
hockey.
No, that's roller
With
hockey.
no, it's not. No,
That's ro-
that is wrong. Nope. Nope.
Nope.
There's only 2 hockeys.
Street hockey
There's
is running
ho-
around in the street in front of your
There's
parents'
street
house.
Hockey with rollerblades on.
No.
Roller hockey.
I'm sorry. The
How
Mighty
many
Ducks.
versions of hockey do you allow? Ball hockey, puck hockey, roller
I disallow
hockey,
field hockey. I disallow field hockey. Field hockey is. I hopefully we can agree.
Chat, help me. I can't be. That is roller hockey. Is not. That's just
That's roller. It's
Any-
roller
no.
hockey.
any other non-ice hockey is roller hockey. It's all just.
I think I would
street
know.
hockey.
I just think that I would know on this one.
Don't-
Okay,
Okay.
let me see. I want to. Okay, let's. Well,
right,
we're
so
gonna do
you're
this. We're gonna do
non-
this.
You're non
I guess I did have a point eventually
skating
over here.
hockey. Let's get back
Yes.
to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
where you play with a ball
Non-skating.
in a indoor rink without ice. I decided to run the team, even though I'm not very good at it. I'm not a hockey player or anything. I decided to run it, and that got a little too crazy. I'm like, I'm kind of done with this, and
Yeah.
I just eventually do this now, like what I'm doing now. Like I eventually run a carpool gaming kind of thing, and like, what is with that? You know, like
Blow
is
it
it?
up, man. You guys are awesome. You've
No,
got all
I
the
think it's-
shows.
That's not what I'm getting at. Like, I just can't not lead something like that. Like where it's just like this needs to be a thing, so somebody needs to make it happen. So I guess that's me, and I feel like that's you. Like
Ooh,
you've got to run a
no,
fantasy thing. You got to be the commissioner. You got to run
definitely
them. You want things done your way, definitely.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to participate in things that I think are ran poorly. But I'm
Right.
very almost adverse to taking on tasks like responsibility. I very much like having no responsibilities, no plans.
Well, say
You know,
well,
like I try really, really hard to not be counted on to do anything, like as much as possible.
yeah. I'm looking at a picture of street hockey on Wikipedia. There are
I
no
can't.
rollerblades on this.
I can't with this.
It's not. That's not what it is. Street
Okay.
hockey, also known as shinny, deck hockey,
Shinny?
ball hockey, or road hockey. Yes.
Deck hockey, road hockey, street hockey.
Oh,
What's
you
the
know what?
difference between road hockey and street hockey?
I apparently they can both be the
Deck
same
hockey,
thing.
I
Here's
think,
what
is
it
the
does say
word that
though.
you're looking for.
I've never heard of deck hockey. That's
Deck
without
hockey.
without a C.
It is grouped together with other sports such as street hockey, road hockey, floor hockey, and ball hockey. How are this many different flavors of hockey?
What I don't like about this Wikipedia entry is that it's all whatever. Street hockey, deck hockey, shinny, road hockey is
There
a
you go.
collection of team sports, either on foot or with wheeled skates.
Deck hockey is a variation of hockey played on a surface called a court. Players play on foot with an orange ball in a boarded
Yeah.
rink.
Yeah,
So
that's
you
what
were
we
playing-
played.
You were
That's
playing
what-
deck hockey.
I've never heard. It's funny because it's actually like the ball hockey like league. Like it's actually like it was called Ball Hockey Canada, Ball Hockey Edmonton, or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, if you say so. You know.
I mean, it
Ball
makes
Hockey
sense,
Edmonton.
I guess. I mean, it really feels. Oh, I don't want to be hurtful. It's like for those that can't play hockey, here's this thing,
Yeah, that's what I did.
right?
Or floor hockey. Floor hockey is another way that you could put it. You could
Why
call
don't
it
you
floor
just
hockey.
play hockey? Just learn to skate.
Because if you're in, especially in Canada, if you're not in hockey at 4 years old, you're
good enough.
you're so behind, dude. Like these
I got
guys,
you.
what they
That
can
makes
do,
more sense,
these
I
people, like what they can do on skates is ridiculous.
So it's a casual version of hockey,
Very well, and it scales the whole way.
Or
Like there's
like-
like 14 divisions.
like rec hockey. It's
Yeah.
like
It goes down to beer league. Yep, beer league all the way up to like if you're in like Div 1, like
Alright,
those guys
alright.
are good. There's some guys who come down.
The adult softball
Sure.
of baseball. Okay.
But in some of those like tier like Div 1, like guys come down from the NHL and they'll play like with their
Oh,
buddies.
God.
Like there's like some like dudes just like show up. Like I don't even name names because you'll just laugh
Rolls
at
out there, Mario Lemieux comes.
pretty much. I mean, like fourth liners and stuff, like plugs
What
on
happens
like,
if somebody slaps the ball and like it careens off your face or something?
I've seen it happen, dude. I've seen a
Oh,
guy
God.
dive in front of a shot and his
Why?
whole just stupid. And we were down like 8-1.
For
He's
ball
like,
hockey?
honestly,
Why?
just ridiculous. We took him to the hospital.
Oh.
We had to like we were there the whole time. His wife's like, "What are you guys doing?" Like, sorry, but like your husband
Sorry.
dove in front of this ball. Sorry. Dude, you guys had court on PSVG last week, and I died, man. I thought it was the
Let me
best
tell you what this
thing.
is about. All right, I'm
Oh.
gonna do this again.
I don't think
you
he,
again.
Yeah, I hear it like when you call me, I'm like, yeah, I did say like I don't think he realizes like how Canadian
Oh, he's very
some of those
Canadian.
things came out. That was amazing. That was awesome. Again, especially a boot.
Again.
A boot. Yeah.
Yeah, we had 100 of boots,
Oh my gosh.
and every
yeah.
time he did it, you see me and Dev would like glance a look. We just share look at each other like, we heard it. I heard it.
I
Did you hear it?
know,
I heard
I
it.
know. He's like, I'm gonna be on PSVG today. I'm like, you don't know what you're in for, man. But have
We
fun.
tried to warn him.
Did
warn
you
him.
really?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
We were tweeting about our show a couple weeks ago, and I guess he jumped in our Twitter thread and he was like, I want to hear this. And I was like, it dawned on me. I was like, you've never listened to our podcast, have you? And he
Mhm.
was like, no, I haven't. And I was like, I don't know if it's for you, man.
You
Like,
should probably.
you're a very sweet kid.
He's older than all of you.
It's just his demeanor, you know.
Oh, sweet child.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just like your baby ears don't need this. You know, like,
Oh,
we go hard in the paint. We have a lot of fun over in
I don't think
PSVG
you went
these
that
days.
hard with me though. I don't know. It was almost like an initiation. I felt like I was watching some sort of froshing a little bit, and
Oh,
then
really?
he like a little bit, and then it was like 3 hours long, and you got in there by the end. But I was
Yeah.
like, there's like a little bit of like a, let's see how you handle this. Court, and he did well, man. He stuck with it.
I very
Didn't
much
quit.
enjoyed having him over. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said that he's like, I can talk shit with the best of them. I was like, well, then you'll fit right in.
Mhm.
And I think
I
he
think
did.
so.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Court's a hockey guy too, so like they
That
can
was
chirp
the
him.
worst part of the entire show. It was his constant references to some hockey game. I was like, nobody cares.
Damn,
But he kept trying.
damn. Love that Kevin Hart. Who is he talking to? He's like, yeah, I'm 50, and he's like, damn. I just love that so much. I'm not a huge Kevin Hart fan, but that damn is like so perfect. Damn.
Yeah, see? Fit right in.
Oh,
says
fit right
Dev.
in. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
We had Court Lalonde,
Court Lalonde.
the video editor, TikTok extraordinaire of Carpool Gaming. He had
Yeah.
come over by the PSVG network.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
see
we haven't had anybody jump ship over to PSVG, so it's about time.
Yeah. I was thinking of having you. Here's the thing. And I definitely know that, or I don't know. I don't think this will fit in kind of how you view podcasting. We went on a streak there where we had, I think, like 6 guests in a row. We had like a month of guests or something.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, the 3 of us, because Elaine apparently has quiet quit us,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, we're kind of done. We're kind of done with guests.
Yep.
Like, it's not personal,
Yep.
and we definitely love having folks over, and they're great for reaching new audience and
Sure.
for kind of popping ratings, I guess, if you look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
But we just got tired of constantly. I don't know. It's like, it's not hard to do. You just podcast and talk, but it feels restrained.
Yep.
From kind of where the 3 of us want to go, or
Yep.
like not want to go, just let loose. Like when
Yeah.
we're just the 3 of us and we're just letting loose and we're dropping jokes, it's so much more fun than what's like, well, we've got so and so and he's very respected and important and we're going to be on our best behavior tonight, and it's like,
Right.
it feels a little more like work and a little less like fun.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of stopped doing guests for a while.
What part do you think differs from how I view podcasting?
Well, I meant that you have guests frequently, like with your We the Gamercast and stuff.
We
like
the
that.
Gamercast, yeah, it's the
Yeah,
structure
yeah,
of the show for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the other shows, it's funny you should say that because Ryan and I talk about it often where, yeah, it's like, it's just us. And we I think we had like 2 weeks or something
like with
where
Empire with Drive. Yeah, it's good
yeah.
because you have that rapport. And I think we just kind of wanted to settle into that. But it's weird because I think often listeners get used to that rapport. I definitely have with people in the past.
Yeah.
For podcasts in the past when they've restructured or folks have left, I've come and dropped off a podcast.
Big time.
Beyond, for example.
Yeah. Do you think they should have renamed Beyond?
No.
Do you think they should have changed it?
Mm-mm. No, that's their property. Why change it?
IGN. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was the head of IGN, they're like, why are we changing? Like, they're the ones that quit.
Mm.
Because if they changed it, then somebody else could just take it. Like, that's not cool either. Like, you've put your investment into that. No,
yeah, I guess Shaq is your living proof of that belief.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I would be very upset if they tried to change it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was like that, but like internally. Like the 3 of us were like, it was just the 3 of us.
Yeah.
We didn't pull the Discord or ask you anything. We were just like, kind of don't want to do this as much going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
like we kind of have like a monthly rotating visit with Haley. And then like we just kind of chilled on the guests lately.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely easier. Like, and it
is.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons to do that. There's that big one reason of having guests on, even just to mix it up, but certainly like the reach and whatever that happens to be. I don't think I can at this point.
Yeah,
I don't think I can
folks,
acquire PSVG.
Dev nails it. Like Chalfie just fits in. Chalfie can come on whenever because like nothing changes like when he enters the mix.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
You've got the people you call up.
Yeah.
Was like the list of Ryan and I had a couple guests on. I'm trying to think. This was a while ago, and then we kind of just said like, well, so that doesn't really work, right? And I've been starting to like fraying from that over the last little while. Like maybe once in a while we could have a guest on. I think it would be good, especially for like when big games come out and whatever else, and you get into more like the strategy of podcasting, which is
when I was doing Xbox, we had a lot of guests and popular YouTubers and stuff like that.
I just don't like saying never to anything. And I think that actually comes from you. Like just the notion of like, okay, so we've got these rules, like, okay, who cares? So that's it seems to have stuck for quite a number of years. And just recently I'm like, does it have to be that way? Like always? And actually the next 2 weeks, I'm not even on the Xbox Drive. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be in Chicago this week and New York next week because Extra Life is upon us. So apparently,
you finished Call of Duty yet?
No, I'm not as fast as you guys. I'm I don't know. It's weird to like say like spoilers. It's just the type of mission. So if like you don't want to know anything about Call of Duty, like whatever.
I wasn't gonna spoil it for you.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say like where I'm at. Like I did the I was in the like every Modern Warfare game. You're in a plane shooting down on stuff, and then the next one is basically like a sniper mission.
Modern Warfare.
So
God, it's so good.
It's good, right?
It's so good, Sean.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Not good. So good.
Oh,
like,
snap.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I loved it. I had a blast.
I like it too, and I don't know exactly where it's going, but my number one complaint I remember from the last one, oddly enough, I played Modern Warfare 1 mostly at Bobby's house. It was about this time of year. We were there for Extra Life, and I had bought it while I was there, and I played through most of the mission while he was over at work. And I remember it playing out like a season of 24, and I didn't like that.
I mean, it's similar. I think of it more like a Bourne thing, kind of almost. It is like this espionage, action war thriller, and it feels this one I like better. All right, I don't want to spoil it too much. I'm not going to say anything about the game, but I want to talk about it.
What am I like a quarter into the thing? I'm in like 3 or 4 missions in.
This very much plays out like a Call of Duty greatest hits campaign. And I like
that's what I was thinking already. Yeah,
I like it better than Modern Warfare 2019. And if anybody's listening to that and they've heard me talk about Modern Warfare, that means a lot because I loved 2019. I just think this one's better. Yeah, it's better in a lot of different ways. It's extremely cinematic.
Yes,
it plays out like a movie. Like I feel like I'm playing an action war thriller movie.
Yep.
And then on top of that, the gameplay elements that they've done are so varied and so different. And the level design is incredibly different. Yeah. Like you see these stupid console war things on Twitter talking about games reusing assets and stuff like that. Yeah. I have noticed none of that in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. It feels like every single chapter is completely different and completely rebuilt and completely brand new than the one before it. And it just has incredible pacing, both in what you're doing and how it's being presented to you, as well as the action set pieces that everybody knows is going to be in Call of Duty. Yeah. And you compile it all together, and it was just an action thrill ride for me. I was just like, this is great. Like, it's so good. It plays so well. It looks so good. Like, the story, I was into it, and I was just, this is fantastic. I don't know. I haven't really stewed on, like, what does that mean for any sort of, like, Game of the Year rankings or anything like that. But, I mean, this is one of my more enjoyable video game experiences of the year so far.
Thank you, dude. Like between this and I'm playing Mario Rabbids, which I don't want to jump to just yet, but like that and Mario Rabbids and Forza Horizon 5, I'm like, I am back to loving video games, man. Like I want to quit my work. Like I want to ignore my family. Like I just want to play these video games. I haven't felt like that in months, maybe all year. Like if I really think about it. The cinematic
could be a movie.
Well, I was thinking about this, and I don't know if you remember Advanced Warfare. People won't really like thinking about it because Kevin Spacey was the lead. That's actually like I look back to that one because this feels like that as far as the cinematic and the storytelling. I loved it.
Like Infinite Warfare as much?
Not as much. I know you. I know you really liked it. It's a romp. Like that game is it's a silly romp. You're gonna take your
story is
fighter jet into space, like whatever.
See, that's the thing about Infinite Warfare are the characters. The lasting memory that I have with Infinite Warfare is I've never cared about seeing the credits in a Call of Duty game more than Infinite Warfare.
Right.
Like seeing the actors and seeing like who was attached to which character and stuff like that. Like, because by the time I reached the end of Infinite Warfare, I was just really impressed, enamored with the crew that I went with. And this game touches that game.
Yes.
In that respect.
This Ghost character that is on the cover of him, like there's something with this. I don't know what's going on. There's something going on with Ghost.
and it's so good.
And that's like we're talking about Call of Duty.
It's good.
Like this is the bro shooter. This is the one that people like
I've
throw
seen
it away.
I've loved Call of Duty forever. I play Call
Same
of Duty
here.
every year.
I haven't bought every year. I did not buy Vanguard.
That's
but
good too, but not,
you know,
not nearly as good as this. Vanguard is like, better than average, but middling Call of Duty stuff. Which
mhm.
I will say, middling Call of Duty is better than most games. Call of Duty gets shit on a lot. This is a common theme on PSVG. We talk about it all the time. Call of Duty gets shit on a lot by gamers. I don't know what it is. I think it's annualized. It's just shooters. Maybe it's a little bit of
lumped in with sports
things.
games.
There are very few games that touch the production and
I
quality
know.
and performance levels that Call of Duty games do.
And that's the thing.
Period.
That's why when I play it, I'm equally playing it. I'm like, what are they going to do next? What is this? Why did they make this choice? I will say the one thing I've noticed is I run really slowly, and that's a little.
Yeah,
I
no, I
want to
that.
just
Yeah.
like get
Yeah, you wanna
moving. I
go.
feel like I'm in a dream.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, like the mission
There-
variety is already even within the mission. You think you're in a sniper mission? No, not the whole time. Like you'll sit there for a little bit, and then you're gonna go blow some doors off stuff. I have noticed a couple bugs on Xbox though. I feel like a Donnie Reese experience. I just took a
my game
screenshot of it.
crashed a lot. I had a lot of crashes on PC.
I think what happened is the
And
game
it's a common
saved.
thing on PC. There's a lot of people reporting the same thing.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't end up buying it. I found that I just played Uncharted 4 on PC, and I just want to sit on my couch right now. Even though I've got everything I need to like play it, and Call of Duty. I think the other thing too is like I have all my other games, all my other Call of Duty
Beauty of
on.
this bad boy. I can
You
just
just
sit
play
over
wherever you
there
want.
and play- yeah, I can just play Steam over there.
That's pretty nice.
But no, I'm with you. I get that way sometimes. I do.
Mhm.
I've gotten more, and this may be a short-term thing, I don't know, but the last few months I've just gotten real cozy. And I've gotten, I think for the first time, I've gotten used to playing games at my desk.
Yep.
And kind of like I will, I'll window tab a podcast, or I'll window tab music, and I've got my mixer, and I can mix it just right, and maybe just the chair.
You
know,
you
now
change
I've
your
got the
chair. That's the
chair.
difference. That's
And so I've gotten real cozy, just and the monitor, I'm not sure if we
Mhm.
ever talked about it. I upgraded to the C1. I have OLED here at the desk.
that's insane.
I have a 42-inch. I'm looking at you on a
Mhm.
42-inch LG C1 monitor, and I'm playing on this now.
Like 16 by 9. Like it's a big, like tall mother trucker. Like
I mean, I'll send you. It's not crazy. I don't think it's crazy. That's the funny thing.
Like,
We can talk about it.
because my
because-
monitor is 49 inches, but it's whatever 21
When I
or
bought it-
50 something by 9.
When I
Like
bought
it's
it,
ultra wide.
I was worried
I should have
I was
posed
like,
for a picture.
it's going to be too big. And then when I
Yeah.
got it, I was like, it's definitely not. Like,
Interesting.
honest
it's a
with you,
TV. Oh,
I barely noticed how much of a difference it was from my old monitors, but I'll show you and you tell me what you think.
well, because I've had a 42. Yeah, I mean that's a TV. What size did you say it was? That doesn't look like a
42
40.
inches.
That's crazy.
So here's the thing. I measured. So my previous setup, I had dual monitors, 24 inches apiece,
yeah.
on a 3-inch riser that's set on my desk.
Yep. That's what I have. Yep.
So when I measured this TV to those, from the bottom, from the desk to the top of the TV, is exactly the same.
Oh wow.
And the only thing that's different is I gained like an inch and a half on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
left and right.
Yeah.
The thing about this TV is that it's incredibly low profile. The bezels
Right.
are non-existent. The
Yeah.
back of it is flat as can be.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So you can push it all the way back to the back of your
Yeah,
desk.
It's
Yeah.
42 inches, but it doesn't like it. I sat down and Dev knows this. We were talking about in our we've got our tech chat and we talk about these things. And when I got it, when I first thought of it, I was like, I'm gonna put a 42-inch monitor in front of me. It's way too big.
Yeah.
And then I set it down, and within 15 minutes, I forgot. Like I forgot anything had
Interesting.
really changed. I was
It's-
like, this is about the same.
That picture you just showed me, and of course not never the same, but like that's not what I expected that to like as far as like the dominance of its presence. No, but like even still, like I don't know, like it doesn't look like that bad. And I did a thing where I'm gonna pose for your picture, like, hey Donnie, hey buddy. I
did
did
a
it-
terrible way of doing it. I could like tweet it and then put it up. Here's a further picture away. So this
Yeah,
like,
that
my
looks
whole
like a
desk and
monitor.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like a monitor.
it totally because your keyboard is there providing scale.
Yeah,
Like at least for my view, anyways.
it's not that crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because when we were reviewing the Series X and I wanted to like put it on the best screen that I possibly could, I I rented one from Costco. Like I bought one with the
Makes
full
sense.
intention of like taking it back, or if it worked out and I thought maybe I could talk my wife into us keeping it, but I didn't even like it. Like it was too, and it was a 40-inch, and I don't know if the difference is like what they stand on now, like the legs, the little feet that they've got, like a nothing.
The legs are an inch. They're an
Yeah.
inch. They're this big.
Yeah, that could be the difference. And I don't think I had this desk at the time. That could also be a difference because I have the ultra wide, mine is a 49-inch, but it's ultra wide. Like it's skinny.
I have a 49-inch NanoCell. It was the first NanoCell that I bought.
Yeah.
Remember, I bought the 49 and then I upgraded to 65.
You deserve a commission on NanoCell sales, by the way. All of us have it because of you.
I brought the 49-inch down here before I bought this. And I set it on the desk and I was like, that's way too much.
40, yeah.
But the comparison is like the bezels, the size, the weight, like that is a TV. This doesn't feel like a TV at all. I mean, I know that it is. This feels like a monitor. It presents, it feels like a monitor.
Yeah, like from that picture, I believe you. I'm glad you took a picture because I would have thought you're just convincing yourself.
Trying to sell it. Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm really not. I know exactly what you're saying. Sometimes I feel like I get that way with this. I didn't. I showed Devin.
I don't ever feel like you do though. Like that's the thing.
I wouldn't notice that it's different. It's about the same.
Yeah, no, and everybody has their own comments on how you spend your money. So that's always interesting.
My spending habits.
Dude, I can't stand it. I get mad for you. Like
people
like,
care
shut up, man.
People care a great deal about what I spend my money on.
To me, it tells me more about them than it does about you, honestly.
It doesn't
like really that's what you're gonna spend your time on.
I'm going to tweet this photo so I can bring it up on the podcast.
Dev says I know several people have the C1 as a monitor. I mean, I can't change my monitor at this point. Like this is end game material. Except for like 2 months after they released like this Arc. Did you see the Samsung Arc? It's like a 55-inch, just a beast. It is it's like $3,500. It's just this massive monitor. Dev knows probably more about it, but I just saw it pop up.
Go.
Yeah, that looks nice, man. Like it actually, like
so for our chat now, you guys can see it.
And
like
you
that's
don't
the
have
TV, and you can see the relation of a controller, a keyboard.
Yep.
Look how the keyboard. This is just a keyboard. It's not like a crazy keyboard. Like it's not big at all.
Yeah, it's like if you line that up, that'd be more than halfway. Like the width of the keyboard is actually more than half of the width of the TV.
I haven't had any sort of neck strain, and if I did, I would return it. I would tell you, I haven't had any neck strain. I haven't had any eye strain. My desk, Rob did ask me once how deep is my desk. I never thought to. It might be 24 inches. I mean, it's definitely more than a foot. Definitely.
Yeah, that's not a monstrous desk though. Like at all.
It's not. No, it's not. It's not too bad. And it's great. It's really nice. It's definitely improved my. I want to play on PC now. Yeah, that would do it
for sure. Why don't you just plug your? Well, I was just gonna make fun of you for plugging your PC into a TV.
I thought about it. I would if I could.
Or your Steam Deck.
Well, yeah.
Plug your Steam Deck into a TV, and then you're all good, right?
It would be nice, but my TV is too far away. If I could run an HDMI cord from my desktop over to the TV cleanly, I would have just done that. I can't. Yeah. I need like 80 feet of HDMI.
Just around the corners and everything.
Yeah. And then obviously I want it to be nice, and run through the wall and all that. It's like, I'm not going to do that. So I just upgraded this. Yeah. Just did that instead.
I did that at one point. The other room was all wired up for a home theater, and we since got rid of it all because we had babies, and these things took up all the space in the world.
Yes, I wasn't going to say it, but John, since you're here, we can say it because we given Delvin a lot of shit about his Steam Deck.
That's what I was bringing up.
Right. And I did find a video of somebody that reviewed the dock, and I wanted to send it to him, but I kind of want him to find out on his own. Somebody put the dock on the Steam Deck and they turned it on to 4K and they tried to play it. And let's just say it doesn't go well.
It's just like, it just melts.
It's also, by the way, if anybody out there is listening, don't tell Delvin. Apparently it's fucking like, it's a hell of a hassle because the Steam Deck has visual settings that are recorded for every game. So the dock doesn't override that. So if you plug your Steam Deck into the dock and you put it on a monitor or a TV that doesn't match the resolution you have set, then you have to reset it every time for every game.
That is miserable.
Like, well, that sucks. That alone would make me not want it. But I'm gonna let
No
Delvin find out.
kidding.
I'm gonna let Delvin find out on his own. Let him figure it out.
Oh my goodness. I see Garrett Bland in the chat here, and I don't know if I can put him on blast or anything, but I'm going to be in your United States of America, and I might bring a Vita and or a 3DS.
Just don't
To
bring
ship
him the
over to
Logi because he hates
No,
that motherfucker.
no, I would never think of it. I wouldn't think of it. Why would I do that? But I think
But
it's
yeah.
time. I think it's time to mod one of those suckers.
Yeah. Well, if you've got one,
Or
do you have
both.
the Vita?
I have a Vita. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the original
definitely should
OLED
mod
one. The 3DS one I'm actually really interested in because I have multiple of them. So I can keep like my favorites untouched and whatever. Like I have one, just an
I got
extra.
my Vita.
Look at that. Yeah. Coming to Cali. Not today. Not today, Devin. I'm going to Chicago and then New York. I'm staying somewhat in the same kind of area. Just barely into the United States. I don't want to get too deep.
I like Chicago. Chi-Town's nice.
Yeah, I've never I've never been, and it's gonna be short trips for both actually.
Mhm.
So
Get some pizza.
that's what everybody says. I don't know if I want Chicago deep dish
Hot
pizza.
dog.
Yes, that is what that is. I'm actually
Get a bratwurst.
I'm around the corner from Portillo's.
Nice.
I'll be
Solid.
very close to there. Yeah, so that'll be kind of nice. Get the Chicago dog. Okay. I've been trying to eat better these days, but I guess I'm gonna go into the US and when in Rome,
You're right.
just
If
eat
you're gonna
like
be
shit.
in the US, you might as well.
just eat garbage. Mail it to Garrett when you're in Chicago. You can send it back when you leave Rome. I doubt it. It wouldn't even get there. Like I'm gonna be there. It's gonna be a week and then a week. There's no way. It's gonna if I mail it when I'm in Chicago, it'll arrive by the time I'm in New York the next week.
Yeah.
I would think.
Well, it's a California. He'll get it in a couple of days.
Yeah. I don't want. And I don't want to put any
That's it. But you're also risking.
undue pressure.
Yeah. Garrett could do that in his sleep.
Yeah. Well, then can I do it when I'm awake? Maybe I should just do it.
Oh my god, dude! I'm so happy.
That
It's
thing
so
looks cool,
good.
man. How are the buttons? Like, talk to me about like the feel of this Logitech thing.
talk-
'Cause that's
you wanna
always.
talk Logitech?
I mean, I think I'm the only one who's actually going to give you the time of day for it. So.
Yeah, that's why I have my own podcast. Yeah, I'm digging it. It's pretty good. I've got some complaints. It's before we even talk Logitech and chat. If you guys have questions, please.
Yeah, we never do that. That'd be
Send
fun.
them
Yeah.
to us. But before I do, because you've seen some of the replies and comments that I get from about this thing,
How dare you not cancel your pre-order?
I thought I was hyping very responsibly about this device. I told everybody that would listen very early on. Like, I'm not hyped for it. I'm not like over the moon excited. I've got to have it day one.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't any of that. I
Yeah.
was very lucky that thanks to Chris Johnston, I got a coupon code for this thing that saved me like $70.
Get out, really? How
Well,
do
I
you
was-
do that, dude? That's another thing I was thinking before we went on today. I'm like, how does this dude get everything for so cheap? How do you sell your PS5s for $14,000 and then buy another one for $250? I don't get it.
You gotta game the system. Chris Johnson tweeted
I'll keep it in mind.
a Logitech store coupon code.
That's awesome.
And for whatever reason, they didn't restrict it from the Logitech. And I got my Logitech for like $250, $450.
Yeah.
That's shipping, everything, taxes,
Yeah.
like that. And I was like, that is much better than $300 and some dollars.
Mhm.
Way better.
Yeah.
That was what I paid for my Wii.
Do you think that would have gotten it into the zone where people aren't
Yes.
complaining so much?
100%. The reason
Yeah,
so many
that's the
people are
difference.
upset is that people only value something like this at like $199.
Sure. Yeah.
And when we're leading up into this thing releasing in our Discord, I nailed the price, and I'm only patting myself on the back because I don't often get it right. But
Nailed it.
in the Discord, I kept telling everybody, I was like, I feel like everybody wants this to be like 149,
Yeah.
199.
Because secretly they really want it. That's what they mean by that.
I said
they want to buy
everybody's gonna be mad when it's 349,
it.
and everybody was
Mm.
like, it can't be 349. It's impossible. It'll be dead. I'm like, yeah, but I think it's gonna be. So
yeah.
I don't know. I do think At $350, it's overpriced.
Do you think the same thing for? I hear a similar narrative around Keystone, the Xbox cloud console thing.
Oh,
Everybody's like, it's got to be $99. Like that thing's got to be a dongle.
that's probably the sweet spot. It'll probably be one. I was
And they
thinking
can
like
eat it.
$129.99.
I was thinking 150, but yeah, like
150 would be good if it came with a controller.
Yes. Yeah. That's how you do it, man. I'm trying to think. There was Wii Music was like that, or Wii Play was like
Yeah,
this
Wii
crappy
Play.
throwaway
Wiimote.
game that like came with a Wii remote, and you're like, all
People
right,
bought
like
it because they wanted a controller.
absolutely, like
You
yeah,
could buy the controller, or you could buy the game and the controller. So you
Why
just got
wouldn't
that
you?
one instead.
Yeah. just do that.
Yeah, I've completely got off what I was going to
Oh,
say.
so you were so $350. You got a coupon for $70. $250 is a good price point for this thing.
Yeah,
Everybody's
And
mad at you, tweeting. You're hyping responsibly.
I feel like I am. I've been saying on the podcast, like I wasn't going to like. So okay, so leading up to this thing, Logitech wasn't updating anybody. I wrote to
Right.
them multiple times. They're like, "We'll ship them. We have in stock." So I was
Mhm.
like, "Man, I'm gonna get mine like last.
Sure.
Like everybody's gonna get theirs." And I wasn't gonna cancel to go pick it up.
Mhm.
I was like, "No, I'm in it to win it for the 250."
yeah.
But it's pretty good, man. It's just an Android tablet.
Sure.
It's the other thing that I've been trying to tell everybody. Like it is for better and for worse, just an Android tablet.
Yeah.
It's gaming Chromebook. It's kind of how I've been like in my own head, how I've been singing. Because I've got Chromebooks.
Yeah.
Got my Chromebook right here. Love
Yeah.
my Chromebooks.
Yep.
I got 5 of them around here.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, hang on. Put a button in it. I remember now. You were talking about the Keystone,
Yes.
the Xbox thing.
Yeah.
You saw the little picture of the little device
Yeah.
in
That's
on
totally
Phil's
it.
shelf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely it. You know, I
Yep.
wanted it to be a cube, like a little Series X. They went with the Series S look. I'd rather
Right.
be like this than that.
Yeah. That's very Ouya, the cube.
Ah, good call. Yeah, it is very Ouya. So I was thinking
Yeah.
more like Echo.
But I knew
And
it
then,
was
like,
going to be a
pod.
thing. Everybody said dongle. I'm like, just think about that for 2.5 seconds. Okay. Can't be a dongle.
I would
need-
want it to be a dongle.
Neither do I. You need Ethernet. You need to be able to plug a controller into it for that
You
like
can
last
plug-
case scenario.
I have dongles that you can plug Ethernet into. Chromecast you can plug Ethernet into. They make adapters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a mess. I'm with
It's
you.
a mess,
It's
yeah.
messy. It's wiry. But that's the beauty of the dongles that's hidden. You put it
But I-
behind the TV and you hide it. I
Oddly
don't want to
enough,
hide it.
I think if it's a
wanna
dongle,
see it.
you expect it to be $50. I actually think the design
Oh,
of it
yeah.
plays into the price point of it. If it's something that like sits on top of your whatever, your set top box or
I'm
whatever,
gonna
it's like
buy
a set top
3 of
box.
those things, or none of those things, and it all comes down to this: it has to have the ability to run some native storage for the local OS, and I want to be
Sure.
able to install apps and play movies and purchases I've
Dude.
made from the Xbox store
Yeah.
natively.
What if you could what
If
yeah,
it's
so like,
just Game Pass and there's like no Netflix, no Prime, no Hulu, if it's just the Game Pass streaming thing,
expansion hard drive thing. Slot in the back. You can pop
Yeah.
that in there. You can have a terabyte worth of games on there that you bring from something else. You just play. No, that
No,
wouldn't
no, no,
work.
not
No, that
games.
wouldn't work at all. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
but apps.
Yep. Oh, sure. Yeah. No,
It's-
no. Like it'd be your best like smart TV add-on.
Exactly.
Like it'll.
So that's it. If I can
Apple
put it
TV.
on all of my TVs and play
Mhm.
all my apps, and for important, this is selfish on my half. I rent movies and buy movies on the Xbox store a lot because I get Microsoft points,
Yep.
and their app isn't available like anywhere else. Like you
Right.
can't just download
Yeah.
the Xbox Movies app. So
That's crazy.
I'm looking at it kind of like that. It's like, yeah, I can stream games on it, but I also would
Mhm.
like to be able to put YouTube and Hulu and my Xbox movies and all that stuff on it too. If I can do that, I'm all in. If it literally is like, here's a device that runs Xbox Cloud Streaming, the app, I'm
Yeah.
not interested.
Sure. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
I've got
just get-
devices that
Get
do
you
that.
into
I
the
don't need that.
ecosystem. It's weird that like as you were saying that, I'm like, why has the path been to try to get Game Pass onto all these smart TVs? Why hasn't wouldn't like a mini step towards that be to get all your movies and everything else like accessible onto that?
A lot of the movies are cross-buy, or what do they call it? Movie Unlimited.
Yeah, I can't.
So
Yeah,
I can watch them through like Google Play or YouTube or something like Vudu. I usually watch them through Vudu, but some of them aren't.
I don't know what that is. VUDU, is that what that is?
It's Walmart's streaming thing.
amazing.
Or no, Walmart sold it. It's somebody else's now. I think
Okay.
Fandango owns Vudu. It doesn't matter.
Oh wow. Yeah.
it's a thing.
So are you? Let me ask you about this just for a quick second. The buying digital movies. I've never actually. I don't buy anything because I don't know what's. I want it just in one place.
Sure.
For that, like, where do you do that? I don't want to go like, oh, I bought this one on like the PlayStation Store, and
Well,
I got this one.
I can thank Dev for this because Dev, I still buy movies. I have
Yeah.
4Ks and Blu-rays. I still enjoy
That's where I want to
movies.
go. It's on my Christmas list. I want to start my 4K.
Yeah,
like,
I still
collection
very
again.
much. I bought movies today. I'm doing I've it's so stupid. I've recently been in the mood. I've been rewatching the Fast and the Furious movies kind of in order
Yeah.
because we had a Fast and the Furious podcast like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah, you
stopped in
did.
the middle, and I never finished. And I kind of want
Mhm.
to finish it before like the next big one comes out. It's like the last one. right?
Yeah.
I kind of want to do them all before the next big. It comes out sometime next year. I don't know. I'm not
Yeah.
that into it, but the next big one that comes out, I do want to see that one in the theaters.
Is that 10 or have they done 10 already?
I have no
I don't
idea.
even
I
know how
think it's
many they
10.
are.
I think it's 10. I think it's
I
X,
want to buy
right?
like a
10.
box set and just have the box set be the box
course.
set. Like
Yeah.
my Lord of the Rings box set, even though it's on DVD, like I love that thing. I always called it the Bible edition. Like it looked like
yeah.
books
it looks like
in
the
there.
book. Mhm.
And
I have
like
that one too.
I don't want to buy like a Jurassic Park and then like box set and then they add on 3 or 4 movies down the road or
Sure.
Mission Impossible. I don't want to buy a Mission Impossible box set because like Tom Cruise is still making all these movies, but I love those movies. Like these are
I
some of
just
my
bought-
favorite movies.
The Mad Max anthology.
Oh yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Like, oh, I guess they would have. So the original, the latest one, and then
All of them.
Ferosa
The
for
collection.
your.
Yeah, it's the anthology. All of
I
them.
was just thinking, like, how many
Plus
are
the
there?
documentary and all that. There's like 5.
Okay,
4.
I didn't know that.
There's Mad Max.
Yeah, like the original.
Mad Max 2 Road Warriors.
Yeah, Road Fury Road.
Then there's Thunderdome.
Yeah, that's based on what's it? Charlize Theron's character, right?
Then there's
Furiosa.
Then there's the new one with Tom Hardy. And then I think it also has like a couple documentaries.
I need
that
to
are
look.
in
See,
there
this
too.
is because I've been watching a few horror movies, trying to get into the spirit of things, and I'm frustrated that I can't find Paranormal Activity anywhere, like any of them. It's like you can
really?
pay for it to rent, like I can rent it on like Amazon Prime or whatever. But like this is me being a very old man.
There's a bunch of paranormal collector's editions. I know because I own a couple.
I just want it on like even like 1, 2, and 3. I'm good with that.
And they're cheap too.
Of
You
course,
can buy like all 9 paranormal activities for like $10. They're cheap.
This is the thing, and it's an interesting. I don't know if this is too much of an analog into video games, but I remember when Netflix, especially in Canada, when Netflix first came out, everybody was like, I mean, like it's convenient, but like the movie selection isn't that great. I'd still rather have my personal movie collection, and this can kind of like add on. And then like Netflix just kind of like bum rushed us with a bunch of content,
Mhm.
but there's still stuff that isn't on there that I would really like to watch.
Yeah.
And I think I've just kind of I'm worried. I could say that I'm a little bit worried about that on the gaming front, in that we become over reliant on the streaming service. That whatever games are on there becomes the primary thing that we focus on. We completely ignore everything else. But this is why I want to like get back into my Blu-ray collection, because I'm kind of tired of not finding what I want.
I still enjoy having. I mean, you've seen my horror movie collection. I have.
Yeah.
I very much enjoy still buying physical movies.
Yes.
Okay, but back to the point. Dev, actually, I have to thank for this because Dev put me on. I'm not sure if it's just an American thing. I don't think it is.
Oh yeah.
But we have a thing called Movies Unlimited.
Mhm.
You can go and tie all your accounts together, and then all of your movies show up everywhere.
That's
as long
good.
as they participate.
Right.
But the good thing is that like 80% of them do. Like the majority of them do. So if you buy a movie on Xbox, you can watch it on Google, you can watch it on Amazon. If you buy it on Amazon, you can watch it on Xbox. So I can just like log into my Xbox and I can see, a good bit of my digital movie library. Haley unfortunately chimes in and says it's America
only. I have a VPN though. I've got Comixology.
Well,
like I'm set for that. I don't.
So the beauty of it is that if you buy the collector's editions or the box sets or the 4Ks or the Blu-rays like I do, they most often come with a digital code.
Right.
I just plug them in there, and if I'm on the go or something, the beautiful, the cool thing.
I need this.
I was watching movies on this damn thing the day it came out.
How dare you buy it? Why would you buy that?
Yeah, we're gonna get back to this. We're gonna get back to the Logitech thing in a minute. So I've been doing that. I don't buy digital movies. Dev does. Dev's like only buying digital movies. I don't do that. But I am starting to amass a digital library of movies
Okay.
that are carrying around with me. I probably have 100 or so in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially in the cases where you could download it to a tablet for like when you're on a plane or whatever, like that's always good. That's what we do with our
1000%.
kids with a bunch of their stuff. Dev in the chat says, Sean, please help Haley with the VPN. I went to a website called google.com and it taught me everything I needed to know. It taught me everything I needed to know.
All right.
So mean. I'm about to ship my Vitas and my 3DS to Garrett so that he
Not to
can.
Haley.
No, I know, but like
you dunk on Haley.
Garrett easily could say, I went to google.com. Like I just want to point out, I'm aware, you guys.
That's a little harder than a VPN. VPN, like you just
VPN is super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The VPN is just, you just have to buy it. I think that's more of it with Haley. It's not that she can't do it. You just have to purchase it. How much?
Oh, I have no. There's a free one. No, they're free. It's a free VPN. Because the thing, especially with Comixology, I don't need it ongoing. Like I just needed it to establish like an Amazon account, and then I paid for the thing. And once
now you're good to go.
I used one of your addresses somewhere, and they're paid with my credit card, and that was it. But I think for streaming service, maybe you need it more. I don't know. Maybe there's like a data limit or something, but for my purposes, I don't need that. So I had a nice, easy VPN, but it was like best free VPN list, and it was the second one, baby. That was. But you feel like a hacker. You feel like you're in like 20, like bring up the satellite feed and like the thing that kind of aligns like the map and everything.
Mask your IP address.
I'm like bring up a movie like enhance.
That's funny.
Yeah,
a hacker's like, I see your VPN and it's shit.
You think you're being a hacker? You're broadcasting all your personal information to I don't know.
So I'm lucky. I got the Logitech, which I've called on my podcast the G Unit. That's what I'm calling it.
G Unit.
That's it. You got it, Sean.
Yep.
All right. So it's pretty neat. It's gaming Chromebook. Right? It's just an Android tablet. That's all it is. That's all I ever really expected it to be. I say that's better for better or for worse. And the good part is all of my Android apps and everything are supported, even some of them that are no longer supported. So for example, I can just boot
better than Murder Inc.
I can just play Vice City from the Android store.
Look at that. Oh, cool.
They took Vice City. Oh, my camera sucks.
Yeah.
There you go.
No. Yeah.
They took Vice City off the store when they published the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
But this runs an older version of Android, so it's still compatible for these. So I could just play that instead. So I've got a bunch of Grand Theft Auto games, and I've got Symphony of the Night and Telltale Batman and Diablo Immortal and Streets of Rage.
This is not what I need, man.
Retro
this is where you and I
Max Payne. These games that I'm rattling off, these are games you can buy on Android. The thing that I've hated most about this device, and actually Shaq, since Garrett's here, Shaq just did it about 30 minutes ago. Where Rebecca was asking Garrett about it, and he was like, it's a cloud device. And she's like, so you can only use if you have internet. No, it's an Android device. I can play all of these games whenever I want from wherever. The performance is okay. My Chromebooks run Vice City better than this thing does. It totally is playable. It's fine. This thing runs Vice City better than Switch does. So don't hear that and be like, oh, it sucks. No, it runs it better than the Switch runs Vice City. But I have seen, a brief moment of pause or a stutter here and there. I'm playing Vice City at like full max resolution, everything turned on. I could probably tone it down a little and run fine. It runs fine now. It's playable.
Yeah.
I'm playing Doom. You play Doom?
Yeah.
Doom 1 and 2. Like Minecraft on this thing, Jack had a blast with. It's kind of a breeze. It's nice. The best thing about this Android tablet device is the screen. The screen is gorgeous.
What is it? What I saw you mentioning this. I think Chris was agreeing.
1080. Look.
Yeah, Doom 2 is just so good.
I mean, it's a 1080 7-inch screen, and it just, I don't know all the details about it. But
you're going to make me buy Doom 2 on my dang Switch. My God.
You could play it on Switch. You could put it on your phone. Probably cheaper to play it on your phone.
Because the thing that I'm thinking about, as I just knock everything over here, you and I are different on this case. I'm trying to limit the number of stores that I'm buying. This is why the movies unlimited thing is very key to me.
Yeah, man. Doom.
You are Vin Diesel. I'm Paul Walker. We're splitting down the road, man. You're like, I'll buy into another ecosystem over here. No problem.
Sure.
I'm like, that's a little daunting
Steam.
to me.
Me and my 350 Steam games.
There you go. Yeah. And Steam, I've already
growing.
like, oh, you know what? Why don't we, while we're doing this, check Epic, see what free games there are over on Epic.
Sure.
Um,
So these Android games are nice to fill in, like if
Check
you
the
don't have
eShop.
internet.
sure.
The first thing that I did though, this thing
You already
is
have a
designed-
Switch. What do you need that for?
Well, the Switch
Yeah.
can do the Android games. Honestly, the Switch would be the answer if they would just open the damn device up. If you could use the Android store and put Game Pass app on it and do Steam
Can you
Link,
imagine?
the Switch would be amazing.
How has that not been a thing? How have people? I just saw the PS5
Nobody wants
got
them to.
modded
Everybody
or
just wants
jailbroken.
to pay complete premium prices, $20 for Doom 2 on Switch. It runs it at 20 frames a second, and they just want to be happy with it.
Not Doom 2. Come on, it runs Doom 2
Drives me
fine.
nuts. Drives me
Oh,
nuts.
come on.
You're
I must
right.
have it on here.
You're right.
Let me see.
I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. How's
Yeah.
Alan Wake on Switch?
Can I give you my hot take for the night? Who gives a damn about
That's
Alan
true.
Wake? Who cares?
I like Alan Wake, but not on Switch.
Alan Wake is Alan asleep, okay?
Wow.
Just boring. More
Okay.
like Borophyll.
Uh, all right. The screen is gorgeous. It's vivid. It's bright.
Oh, right. Was it
Um,
OLED or just LCD, like regular LCD? Like what?
It's
Why is
regular
it so
LCD. It's
good?
not OLED.
Alan
Yeah,
Wake is
definitely not
great, says Haley. I mean,
She does love the Alan Wake.
what's
so I've
what's
got
your
all those
favorite
games-
part?
I'm sorry.
I'm
Oh,
shit talking to Haley.
Gotcha.
Sorry.
so I got all
Haley.
these games.
Sorry.
I then put my emulators on them. So I've got Dreamcast and PlayStation Portable and PlayStation 1.
Sweet.
and Super
Oh,
Nintendo.
that is what, dude. PSP. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So I've got God of War and all of that jazz.
Oh, what game was
see
that
here.
on? Ascension was the Vita game, I think, wasn't it? Or was that PSP?
Hang on.
God of War. I'm getting Fallout 3 Game of the Year Edition free on Epic right now on PC. I don't know why, because I think this is on Game Pass. But here we are anyway. Canadian on Canadian violence. I mean, we did. Yeah, you're playing Super Mario All Stars on this thing. Like this.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty
I know
good.
that my camera doesn't it's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wish my camera would focus in the colors better. There we go.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at
you
it.
just got to
It's
take it. It
gorgeous.
looks pretty good.
So I can do all of that without any internet connection, without any cloud, anything ever. Right? I
Yeah.
can just do all this from this cool little Android tablet. Then, Sean, it has built-in integration for Game Pass streaming and for GeForce Now. Like it's
Yeah.
just right here it's preloaded. You just set it up. And I was playing Forza, obviously through the cloud. I still don't think Game Pass streaming is there. Like it never has been.
I
It's never-
agree. I agree.
Yeah. But here's the thing. GeForce is.
Oh,
GeForce Now eats Xbox's lunch when it comes to cloud gaming. It is
Oh,
fantastic,
wow.
Sean, I played an hour of Far Cry 5 through GeForce Now for free. I didn't have to pay anything. Just did it.
how? How?
This is why I wanted to talk about it. I'm gonna this is gonna be my PSA for this podcast and PSVG this week. So here's how GeForce Now works, Sean. There's multiple tiers that you can buy into. There is a free tier. You can just connect your Steam account to it. And if
Mhm.
you've got Steam games that are available on GeForce Now that you own, you could just play them for free. You have to wait in a lobby to get a session. And there is a time limit. You can only play it for I don't know, an hour or so before you got to read.
This sounds illegal. This sounds like free South Park episodes on the
completely
internet.
free. Or you can pay them $10 a month to bypass that and just play more. Or you can pay them $20 a month to get like 4K and all that. It's a 1080p device. I'm not going to pay $20 a month for it. But I jumped in for free and I played Far Cry 5. Sean, when I tell you that it just felt like I was just playing Far Cry 5,
Stop.
it was just like that. I didn't even
Holy
realize
crap.
that it was stream. I was like, this just kills Xbox. It eats Xbox's lunch. It's so good. GeForce is the truth. It is on it. And Dev's still trying to do this. Dev, GeForce wasn't like that back then. Come on now. It was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Get over that. No, it wasn't. It's fine. But GeForce is really, really good. And
Well,
it's
I'm
really,
logging in
really
right
good on
now.
this device.
I'm logging in. This is something I wish we do even more often on this show. Can we just like talk about a thing I go by? Like I'm searching up.
Look.
I've got like Megadeth going on here.
This
I've got
is
Epic
GeForce.
over here.
Done.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. Yeah. It's right on the console
all
there.
of my Ubisoft
That's
games
nice.
are like available, so I can play like all Assassin's Creeds over here.
Oh, speaking of Ubisoft, I got access to Rocksmith Plus. This isn't going to take us off. Rocksmith Plus for a month. And which I didn't realize it was purely a subscription thing. It's like the thing that teaches you how to play a real guitar.
Yeah,
you plug it in and everything.
Mhm.
I could not find. I scrolled through that list of songs, and I couldn't find anything I wanted to learn to play. Like there's 5,000 songs, and I'm like, I can't find anything.
Fun.
You're playing Assassin's Creed. I'm like,
And it plays really well. Like,
and people are making
GeForce-
fun of you for this. What the heck,
Here's the
man?
thing: Xbox cloud streaming, I don't think is a viable way to play a game. It's a fine way to play a bit of a game if you're on the couch or something like casually. But I don't
Apparently,
think it's a
Persona
viable,
5.
I
Jez
don't
says
think
Persona 5 is the one.
I don't think it's a viable way to play an entire game. GeForce Now is. Like if somebody was like, I'm a GeForce Now gamer and I'm just going to play all my games there, like I get it, because the performance that I saw the other day was stellar for an entire hour. It played great. So those work. And then Sean, I also set up remote play from my Xbox. So because not every game is available on Game Pass. So every game that I own Xbox, I can just play off my Xbox. And then I did the same damn thing for my PS5. I was playing The Last of Us Remastered on this damn thing. And it's incredible. It's a cool look. I'm not trying to put it over. Jace's comments really bother me. They're going to stick in my head.
Oh, don't do that. You know,
I just feel like I feel like I'm not eating the hype on this. I'm not telling people to buy it. I'm not. It was so funny because I was like, I'm going to buy it. And then the tweets, if Garrett's still here, Garrett was like on Twitter, he's like, Donnie's got 10 people to buy this. Donnie hasn't told anybody to buy this at all.
That's the
Donnie
best
has
kind.
said that Donnie likes Android games. I play games on my Chromebooks. I'm very familiar with Chromebooks. I'm interested in this. That's it. That's all I said. And other people were like, that sounds cool. I want to get one too. Now, I have not told anybody, I think you should get one. That has never happened.
Just wait for them to send you a chair, Donnie. Then you'll really be in trouble.
Right. Well, we were making jokes the other day in the Discord because I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get the Logitech G Cloud podcast name, go and get it registered and everything. So I get why people make the jokes. I
Just
do
replace the
understand it.
Stadia, the tech
Exactly.
Game Tech.
I understand why I get the jokes made in my expense, and they're fair.
Is Game Tech dead? Is
Completely
Game
fair.
Tech done?
Yeah, I think we do a lot of game teching on PSVG.
Yeah,
most weeks.
I feel like because Dev is often here, just like
If Garrett
chatting with
would
us in
come
the chat, like
PSVG with us every
just
once in a while.
we should just have like, because we do this for hours anyways. We could have like a mid segment, just like jump in, we'll do Game Tech, and then we'll boot him out unceremoniously. Like time to leave.
I'd be down for him to join Sweet Hangs, but I don't think
I'm down for that too.
I don't think you can fit in his time requirements.
Who?
Devs.
He's right here. He's right there.
Well, he's right here now.
Yeah.
But
If it were to work out, like that's the whole thing about Sweet, like, like if he's here, like come on in, but we don't have to make it a regular thing. I'm on GeForce. It's like the checkout thing.
Green.
I've never played Streets of Rage. That actually does look great.
This is native. You can play Streets of Rage 4 on mobile on Android.
Wow, that really.
This
looks
isn't
good.
streaming or anything. This is just native. Okay. A few more things that I want to say about this device.
Hang on, I got to add Doom to my wish list. How is this on my wish list? Some point I decided that I guess I have it on Xbox and that's fine, but I need Doom on my Switch. Donnie, I'm sorry. You go ahead. Oh, and I'm also realizing how many things that it wants me to install GeForce Now onto. Windows, Mac, Android TV, Chrome, iPhone, iPad. Oh, look at that. Android Edge beta, LG TV. I can put this on my NanoCell. I want the damn thing just for Streets of Rage.
Dev gets it. Yeah, Dev gets it.
Mhm.
Dev and I don't come to agreement on a few things, but the few things we do, there's like a big bromance there, big gamer love, and Death's Door and Streets of Rage might be it, man.
Mine is more of just like I said before, it's the same reason I didn't get PSVR. Like it was just another ecosystem to not buy into. Like the fact that I have a 3080 in my PC is ridiculous. Don't need it. I don't play enough games on here.
Well, Game Pass, you can play more things there now.
That's just it. Like I have access, and with Epic Store and whatever, and games go on sale all the time. I should be playing more. It really is just this chair. This chair's got to be burned. Like I'm gonna douse gasoline onto this
Cult of
thing.
the Lamb. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
You see, look at
yeah.
it.
That's a nice. Is it a onesie or is it a hoodie?
It's a hoodie.
It looks like
Yeah.
you could be in pajamas right now.
Let's see here. I mean, I got
Doom 2 Classic, $6.49. Like, why does that seem like it's too much? That's nice. Look at that.
$6.
Yeah, Canadian.
That's
For
too
Doom.
much.
It's not, but I feel like I've seen it. Like, get all of them for like $4. Like, that's going on the wish
They
list.
sell a Doom collection on Switch. I think it's like $30
Yeah.
or $40. You just get every Doom.
Yeah, I'll get it later.
Okay. So a few more things about the handheld. The speakers, Sean, are actually really.
Oh, does it
That's a
Bluetooth?
surprise. Yeah,
Bluetooth
it does.
headphones? Look at that.
I didn't expect the speakers to be as nice as they are actually, at all. But I went and played some music because it's an Android tablet.
Oh
My
yeah.
entire YouTube library. is
YouTube.
here. So, give you an example here.
Even Metroid Dread is 30% off. Ori and the Blind Forest, 50% off. What are people doing? Get this on Switch. Like, come on, man. I got Monopoly's on sale. Can't even see how much it is because I've already purchased it.
Along I read the news, it's all gone on. The facts of life have empty sun, serving up doom and gloom.
Does it have a kickstand?
no kickstand.
You got to get like a little thing for that, maybe. Little holder.
The speakers are nice. The buttons are good. The thumbsticks are great. The triggers are smushy in a way that I don't think a lot of people will like. I don't care, to be honest. I don't. I've played shooters, Doom, didn't bother me at all. But they're just smushy. They're not clicky. Buttons are clicky. D-pad's good. I like the D-pad. After playing some Mario, it's fine. Like the D-pad, I was trying to think of what's the best way that I can explain a D-pad. This is not amazing. It's not the best D-pad I've ever played with. But in playing a game like Mario or something, I don't notice it. So I think that's pretty good. Right?
Definitely.
If you don't notice there's something wrong with the D-pad, it means it's pretty good.
Guess what controller I do notice it on? Joy-Con.
Yeah. Yeah, that D-pad.
You know what I mean? Like an actual Nintendo controller. Definitely notice it.
So the only few things that I think it's a little there are a few drawbacks that I've encountered. It is an Android tablet. There are few, like it doesn't support everything. Like I put TikTok on it, and a lot of apps that don't support landscape like will load into the thing top to bottom.
Oh yeah. Oh wow.
Or, like it's super weird to like try to hold this thing vertically. You're like, what? That doesn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not why it's intended. Like it's not its intended use, right? But it's just I've run into it a few times. Like the other day, I was using YouTube. I was watching a YouTube video. Perfect, right? Looked just like this, side by side, 16:9, fit the screen. And then I clicked on a playlist, and then the playlist switched. And then once I clicked out of it, I couldn't get it to unswitch. I had to close the app and reopen it to make it go back the way it was. So they're just weird little Android quirks like that. I wish I could freely swap between the game mode and the tablet mode. So what you're seeing right now, Sean, this is the operating system. It's called game mode.
Sure.
It looks like a console. You open up all your apps here, left to right. You can click on a menu. It operates like a console.
Yeah.
You're a little restricted in game mode. If you try to open up, like you can't multitask apps in game mode. So like I can't listen to music while I'm playing Doom.
Right.
I gotta like anytime I try to open one, it closes the other. If I switch the tablet mode and open them both up and then switch back, then I can. But to switch to tablet mode, I got to go into the settings and go down to the menu and go over to the thing and then press the button to switch. I kind of wish I could just hold down a couple buttons and pop over.
Sure.
Like if it was more convenient, that would be really nice. Since Chase is here, I don't know if he's still here. I haven't seen him in a bit. But Chase is here. He was here. He had mentioned in our Discord the other day, he said this was his hot take. He said, this is the best the best handheld to hold, like ergonomic ever. And at face value, when you see that, you're like, that is a hot take because everybody loves all the handhelds we've had before. Everybody hates this device. But then I actually started thinking about like just the content of that quote. He's not wrong because the bar isn't very high. If you think about the handhelds we've gotten, the Vita and the 3DS and the Switch, they're all flat. They're not like great to hold.
Switch Lite, I think, is great to hold. I really love this thing. I think it's the perfect. This is why I want an OLED.
I've never liked the Switch's just flat design. I don't
Sure.
like holding it that way.
Yeah,
You know, at least with this thing, it's got some grips. You know, this is like
I
holding
can
a
see
Switch
it.
Lite
Mhm.
in a Satisfy
With a
grip.
hoary. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
or one of those grips that the Switch has that
Mhm.
everybody likes. This is kind of has that
I can
built
see it.
into it. I wish there was just a little bit more to hold on to. Like just
Yeah.
personally, just a little bit more, you know? But he's not wrong. Like compared to the handhelds that I've had, I'd much rather play on this
You call it the
just
love handle grip.
just
You
from
know.
a feel. So yeah, it was easy to set up for because I'm
Ryan
fluent
Turford.
in
This
Android.
is why you need a Sega Game Gear since it's got a lot to hold on to. That
Hey
is
man, I like my portables like I like my women, Ryan. But yeah, it's
with 8 AA batteries.
it's pretty solid. I do agree with most of the people. I would call them the haters of the folks that are have criticism. I think for 350, it's asking a lot. I've always thought that. I've said it
Yeah.
from the beginning. It's asking a lot for something. I think by the time the Razer device comes out, I think this thing will have had a healthy price cut.
You guys had a great conversation about the Razer device actually recently. I thought
Yeah.
was a good point. I don't know if I look to Razer for that.
I think their device is going to be really solid on the Android performance side. It's going to be very solid. And I look to get one. I'm probably going to get one, but I'm thinking I'll probably get one of those like used secondhand.
Dude, it's
$400, right? It's $399,
yeah.
and I don't like the attachments. Like that's the problem. Like this is a
Mhm.
handheld.
Yeah.
This is a portable gaming device. You can one hand this thing, right?
I'm proud of you for getting it. I would love it as a gift.
Tablet that
Sure.
you snap some things onto. You know what that is? That's a better version of your phone.
Yeah.
Like that's a better version of your phone and the Kishi.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
not this. So
Yeah, I agree, and I don't want to use my phone like that. I've had the whole like use a real controller and like snap the thing onto it. Like that's
Same.
not
I don't want to
that's
use
not
my
going to
phone
happen.
either. That's
I'm
why I don't use.
scrolling
I
through.
have the limited Game Pass
Yeah.
Kishi thing.
Yeah,
And I never that thing has been in Chucky's hand
totally.
since 2 days after I bought it. I tried it for 2
Mhm.
days and I was like, well, I'm never going to use this again. And then I just put it in Chucky's hands. It's never left.
So you're kind of in this. This is why I think reviewing hardware in particular is really interesting. It's something that not many of us are really too used to. Like you're in this, let's take it for a ride. Let's see what it's going to be able to do. Let's put it through its paces. Like, have you gotten to the point where it's worked its way into your day to day, or you still feel like you're kind of putting it through its paces?
Probably I haven't got enough time because I've been working most of this weekend to really do the emulation, everything that I want to do with it.
Right.
We had a lot of folks sharing pictures of emulators in Discord, so I just kind of wanted to catch up to them and show some of them what I
Sure.
was doing.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing about this device long term, honestly, is just kind of what it led to me with the discovery of GeForce. Because I actually do think in the future, if I have some big giant game that's available on GeForce, so like if I was Dev, for example, who just in the chat he said he's going to get one. If I was Dev and I played Stadia as much as he does, I'd be very interested in one of these because of GeForce Now. Because Stadia is available there, you just play it, and it's like a really great way to play on the go, on the couch, not in front of your console, not in front of your PC. To me, this device is always going to be that casual thing. Like I played it the most today because I was playing a little bit while I was watching the F1 race. And that's why I bought this device. I bought this device to be with me when I'm preoccupied with other things. It's kind of a multitasking device. I never bought this thing to like, I'm going to play games on the G Cloud. Like that.
Sure.
I have a PC and consoles. Like I have devices for that. For me, it was like a convenience thing. Like, can I play a little golf while I'm watching a documentary with the wife? Can I get in a little round here? What if I'm, at a conference or at work or something, I can carry around and play a little something.
I feel like you've maybe answered this somewhere else, or maybe that was part of it, but like you have a Steam Deck. I guess maybe that's the part
I sold mine.
Oh,
I sold mine.
okay. That makes, okay. Then this makes way more sense.
Now,
like, would you have both? Is this something that somebody
No,
with a
I
Steam
wouldn't have
okay.
both.
That's what
and we can get into that because the gigantic debate amongst gamers is apparently everybody wants everybody else to have a Steam Deck instead of one of these.
I see.
And I don't know where that cheerleading comes from. I love Steam. I have PC and game full Steam Link. I was playing Steam Link on this thing, so I'm not anti-Steam at all. I love Steam.
Yeah.
But the Steam Deck, I've said this a bit on our podcast for a while now, and I only say this honestly, like as a whistleblower, just kind of like to give folks a dose of reality. But before I say this, I want to be upfront, as I always do. I loved the Steam Deck. I sold mine because I needed the money and they were particularly hot. I would be open to getting another Steam Deck in the future. But the Steam Deck that everybody's going on about, tweeting about how great it is, they're not telling you the full story. They
Right,
constantly overlook and glance over things. The
Mhm.
Steam Deck is not for everyone. If you're somebody that doesn't know Linux and that can't dive through a bunch of menus and unlock and navigate SD cards and all that, like through the Steam Deck's UI in Linux, like if
Mhm.
you're trying to do Game Pass on Steam Deck, it's not good. It's not a good experience. It's not supported natively. Neither is any of these other things like Remote Play and GeForce Now and any of those things. Like it's not a supported feature. The Game Pass streaming that Steam Deck has isn't Game Pass streaming at all. It literally is just a bookmark that you
Yeah.
save that goes to the website.
That's what it is on iPhone.
And
Yeah.
you have to dump through Linux to even make that work. To even get to a browser to make that work, there's a Linux jump thing you got to do. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you got to go into the Linux. You got to go to desktop mode, Linux store. You got to download the app, download the browser, set it all up. You got to configure the bookmark. You got to configure, just even have like an icon. There's configuration that has to be done. This thing, you know what I did? I turned it on. I clicked the Xbox button and I signed in.
Yeah.
Like that. They're so different in that regard. There's so many people on Twitter that are like, "Oh, Steam Deck can do that," and it's like, it can if you're willing to watch a 38-minute YouTube video on how to do it.
Right. Yeah.
Not
Have Jeff Grubb
everybody's-
set it up for you.
Exactly. Not everybody's about that life. I'm not.
Yeah.
I barely like
Okay.
emulators because I don't like messing with that stuff.
Well, and that, so that's why I was like, I saw some kind words between Phil and what's his name, Gabe, talking about like Game Pass is possible and isn't that need and on Steam Deck, and I'm like, at what stage do we see Microsoft just release its own device like this Logitech thing? Like, does that even make any sense?
What I would
But-
love for them to do is I would love for them to make Game Pass natively available within Steam.
Can you imagine?
That would be the best if they would just honor like, hey, you are a Game Pass subscriber, even if it was an add-on. I've said this for years. Even if it was like EA Play, it's $5 a month. I would pay $5 a month to have access to my Game Pass library on Steam.
Yeah.
Happily. Because then I could just install stuff. And if you had a Steam Deck, you could just run it natively. If I had this, I could just run it through the Steam Link. And the Steam Link service is better than Game Pass streaming.
That's crazy.
So I would much rather do that.
Well, and I guess the other side of it too, though, is with that thing, like it sounds like you're able to do like 15 different things. And that's the thing. That's where the value is coming from. It's not just like a device for a single ecosystem. Like I think people snuff that out pretty quickly. Like if it's a one device, like, I mean, you can only do it with Switch. Like really, that's the only thing where people are going to let that fly because it's got Nintendo games on it. But otherwise, these handhelds, that kind of look like a PC have to have that freedom of a PC. Like you can do a bunch of stuff to it or with it. Yeah.
I would love to see Xbox work with Valve to have more, even if it was first party. Could you imagine if it was first party only Game Pass games?
Yeah.
But you could just download and install them through Steam.
Yeah.
That would do wonders for the Steam Deck. So many Steam Deck folks would be so happy because right now most of Xbox's games aren't available for Steam Deck. That's another thing most people don't tell you about the Steam Deck. Most games don't play natively on Steam Deck. Most games aren't verified.
Right.
And playable games on Steam Deck are real hit and miss. Some of them are good. Some of them are terrible. I had some bad experiences when I had my Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Skywalker ran like garbage.
What's
Skywalker Saga, the Lego Skywalker Saga.
Oh yeah. Oh right. Lego.
Thinking like a Lego game would be great on Steam Deck. Nope.
Yeah.
It was bad.
That's bizarre, man. Like those games that you would think
PGA Tour 2K21 ran worse on Steam Deck than it did on Switch. And the Steam Deck, for all of its superpower, right?
I remember you going off on that too, man.
Yeah, and I don't like the version of it on Switch, and it was worse on Steam Deck. You know,
as we're kind of doing this, I'm scrolling through my Switch here, and like you mentioned, sometimes there's like hiccups with the Android OS. Like the Nintendo OS sucks ass, dude.
Yeah.
Like this is a horrendous experience. It's only because like we're chatting for like 2 hours or whatever that like I'm mostly putting up with this. It's like, oh, whatever. Like I'll scroll, and then eventually the games will kind of like come to
feel bad.
life. It's brutal.
Because so many people found me because of Nintendo Shack, and for that I'm grateful, and I still do love all of the Nintendo games that I love. But since we have Dev here, I mean, Dev knows because of our pre and post show. I'm so over the Switch.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to play it. I only want to play it because there's an exclusive that I can't play anywhere else.
Yeah.
And like I really don't want to play Breath of the Wild 2 on it. I really don't.
I heard you say that.
Like,
I'm
so
totally
I'm
with
just
you.
Like, oh, please release something better. Please.
You know, the crazy thing is, and I've just started Mario and Rabbids, and Yarden earlier was saying like I finally caved, and I didn't cave. I got an email from Ubisoft and said if you want to request a copy, you can. And I'm like,
nice.
All right, yeah, I will definitely do that. If you go back and listen to the very last episode of Nintendo Drive, I was literally saying I'm waiting for a sale. These always go on sale. I highly recommend you buy the first one with the expansion pack for $15. You should totally do it. But the reason I bring it up in this conversation is because it runs better than the first one. It runs very smooth. I remember the first one, it's like you decide you're going to shoot somebody, and then it's like you can like almost feel the Switch like crunching numbers, like, I'll get there. And this one it actually runs better, which is great, which is nice. Yeah.
I haven't started yet. I was doing Call of Duty first, so I'll jump on that probably tomorrow. I'm
very
stoked
cool
for Rabbids. You know that. I loved Mario Rabbids, so I
totally
can't wait to play.
My not buying it day one was mostly just a reaction to I've been buying far too many games, not playing enough of them, falling in love with Forza.
With you, but I bought it about a year ago. Ubisoft ran a sale on their store, and for whatever reason, pre-orders for that were on there, and the coupon worked. I got that game for like $38.
See, this is what I mean, man. Like, how are you doing all this stuff?
I just had it pre-ordered. Honestly, it's been like a year. I've had it pre-ordered. It's just been sitting there.
Nice.
And I've been waiting for them to email me my code, and then it released, and they're like, "Here's your code." I'm like, "Great,
I love it.
Thank you." So, yeah, I'll be jumping to that next, and then Bayonetta and Pokemon. Like, I'm still playing Switch. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I just don't want to. Like,
I've got my flights coming up. That's why I'm kind of excited about it.
It's like I'm begrudgingly playing it. Like, you know, like I don't want to.
Sure.
I don't want to play games this way anymore. I want it to be better, and I will for Rabbids and I will for Bayonetta, but it's like Zelda feels like the one. Like, okay, I'll put it this way, and I know they won't, but let's just say, if at the Game Awards, Nintendo was like, we're working on another Switch and it's coming out next fall, I actually might hold off on playing Zelda.
You don't think there's no way? There's no way they'll do it the exact same time.
They won't. Yeah,
there's no way it comes out after.
But
so
if they did,
Zelda's May,
we have a new Switch coming.
They will say that
later. If they did,
no, day and date.
I would wait.
Count on it, man. I'm telling you, put money on it. Day and date, new Switch. It's coming because I think now this may be where our conversation can happen in May. I think it could happen in May. Just like why not just throw out some crazy date?
Chase asks, "How's my remote play experience on?" It was great. The picture was just slightly soft, but the remote play experience on Xbox was way better than the cloud experience through streaming. Remote play on Xbox was fine. Remote play, I played a chapter of Gears 4 via remote play. Totally great way to play.
Gears 4 is so good. Oh my gosh.
Continue.
I think that was a game I was playing this year.
Next Switch
I
Pro.
don't think that there's any chance that Zelda releases without new hardware. I don't think that there's a chance for it.
They do. I don't want any of the thing that scares me is I think you might be right. I think they might release new hardware and it still plays at 20 frames a second. But I really, really want it to be better. You know, like I want to play a better experience.
Switch Advance.
And I hate that it feels snobby to Nintendo players. I hate that it's like an age. Like the thing that bothers me is that when people hear people ask for performance, like the Nintendo response is, well, it doesn't bother me as much. You know, I don't notice it. Like, I just want games with style are better than games with performance. Like, you should want performance. Like, what?
Yeah.
Who is actively asking to play a worse version of a video game? Like, we're going to pay the same price. I'm just going to play it at half the speed you do, and I'm okay with that. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, let me choose that.
Yeah, you would want to spend your money on the best available product, not the worst product, not the product that's, you know, remarkably worse. That's my thing. I don't want it to be 4K or any of that nonsense. I honestly just want stable performance.
Totally. Yeah,
that's it.
I agree.
I'm so down for 1080 60. So
I don't think 4K is
1080 60.
It's not in the cards, honestly. Like
if it
maybe
is,
1440
frame rate.
Well, exactly. Like it's not what people need. But can they announce it? This is what I wanted to ask you. Can they announce it? Like, when is the Game Awards? Like December 5th or something? Like just before Christmas, after Black Friday and everything. Say there's different hardware coming out.
Switch Pro.
Does it make any sense to announce that before the holiday season is done?
No.
Like NX was announced like before, but they had long since cut the cord on Wii U.
Yeah.
Like they do. I think the reveal of it was like in October.
There was pressure from shareholders and stuff to announce the next thing, because we got the NX announcement like way out in front.
Yep.
So
it was about now. Like I think somebody was tweeting this recently. It was like 5 or 6 years ago to the day, sometime in October, and then January.
Didn't we got the announcement that there was something coming, like the Switch, and then it took like a year for it to actually come.
There was NX. Remember, they talked about the NX for a long time. You didn't really know exactly what it was.
How long was it from like the commercial? From the commercial to us picking.
That's what I'm saying. The commercial was like the reveal was like about now, and then it released in early March.
Yeah, it was a long.
And then they had the January like deep dive where you got like 1-2 Switch and the HD Rumble or whatever, and Project Octopath Traveler. That was that was a happy. We actually podcast about Nintendo back then. Like there's few of us, but we were very pleased to see something like finally the hybrid device, finally third-party support, all the stuff that we complain about now, which drives me nuts. Like, I can't believe they had a Nintendo Direct, just a third-party showcase. Like, dude, rewind the clock like 4 years.
They would have killed for Wii.
Would have killed for. There's so much third-party content you can't fit in a regular thing. Shut up.
Our third-party games on Switch were like Fusion Frenzy and
on Wii U,
Twisted Sense, like.
Oh, that drove me crazy.
Affordable like space adventures.
Tell me you weren't there for Wii U. I mean, yeah, whatever, but
not what you want when you talk third-party support.
Totally.
It came and went so fast.
Yeah.
It was like year one. It was like, look at all the third parties. And then there they went. That was it.
Gone. Yeah.
Well,
and even that was like, that's the best that they could get was Mass Effect 3 and
not
Batman.
The other ones.
Like of all the series, like that was the one where the save games carry over to like
so weird.
Any other trilogy, and maybe you could convince me it makes sense for just the third one.
3 on it.
The culmination of this like opus, where your saves carry over and everything.
What a weird place.
Oh my gosh, man! Yeah. Well, it kind of reminds me. It's funny when you hold up the Logitech, and I think about. I don't know if you remember this before the iPad. Like everybody was trying to figure out this tablet thing. Nobody remembers this. Sony had a tablet. There's all these like weird tablets, and they all seem to be running off of some bastardized like version of Windows or something, and they all just kind of sucked. And then finally, like iPad comes out and just like. There is a brief moment of it's just a large iPhone or iPad or iPod Touch, but it didn't last long. Like everybody ended up getting an iPad. That was ridiculous. And I feel like this Logitech one is like just the moment before. This is why I was asking about Microsoft. Like we're like 1.5 year away from the real one landing, like the iPad of whatever you want to call this.
The thing that scares me with Xbox trying to do something like this is that the eternal fear that it'll just be locked to Windows.
Right.
And all of the things.
That's what I was saying before. Like it's got to be able to do something else.
Like would they run their own OS on it? Like the Xbox OS now? Because that would be cool. But if it's going to be Windows, then you're going to deal with all the Windows things, and I lose interest quickly.
Totally. And I think most people would.
That's a Surface.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say they've got a Surface which runs off of
and
Arc. Is that what we call it?
I personally don't like using the Surface. It's fine for what it does, but it's not what I would want.
I agree. You know? Yeah, it's really incredible the way that they've done it in Apple land, because they have the apps just seem to work, at least for me.
The thing that I've been asking for in our Discord and things, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the thing that I'm asking for is this.
Which?
From Apple.
Yeah, gaming device. Yeah.
Like instead of doing the Razer Edge, like they should just work with Apple and make them a device for that. Because if I think
that's really scary to think.
If I could have something like this that does Apple Arcade, plus has all the app support and does Call of Duty Mobile, and I can do the Game Pass thing, like I would trade this in a heartbeat for an Apple version of this.
Yeah,
and I would pay a premium for it.
Well, they already have the whole, like they have all the services for this. Services, not surfaces. Like they have Apple Arcade. Like they've already, it seems like they've actually been building towards something like that.
Yeah.
But they just haven't like pulled the trigger on it. And
they say they're focused on gaming. They've still yet to like, I don't think they've ever made like their own controller.
Yeah.
Like the Apple TV kind of has it's like a little set box thing kind of thing. But yeah, they've never went all in. But yeah, Daniel in our Discord, he's all about the Apple stuff, D-Life. We're always talking about it. And I would be there. Like I would be all in if they came out with an iPad version of this.
Yeah.
Assuming it ran well, because some of the Apple games, like on the M1 chips and stuff, like on the Apple TV, are janky. But the new stuff, like the M2 stuff that powers the new iPads, they're stellar.
Yeah.
So if we could get something like that in a portable game console form factor, all in. I'd be there day one for something.
Yeah, I bet it'd be good. It'd be so expensive. That's the other thing. Like Apple doesn't do anything cheap. Like you think you're mad about
that's probably what's kept them at bay.
Yeah.
Is that there's not enough money to be made there.
Mm-hmm. And it can be distracting. Like they've got a lot to sell you when they do their whole whatever I almost said WWT, WWD something, like their showcases. They've got a lot to sell. They got speakers over here, and they're trying to run your home, and soon they're going to sell you a car and all this other stuff. Like their product line is pretty satiated.
I think it would be a boost for Apple Arcade. I also think it would be a boost for just Apple services in general. I think people would buy that, and at least they would sell maybe a few million versions of that. So
the thing that comes to mind though is like if you think about gaming on like Mac, it's like that's not a great time. Like we're really doing much of anything.
Not from PC gaming app, but
exactly.
From the App Store. So let me.
They are the ones. Yes.
Yeah, if you have the Apple Arcade, have you ever had Apple Arcade?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a lot of the indie games that like Switch fans have been fawning over have been out on Apple Arcade for like a year.
Totally.
They're getting early access to all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of the Android apps that we're talking about, like they're also over there on the iOS store.
Right.
So you can get Grand Theft Auto and Doom and stuff like that. And you can do those on the go.
Yeah.
All of the cloud streaming options are there. So you could do that as well. And then all of a sudden you've got, Apple Music and Apple TV, and like all of that stuff starts to build in very nicely on a portable gaming device.
And that's where I was kind of trying to explore a little bit is maybe that is the path. Like part of me thinks that's going to die. It's going to be dead in the water as soon as you fire it up, because of the perspective of like from a gaming audience, like a hardcore gaming audience going like, oh, Apple's trying to do gaming, and like very similar to this Logitech thing. Like that's not what we expect. It's not Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony. So
I just want to comment on that. I don't want to interrupt you and make you lose your point, but the resistance to Logitech is puzzling.
Mm-hmm.
I get it with Apple and Google, and I get people like they're very territorial. They like the players that they have. They root for these brands. They're invested in these brands. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, Steam. The fuck out, everybody else. Stay away from us, Amazon.
Yep.
Logitech's not coming in here trying to make a platform. They're not selling games. They literally just made a handheld. That's it, just a tablet. Yep. And you think that people are like, they're so resistant.
I know.
They're like, what is Logitech? And the people that are doing this, they're playing on Logitech keyboards and
that's what I was just gonna say.
Racing wheels.
Yes. Why
are you so upset?
Why wouldn't it tie right next to it? It's like you buy your keyboard, your mouse, and your gaming on the go thing from Logitech. That totally makes sense.
That's why it's expensive. That's the thing I've been saying about this. The reason this device costs so much, they're not making any returns off of it. They make their money when you buy the device.
Yeah.
That's their money.
They also launched it
$350.
They launched it at a time where shipping, materials, everything is at its absolute maximum.
Sure.
We just saw PlayStation do their thing and everything. So I have to imagine if they launched this, it's so hard to say. Nothing happens in a vacuum, but like 2 years ago, everything was different. But 2 years from now,
it's a middling Android chip. We've had this chip in Android tablets for a couple years.
Yeah.
And when it was announced, there was a lot of concern over that. They're like, why is the chip so old? This is a 2018 phone. Like the thing that I kept trying to remind folks in our Discord was that, like, yeah, it is old. You're not wrong. But most Android stuff is very scalable. Like you're going to see, and as I thought, like you can play Call of Duty Mobile on this chip. Like it doesn't, it runs well.
Mm-hmm.
It runs better. It probably runs better than it would run on Switch, and it's much less it's underpowered.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more optimized. Like Android is a widely used thing. People optimize the shit out of this.
Playing Call of Duty on mobile, I've obviously never done it, but it's just wild to me that we get so caught up on when I play Call of Duty is there PC players because like the keyboard and mouse they can play better. It's like on mobile, like you got 1,000 different ways that you could be playing this thing. You know, like there's so many different input devices that you could have on there. I don't want
They
to
locked
be.
a lot of that stuff out. on
Oh,
Call of
really?
Duty. Yeah. Call of Duty doesn't support the controls. You got to play with touchscreen controls.
That sounds terrible. I watched my daughter try to play Sonic on her tablet today, and like,
PlayStation Remote Play is the same way. But Brendan found an app that you can buy on the Play Store that enables the controls for
yeah, nuts to
remote
that, dude.
play.
I don't want any part of any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want like a thing like porting into another
That's
kind
what
of
I
thing.
meant. Like it's for better or worse as an Android tablet.
Yeah,
So with PlayStation, they lock the remote play to only work with their controllers.
yeah,
Makes sense,
mhm.
right? So like you're screwed on this device if you're going to buy one of these. Now, luckily
Yeah.
the app is like $5. You pay for the app, and instead of going to PlayStation 5 remote play, you go to the app and you link to your console, and it works like a charm.
Okay.
So it's not too bad, but I'm with you. Like that's what I meant earlier by like there's just Android things about it. Like when you first set up the device, I had to put in a lock, like a PIN code to unlock the device,
Yeah.
which I've since turned off. But I put it in, and then when I rebooted the console the next time, it was like put in your PIN. Can't navigate or click anything on any of the controls. You have to touch the screen.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a weird little. It's just Android. It's an Android tablet. You know.
That and there's always something for everyone. I feel like everybody's got their I'm out kind of moment. I can't stand Android OS. Like I
then
just
you definitely shouldn't get one.
definitely not. I'm like,
'Cause
oh
even
my
in game
god,
mode-
everything is so hard.
Even in game mode, like if you wanted to do even some of the basic anything off of Android, you got to go to, I don't want to say tablet mode, but at least navigate some
Screw
Android
that.
UI settings, config, file explorer, things like that. You know, you got to
Yeah.
do something.
No, I'll mess around on my PC. Like that's the whole thing. Like I just same thing with my phone. I just want them to work. I just want to, even if it means like I get less out of it. I don't care. I realize.
I'm more in line with you. This is why I don't usually do a lot of emulation. This is why I don't set up a lot of things. This is why I didn't get into the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
I don't like tinkering and messing with these things and having to do all that. So luckily the thing is with Android is I've gotten used to it over the years from all the Chromebook that I feel it's not very difficult for me. Like I put all these ROMs on here. I think I probably started working on ROM Sean an hour before we recorded, and they're all there. Dreamcast, PlayStation, Super Nintendo, like that's how long it took me to do it. 40 minutes. You know, it's not hard.
And again, like it's not like I've done these types of things before. I've modded things before. I've got my, not that I don't know if it's the same, but my classics, my mini NES and Super Nintendo, like those are modded. That's fine. Like I'm not completely inept. I've had plenty of
it's just the energy to learn something new. I get you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
You do more tinkering than me. Like you actually pop open your PC and replace part. I'd never do that.
I love doing that. So that's the thing. My thing is it's presenting itself as a thing to play the games, and like it's just the start. It's like
that's how I feel about the Steam Deck, but way worse.
Totally, I get. And one is so expensive too,
you know?
and Linux
like
is
how
even
you
worse.
feel about Android is how I feel. I'm like, I don't know where anything is. I don't know what any of this means. Like I was watching a thing. It's kind of like Hackchi. I was watching a YouTube like try to explain to me how to set up an emulator, and they're like, you got to go download this app, and it was like AMD.II3. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What is that? Why am I installing that on here? You know, it's just
too much, man.
You got to be willing to go down that path if you want to take the full use out of that Steam Deck that a lot of people are.
It's like one of those things, like what do you get for the tech guy who has everything? Like that's where you get to something like this, is when you already have everything. And I don't know that I have everything yet. I feel like I can still squeeze more out of my experiences that I have right now. I think I can still do more with my Switch. I think I can still do more with I still want to do this 3DS and Vita thing. Like I think I'm down for that kind of stuff. I don't feel like the juice is worth the squeeze on this just yet. Although, like, even just the way it comes out of the box, like, it sounds great anyways. So, like, if you handed me one, I wouldn't be mad about it.
I was in on it, honestly. I was in on it as just a mobile device, a mobile gaming device. Like,
well, and you do Chromebook and everything, like, you get it.
Though.
Yeah,
so,
like that's kind of a key.
It was so funny because people are like, I can't believe you're interested in this. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Do you know me?
How many Chromebooks have you seen me buy?
Totally.
I buy them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
My whole family has Chromebooks. Like I love Chromebooks. I try to get Chromebooks. I sell. I have
Yeah.
sold so many Chromebooks. I try to enlighten the world. Like I got my uncle who's a plumber and hates all technology. I got him on Chromebook. I'm trying to get my father-in-law on Chromebook. I'm like, just let me show you the easy button.
Mhm.
There's an easy button to computing that you just don't know. Like, let me
Yeah.
show you.
I should be the one. I should like. You look at like somebody like me and the history I've had with PCs and everything. Like it should be Android. I feel like something happened where like a switch got flipped. Like I shouldn't be an Apple person. I shouldn't have my watch or my iPhone or anything.
Dude, if I
Like I had Windows 3.1, dude. Like we used to change the startup sounds on Windows 3.1.
If I could get like a gaming like this same PC that I have,
yeah,
but it just fully runs Chrome OS and it's totally optimized and I can Steam and everything on it, I would do that instead. In a heartbeat, like that. Just say less.
Yes. When we first met, Chelsea's laptop crashed and I had to recover it using DOS. Like, it's not like I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want it, but still I don't want any part of Chrome OS.
I don't want to.
I backed up her system using DOS commands I had remembered in my brain from like 1987 or whatever the heck it was.
Windows 11 is a great start. It's much better. It's much improved. I enjoy the Windows 11 experience much better.
I'm going to be hipster and go like Windows 10. I like Windows 10 better than Windows 11.
Generally, like Chrome OS has come so far especially with the inclusion of Office 365. I can do all of my Word and Office and Excel and PowerPoint on my Chromebooks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if it just had full, native support for GPU and CPU processing to run things like Steam, if they just made devices that were aimed at that, I would probably buy one because I wouldn't game on my laptop. Android-based OS.
Yeah,
it's just so much more efficient.
I'm trying to think if there's ever be a case where I've got like my laptop is a great. It's the most powerful laptop you need for podcasting, basically. Nice. Like I bought it for the Xbox Drive actually because that's how I would record the whole thing, and it couldn't do any hiccups or anything. So I wanted to have it like decently powerful. But I also feel like that by doing that, I've established my minimum portable computing device power. Like I don't want anything less than like an i5 equivalent.
And I would say this earlier, and I would say this at Garrett. If you have a capable gaming laptop, like this isn't.
No, mine isn't a gaming laptop, not by any stretch of the imagination.
This.
Yeah.
Don't get this if you have a gaming laptop.
I would never, that's what I'm trying to say, I guess, is like, I look at, and all power to anybody who has a gaming laptop out there. Like, I don't think
the same thing about the Steam Deck.
Sure. Well, they're kind of chunky. Like I would
much rather have, some of the newer ones are nice. Like the newer Razors, the newer Zephyrus, they're not chunky.
Well, they're chunky. They're not chunky for a gaming laptop, but they're chunky compared to the like
Ultrabook.
2 centimeters tall. Like, some of these really, really, I mean, like, the Chromebooks that you have are the size of laptops that I'm after. Very, very small. Like that's what I want. So anytime you're going to throw any sort of like graphical power into there, you're going to get chunky by that comparison.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
That's all.
They're not like the bench seats that they used to be 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Dude, no, definitely not.
They've gotten down to close to Ultrabook settings, and you can get 3060 builds, 2070 builds that can run games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like that Zephyrus that Garrett has, I had one. That is a sweet laptop, and I would definitely tell anybody like buy that instead. If you could afford
where
it,
do you play it? Where do you? I don't get, like, that's the thing I don't really understand. Like, are you plugging that into a monitor and playing off of that? In which case,
put it on your lap and play it with a controller.
I
put
guess.
it on the table or the desk in front of you. I mean, it's
I'm not looking
the
for that
portable.
solution.
It's not the handheld thing. Yeah.
Well, exactly. That's why I struggle with it. Like, why to get one? I don't know.
Performance is when you play Dying Light 2 at 1440 at 120 frames a second. It's like it's pretty good though.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because like we're now getting into this time.
Behavior.
Well, like we're getting into this. We're getting into year 3 of PS5 and Series X, and we've got 2 big games that are coming out. They're 30 frames a second, and it's like
I've been trying to tell people this.
I know you and everybody else on PC world. It's like again.
But yeah, definitely.
No, like every PC player, and the arguments go like, well, of course, if you want to spend $14,000 on your gaming PC.
Didn't we talked about this when they launched? You and I. Like,
definitely.
Hangs, we did it. Where I was telling you then, I was like they're good, but they're not what I wanted, and I was like, it's not wanted the expectations, they came a little short of my expectations.
Well, and they're
My
always going to be short of
expectation was
PC.
solid 4K 60.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess where I kept coming from, especially back then, was we're not at they haven't figured out how to squeeze every bit of juice out of these things. We're not there yet. This is definitely better than the One X or PS4. Like, go fire those things up and you'll be regretting.
The memory bus is
totally
way better. They're faster, snappier.
But now here we are with Steam Decks and affordable gaming PC, and 4 generations later of graphics cards or whatever, 2 generations. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So now, you look at a gaming laptop, and what if that was sitting on your TV stand, plugging that thing in instead of playing on?
Asks, will Donnie even buy a next gen console or go PC only? I have no interest in another console.
Yeah. I mean, I've been loving Forza Horizon 5 and Call of Duty, as we were just talking about. I'm noticing weird stuff happening. I don't know if maybe I need to like vacuum it out or something, but like,
how's it playing on Xbox?
Call of Duty mostly plays fine. But yeah, definitely I'm looking away and then looking back, and things kind of click back and they pop back into place. Almost looks like pop in.
I would say like mine. I played 4K. I set mine to Ultra and I just played it. Without setting a thing. And I was running Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 4K on Ultra at about 110, 115 frames a second. But it would dip a little. It would dip into the 90s. It'd come back up, dip into the 90s. So I just
I don't want any of that.
I just locked it at 60, and then I played Call of Duty at 4K 60 the whole time. That's
my biggest frustration with PC gaming overall, and the little amount that I've done is like, I think I've got enough power to do some pretty great frames and all these other things, but like the variability on it is too much that I end up just doing it at like my monitor is capable of a crazy amount, but I end up just doing 60.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just another graphics card generation away from that, but I cannot be the type to buy every generation. Like I had a 1070 Ti, I've got a 3080 now. I'll do whatever 50 something in the next couple of years. Like
the reports on the 40 series, especially the DLS 3, was exciting. Like I was definitely,
and it was for the 30 series too.
I was like reading those marks and I was like, yeah, I would like one of those, but I'm not like, I'm ready to upgrade now. Like, no, like down the road a little bit when the price comes down. I won't upgrade, but I'll buy another PC that has one in it.
See, and that's where if I'm really thinking about like long term, that's where I should be
in my PC.
That's the thing. These things aren't getting any smaller.
As big as a Series S.
Yeah. Stop. Are they really?
No, yeah, it is.
I'm like looking at a Series S right now.
Yeah, but send him the comparison.
Gosh.
I'm not
joking.
Really? Yeah, there are comparisons. It is as big as a Series S.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty. But again, like
a graphics card, you were inserting a console into your PC.
Like, what if it? You gotta have like an engineer, like an architect, like build you the brackets for these things.
That's another thing. I couldn't.
Oh, yours is just like a all in.
Yeah. I would have to buy another one. So, and that's what I would do anyway. I wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would just upgrade everything at once instead of trying to.
That's a lot. Together. Really?
To me, that's the easy button. I understand. I understand. Like people will save some money, but to me, if I got to spend an extra $1,000 to like not have to worry about thermals or temperatures or fans or the cascading effects that swapping a part in and out could do, it's like, dude, I'll just pay for the extra.
I guess. I've been able to like slowly but surely upgrade my PC over the years, where now it's at a point where I'm very happy with it. Especially again, I don't really do a lot of gaming with it, but it's because I just constantly I'm changing one thing or another. It's like one time it's the power supply, one time it's the fans, whatever else.
See, I disagree with this. I get that. I see this a lot. I think you were kind of referring to this a little bit earlier when we were talking about our past conversations, squeezing all the juice out of the thing. It's like there's no magical thing in there. It's not a cell processor situation or a new architecture.
Right.
This is the same architecture we had before.
Yeah.
It just is better. Has a better GPU. It's got a faster storage. Like there's no magical thing, I don't think, for developers to do to get more out of these. And if there was, I think cross-gen games that are built on very similar architecture would be performing better than they are. The fact that we're getting cross-gen games at 30 is not even stable 30, let alone not 60, I think is kind of, it's kind of damning. Like if you think there's more in there, I guarantee you it's not like twice as much performance more. Like you might be
think
able to
there is.
optimize and get a little bit more, but like you're not going to take a game from 4K 30 and suddenly it's 4K 60. Like, oh, we forgot to
Probably
turn
not.
this
That's
on.
I mean, literally double the processing that's
Right, of
happening in there.
course.
But I do think that there is something to be said. And maybe we're just stretching the truth a little too far to say what we get at the end of a generation is vastly different than the beginning. Like you look at like Rise Son of Rome versus what we're getting at the very end of the Xbox generation. Although tough to compare because we got One X's and things like that.
One X's and things like that.
And
even the 1S got internal upgrades.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I guess the other thing too, though, is you're supposed to get like efficiencies out of a console because it's not running Windows. It's not doing anything else. It's just a console. It's like a single, you don't have to take into, and you don't have to take into a single configuration.
And the fact that this config, like literally the config, they're better parts. And the biggest upgrade from last gen to this gen is the memory bus. The memory bus is greatly improved.
What did they named it for Xbox? It was like something architecture or something like that. They had like, there's a logo for it too. It's on the side of the box. There was like this, like the way everything was streamlined and like, oh my gosh, they've got this all blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like,
it's the memory bus is super fast. So we don't have as much pop in and we can load in more textures, details. But like the way developers are supporting and building games is not changing because of what's in these boxes. What's in these boxes are more of the same, but better.
Yeah,
they are. I mean, that's not an opinion. That's fact. Like it's the same architecture, same build, just better GPU, better CPU, better memory.
Right.
It's like a PC.
Well, that's so I know, and that's where I'm trying to like figure out where I land on that because you're right, architecture wise, very similar to a PC, but it's not exactly like apples to apples because of what's like the OS load on an Xbox is not the same as the OS load on a PC.
Yeah,
you're not building
I'm not
a game.
Suggesting that. I'm just suggesting that it's not like I think gamers have been conditioned over the generations to expect these generational leaps because the architecture was changing as games were changing. And what I'm just trying to point out right now is that the games aren't changing. That hasn't changed. Like the developers, the way they're making the games they're making are very much the same. They're being built on the same architecture with the same components. That wasn't the case during the Xbox and the GameCube and the 64 and the PS2 and the Xbox 360. Those were generational leaps in tech and hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Like they went together. Right, there's different new Unreal Engine, new things that we're taking advantage of all those things. That's where we see these leaps.
That's what we haven't seen yet.
Now we're seeing marginal gains. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
But would you say that would open it up for the end of say the Series X or the PS5 generation? Like once games actually start coming out on Unreal 5, that like maybe that's what's missing is it's actually not even being bottlenecked by the hardware, but maybe the tools being used to develop the games.
I think if we're going to see any major advancements in gaming, and I'm not even talking like game design, I'm literally just talking about in raw performance, it'll be streamlined optimization for game engines.
Yep.
As they can build better tools and focus on those, that they might be able to make, minor performance boost, shave kind of, I don't want to say cut corners so as a negative thing, you know what I'm saying? Find little ways to optimize and find a little bit more. But if you think like Gotham Knights is running at 30 frames because it's on PlayStation 4 and that's why it's running at 30 frames on PlayStation 5, like that's not even remotely close to this. No, if it could run at 60 on PlayStation 5, they'd have it running at 60 on PlayStation 5. I don't think it's the PS4 that's holding back. I think it's the fact their netcode. They're trying to have like this simultaneous online.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that for a second. I do think, oddly enough, that not 4K 60, like that's the switch that's too far. I think you'll get some sort of like trade-off.
Performance mode.
Yeah,
of course.
I think you'll totally get that.
I disagree with the developer completely. If they want to cut the resolution, they can upgrade the frames.
Totally.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like we haven't been playing games on these systems for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, no.
Like this has been a thing.
People just buying that and not.
I know.
That's dumb. No. If they wanted to cut the resolution, they absolutely could up the frames.
Yeah.
Everybody can. That's how the Series S works. We all know that. This is established territory. And if you need proof of that, I can buy me the game on PC and I'll show you what happens as I cut the resolution down.
That's just it. That's the thing that I've never.
I'll show you what happens.
It's as if we don't have like a totally, not exactly the same thing, but like totally comparable.
Yeah, no. If they
use
wanted to
case
cut
for
the
these
resolution,
things.
they could boost it, but they don't. And
You can actually see it in some of the menus where it's like turn down this setting and it's like
Yeah.
all the RAM usage just like down. Just all
Yeah.
the VRAM, just like
you could just watch the frame
Watch
counter
it.
go up
mhm.
as you start to cut things
Yep,
off.
you can see the load just like down.
Yeah, that's a
Which
thing.
makes us feel like we actually know what we're talking about.
This
but
has
like
been my
developing
thing.
games is nuts.
I was saying this from when these consoles were announced. The thing that has always scared me, especially in the console space, is that developers will always side on visual fidelity. They always have. It's very much proven, unless
Right.
it's a game that's very focused on performance.
right.
Like I think of Doom, like Doom's going to be 60.
Mhm.
If they got to design the whole damn game around it being 60, it's going to be 60 because it's a 60 FPS game. Like that's the
Yep.
target. But most games are going to focus on visual fidelity, and it always has been. That's
Yep.
never changed. And the reason why is because that sells the game.
Yep.
You've never looked at a trailer and went, man, that looks like it's performing really well. You look at trailers and you go, oh, that looks
It's got to reach a
great."
minimum. It definitely has to reach, like you can
Of course,
see
you
when
don't want it to
12
look
frames.
bad.
Yeah,
Right, but-
definitely.
Exactly. But what captures people's attention is the visuals.
Yeah.
And I think when given freedom to do what they want, I don't want to say always, I don't want to be like blanket statement guy. Generally, what we see developers do is push visual effects.
Do you think that there's a tipping point that's happening right now in that with games like Plague Tale and Batman, or Gotham Knights, I should say, Batman's not in it, where like that's not okay? Like that those seem to be pushing, like that there is the trade-off. They're not giving you as many frames to try to make it look as beautiful as possible. People are like, no, not okay.
Yeah, I think what happened is we got the half-step versions last gen, and I think what happened is traditional console gamers got a taste of PC. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the word. Just the PC experience. I'll just say that.
Okay.
What they did is they got a taste of having options and choices.
Right.
And now it's almost become expected to have a performance mode because people have now learned when they were given the options that they do prefer a performance mode over
totally.
a visual mode.
Mhm.
And now when games don't come with a performance mode, now it's a problem.
I know.
Now
Look how
people are
fast
starting
that
to
became
think,
the standard.
yeah, that
It
became
wasn't
the
a
norm.
thing before the One X or the PS4 Pro. Like it just wasn't.
Correct.
And people were. Yeah, I remember people arguing like, "Do we even want that? Is that sounds like a PC gaming thing? Like I don't want options. I just want to put it in there and play." Like we really are kind of fickle.
It was
on
the
this
easy
stuff.
button. Oh, gamers are super fickle.
I mean, I just went on about how I don't want anything to do with
But
Chrome OS. So
It was the easy button of PC, right? And so PC, like you just said, I could sit there and mess with 100 settings to dial just the way I want. What console said is like, we're not going to do that. But what we will do is we'll pre-build two kind of looks at it.
Yeah.
Performance mode, quality mode.
Yep.
You choose which one works for you, but here are the two modes. I think a lot of people like that. Like, that's easy. Easy button.
totally.
one.
Yeah.
You know, I would love if more PC games did that. That'd be pretty sweet too, you know?
Mhm.
Like you're just, you know, Call of Duty does great with its presets.
I think
Not
that's what it
all-
is. It's just
Not all
like
games. Not all games do that.
low, medium, high, ultra. Like that's
Yeah.
basically all it is. It's like there's
Yeah.
double the amount of and then you can kind of see and tweak in and out of what it all is. Dude, I remember playing in like 1998 and trying to squeeze as much as I could out of my PC. We had a graphics card that was capable, but like nothing else. And so we were playing like the original Unreal with no sound because that's what we had to do to make sure it actually ran decently. It's like if you turn off the sound, you got frames, and we're like, worth it. Like
Worth it.
that's where I come from, man.
You just
Like,
make up
we're
the sound in your head.
pretty much like I've played this game a couple times. I know what that blaster sounds
Play
like.
some
Like
music,
we're
you're like, I want to listen to music anyway.
well
put on
until
your
the
CD
time where we
player.
gotta dude, like this is the thing. And I was asking, I think Lee Navarro about this a little while ago. Like we had hardware enabled sound. Like we would have like a sound blaster, and they would have like chipsets on these things, like hardware. Like
Oh,
it wasn't
yeah.
part of your motherboard.
Yeah.
Now I don't think it's as taxing, so you don't really need to do that sort of thing. But eventually, yeah, we had a graphics card and a sound card because if you put those all on the
Yeah, I
CPU, it
remember
was
that being
way too much.
Yeah.
Oh man, those are the days, dude.
The joys
Yep.
of computing.
Oh, I loved it, and
They've come
I
so
was
far.
here for it. I know.
They've come so
yeah.
far. But again, now, and we still come far. It's not. I don't mean to say that like, this gen isn't a leap. It's definitely a leap, but it's more of the same leap. You know, it's
Yeah.
just, it's it's marginal. And I think until we have some sort of generational defining tech, it's going to be more of that going forward. Just
Mhm.
smaller and smaller marginal gains as you kind of keep pushing the edge forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not very exciting though.
Well, they need something that comes along that disrupts it. And right now, if you look at what NVIDIA and AMD are doing, it doesn't look like anything new is coming. What's coming is bigger, stronger versions of what's come before it.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, we have a brand new cell that makes us do the power of this in this. Like that
Right.
hasn't arrived.
Yeah. I think that's so interesting. What I love about consoles still though, and I might be even put my foot in my mouth as I say something like this, is typically you buy this console so that you can get this experience, and like, isn't that amazing? Like you buy a PlayStation, you can play The Last of Us, and that's like the greatest thing. I miss the days of PC gaming where like there was an exclusive that you just had to play. And I don't know, maybe I'm missing something. People can shout out something where I'm like, what's a PC exclusive that takes full advantage of this 4090 that's the size of a Series S? Like, I want that.
Yeah,
I don't want to just like benchmark Crysis again.
There's definitely PC only experiences, but I don't know that it become like the standard to push something.
Right.
Yeah, the things that push my PC, Dying Light and Call of Duty, they're available everywhere, but like the Call of Duty that I'm playing is probably much better than the Call of Duty that everybody else played.
Well, and again, like
the Dying Light that I played was way better than the Dying Light everybody else played.
My comments come from, again, I was PC gaming in 1998 when, or even before that, when
back then, like
ports,
Doom,
totally built for PC.
Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Diablo was a reason to get into PC gaming.
Definitely. There was tons. And the real-time strategy revolution happened all in that time. Every game was a real-time strategy game.
Some of those things, like I feel really, Cyberpunk was damn near close to that.
That's true.
If you really wanted to play Cyberpunk, you probably really should.
That's a good call. PC. Yeah, definitely.
WoW is probably still that for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody had a comment here, but I've totally lost my damn point. The 4090, yeah. I mean, every time like a new thing comes out, you just end up benchmarking Shadow of the Tomb Raider all over again. Like, back in the 90s, like a port was a bad word. Like if you had like a console that was ported, a console game that was ported to PC, it's like, watch closely. It's probably not going to work out so well. Or even games that weren't even a port. You had Mega Man, like DOS on Mega Man was fucking brutal, absolutely terrible. And so you were looking for something that was like natively built for PC. And I don't know, this is why I actually bought a couple PC Gamer magazines, because I'm like, maybe I am missing something. Maybe there are some kind of just inherent stories in PC game that I don't listen to too many or any PC gaming podcasts, which is why I liked Nerd Overdrive by Lee Navarro back in the day so much. They are PC gamers. Yeah,
really into it. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a casual PC gamer.
I think that's what's keeping me from being at this desk more often. Like I've got an option, and the one next to my comfy couch on my TV is fine. But if there was something that I could only play on my PC, I would be here probably more often, I think.
Chase, I'll believe it when I see it, especially from Intel. I think every time anybody has it, they always say that. We'll see. We'll see.
Oh, the Intel.
I don't know about
graphics
it. May be better
card.
or worse or more efficient or less, but a generational leap, I very highly doubt that.
Yeah, Brian X says I got into PC gaming in college because of WoW. Again, like I feel like that's a similar callback to
like
I got into PC gaming because of whatever, Warcraft.
Yeah,
or StarCraft. Like,
Warcraft. Yeah, a lot of the people that I know got in for Warcraft. I feel like the generational leap that companies are pushing for is cloud. And I know a lot of people aren't willing to, like, they're not ready for that.
I think you're right.
It feels where the investment is being made. That's where they're seeing. Like,
because worlds got bigger. Like that was where we've seen the maximum. People are done with bigger worlds.
I think what you're saying, like the thing is, like with the Logitech device, right? GeForce, what I was just saying, that I can play Far Cry 5 at, whatever max settings it can deliver to me on this device at 60 frames a second. That's like the generational leap when it comes to game design and performance.
Yeah.
I think eventually what we'll start seeing developers start to build things, that can run not on a console, but on a stack of servers.
Sure. Yeah.
And then where you start talking about not just in size, and every time you get into like the cloud spaces, dude, cloud gamers are kind of cultish. If you get into like Reddit and stuff, like it's very like different. A lot of times they just go to size. It's all about player count, enemies. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm just thinking of like the amount of CPU performance that a server could give a game in the cloud for better AI, right?
Yeah.
Better resulting enemy AI and better design, better CPU processing to handle more things that are happening,
Yeah.
more systems on screen. Like that could be done in a very similar Uncharted game, but be done way better.
Yeah, I that would be so interesting, I think, to hear developers talk a little bit more about like the trade-offs that they're forced to make. Like, we would have loved to do this, but like CPU was holding us back. We'd love to do something else, but like this is a reason that we had to. Like, what are the ideas? So I guess you get into
I think you look at, if you want an example, kind of look at what Call of Duty's been doing. Like they're not cloud, but they are streaming in assets to a game.
I know that's
via the
nuts.
cloud, and they're doing it automatically, and they're turning it on, and like it's all in the background. Like, so you see people, they're starting to make kind of concessions of like, yeah, but if we can get people to accept this, then we can do this. We can take,
And
it a
that's what
step
happens every
further.
generation. Every time there's new power, it's like, oh, now we can do this, and that's where you get the
Exactly.
marketing videos. Like, we can do bigger
Power
worlds
of the
and blah, blah, blah.
cloud.
Totally, yeah, exactly. Everything's destructible.
What was that
We can
game?
have Crackdown 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's can't have it unless it's well, and that's like the Kojima thing like gets into this as well. He's making a game that isn't possible before. And I hate hearing him say things that sound like they're being like written to him by a PR intern.
Sure.
But at the same time, like if somebody's
I
gonna
don't think
figure
they're
that
being written
out,
for him. I don't think. He
I know
says
they're not.
anything.
Like they definitely sound like it.
That's
So it's
just
like
Kojima.
of all the people, maybe he's the one to actually come through on this.
That's Kojima. Yeah, it'll be
Maybe.
interesting to see what this connected horror thing idea he has comes out to be.
Tap
really
into
hope
people's like smart homes.
I still
Like,
hope
have
it's
them-
not a cloud only thing. I hope it just has like some sort of, integration. But
Dude, I hope it hacks your Wise cameras or whatever, your
it'd be
Ring
cool if
cameras.
it played with things like that. If it was
That'd be
kind of
awesome.
like,
You're playing a horror game, it rings your doorbell. Holy shit.
I was just thinking like if it just played with like your network and just had like glitch effects and stuff like if it just did cool stuff like that, it would be cool.
Sends you 50 emails all at once, just like flood your inbox. Like,
Oh,
what
that
the
would
heck
be-
is happening?
that would
Just
be
like
cool.
text messages you.
What if
and
there
all this-
was a game that had play like where you had to check your email to get a code or something to complete
Oh
the
my
puzzle or
gosh,
something?
man. That would be
I would leave it up
awesome.
to Kojima to do something like that.
Mhm. And it's
Speaking
it's
of
in this-
Kojima,
Oh,
I was going
hi.
to say this
Hi,
earlier and I
Kojima.
completely forgot. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 does kind of feel like you're playing a fucking awesome Metal Gear game.
Interesting. I haven't gotten to the
Yeah,
point.
you
but,
will.
Oh, it's funny. There's a point in it where I'm like, so I didn't realize that there were like, I guess I did realize in some parts of the southern border, the Mexican border, there is a wall for part of it.
Yeah.
They just use a ladder to climb over it. It's like, that's
That's
it.
what people do. Yeah.
They just have a
People do
ladder.
that.
Like, oh, wow. Okay.
Dig under it. Yeah. That happens.
Yeah, Not even like a little
there's some
shock or
borders.
anything.
A lot of the wall has like razor wire and stuff on top, but it's not
Yeah.
like one-to-one.
Oh my gosh.
I
I
was
watched some-
impressed with that section because it was kind of like them going there, not like as hard as
Mhm.
like Modern Warfare 2, but still being
Yep.
very current and political and on the nose, but nicely done.
Yeah.
And I love the section after it, like through the neighborhood and the houses and
Yep.
stuff. And then how it ends, it was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah. Who was it who brought us? I just saw somebody mention
That's
this, I
the
think, on
thing,
Twitter.
There was 5 or 6 different times I'm playing Call of Duty where I was actively playing it and like, this is great. This is
Mhm.
good. This is so good.
They even have like almost like because I just played Uncharted, so it's top of mind. But like you're kind of like jumping from place to place, and they know that area really well. I don't know if you know which part I'm talking about. Speaking of cloud, Netflix is rumored to be launching their own cloud. Yeah,
I've been bringing this up about the Xbox Activision thing. Everybody keeps going, "Oh, it's not competitive." It's like, dude, they're trying to beat out Netflix.
Mhm.
Like they're trying to beat Netflix to the punch.
I know. That's why. Oh, that's the other reason I bought Call of Duty on Xbox, because I imagine soon enough it will be Game Pass, and then I can play it on PC
Sure.
at that point.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just wanted it kind of alongside everything else, as if I have like all my boxes.
It's gonna be a
Next
fun
to each
blog
other?
post. The last
Which-
23 Call of Duty games are now available in Game Pass.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can. No, that's exactly because
I know.
I mean, we saw with Bethesda and several of their other ones that they're not going to like string them out or anything like that, like Nintendo would. Nope, they're just
Right.
like, here's all of them.
Mhm.
They're all here today.
Yeah. I've been on Nintendo Switch Online for 4.5 years or something. I think it said. It's like I didn't even know it was out that long. I've been paying into this thing for
Have you really? I haven't been
4
paying for it.
years.
I think whenever our term is up, I think I'll cancel mine, which is a problem because we have a family group.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about trading in Splatoon. I'm like, what do I have with this online thing? It's not much. The best thing
Yeah.
about it is that it's cheap, but I just don't use it.
Pretty much.
You know, it's just-
Honestly, the back catalog is starting to get to me at this point. Like
Okay.
I do
starting to
like
get those feels.
a little bit. Yeah, and
Nice.
like not that I ever really beat the games, but it's nice I can fire up Wave Race. Love
Hey,
Wave Race.
I'm happy that you're getting value out of it. Yeah, because like
Yeah,
for me,
that's pretty much it.
I haven't got there yet. So I would like very much to be in those shoes if they were like,
Mhm.
here's this cool 64 game you can play. Like, oh, that's neat. But I have
And
none of
people
that's
also
really
forget
appealed to
not
me
even
much.
Mario Kart. Like you don't like the bonus tracks on Mario Kart. I think is a big deal. Like it's just piled in there with
I
everything
played
else.
2 cups of those
Yeah.
and stopped.
I mean, I
playing
could live
and I've
without it.
never
Like if we're
turned
really
on my-
talking about like
I
if we
think
were
I'm
trimming down our spending.
over Mario Kart. I'm just over Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
What a hurtful thing to say.
No, I'm not over Mario. I would love a new Mario Kart. It's just like,
Sure.
if you're like, hey, we're having Mario Kart nights, I'm like, oh, not again. You know, I've been playing this game for a decade.
I know.
It's time.
I get
to
it. I can't
move
even argue
on.
with it. Like I love it, but and who doesn't love Mario Kart? But
It's
I get
a
it.
great value. They're like, here's
Mhm.
all of these courses. I was hyped when it was announced.
Yeah.
When it was announced, it was like, oh my god, that sounds amazing.
hmm
And then I started playing, and I was like, it's not amazing. It's just more Mario Kart. This is
Yeah.
the same Mario Kart we know and love for the last decade. There's just more of it.
It's just that everybody has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can fire up a Mario Kart night and everybody's got the game. So that's what I've been saying about Nintendo for years and years now. Even with Splatoon. Everybody who has a Switch bought Splatoon. So you can have a Splatoon night and everybody will show up. Like it's just everybody's so focused on whatever's coming next. It's really remarkable, honestly.
I think I'm gonna trade in Splatoon.
I bought it digitally. I like
My kids don't play. It's just me.
I think I can be swayed depending on who I talk to. But the
How are those
reality of it
Broncos
is I haven't watched a damn
Did you
game.
get your Russell
Apparently they
Wilson
suck.
jersey?
No, apparently they suck. Apparently he's
Oh
just
no.
I don't know, man. But
Let's
maybe
shoot
this is the
him.
year to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'll be in New York in a couple of weeks, so I don't know what
Oh,
I'm
the
supposed to do with
Giants
that.
calling you?
Yeah, yeah.
They're calling to you.
I feel weird about the whole
Come
thing,
back,
man.
Sean.
I feel weird, like you just pick a
I didn't-
team.
You were talking about Switch who you want to talk to. You
No,
said I can be persuaded, and it just made me think of
just like
Saints.
I was last month.
That's why I said,
Yeah.
how are those Broncos?
Because I
And
don't
the Giants
like.
a couple weeks ago, they wore their old helmets with the giant script across. I was like, those are hot. That looks so much
Mhm.
better than their old ones.
Yep. Yeah, man. I like that blue. I like the anyway. That's
Didn't like the Giants.
I don't know what to make of it yet. I'm still
Swayed. You could be swayed on Switch or Splatoon.
Splatoon.
Where were we?
Splatoon. I haven't played it, and everybody tells me the campaign is really good. I
Yeah,
haven't
it is.
played it.
But I'm kind of over it already.
Brian
is
Eck, I
good.
traded in Mario Strikers. I would have traded
that
that in
was-
as well.
yeah,
I bought
that
it
was real
digitally.
bad. Splatoon, I think, is better than Strikers.
I think so too. I don't think that there's any doubt about that.
I'm just not going to be. I think I've just more or less realized, especially because my kids aren't playing with me, we're
Yeah.
not playing together, that
Yeah.
I won't be partaking in like Splatfest, which makes me wonder, like, why keep it then? I might as well just trade it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a matter of it landed at the right time. Like, honestly, it's funny. If it was switched with Mario Rabbids, I probably would have bought Mario Rabbids day one without even thinking of asking for a code or anything
That's
like
a good
that.
point.
I would have just bought it because of when it came out. But now here we are, lots of games coming out, and Splatoon is not in my top 3 or 4 or 5 games that I want to fire up. And that's probably a crappy thing for a lot of people to hear, but that's just kind of where my heart is,
True.
you know.
I mean,
You have to do
just
salmon
be
run
honest
before you
with
trade
yourself.
it. I can't trade it. I bought it digitally. I can't.
Maybe he's talking to me.
Yeah, it's possible.
I would like to do Salmon Run, but I don't know when I'm going to. I might as well get. I'd rather have my pre-order down on Kirby, and I can just get the next Kirby game instead.
Oh, where have we gone? If that's where we're at with Nintendo, I might
I'm
try
excited
it.
for the
I
Kirby
might
game.
try it at Extra Life. There might be good little LAN party kind of thing going.
Yeah,
So
see, I think
you
if
could see that.
things like that would be more interested in Splatoon, but I don't really partake in things like that, and it's just like,
Yeah. It feels like it's setting me up to make some sort of decision for 2023 on like how I'm going to buy games, but I don't really want to flip the switch on this. I do enjoy
You don't
Buying
have
a
to make
game 'cause I like it.
proclamation. Yeah, you don't have to make a proclamation. I'm going to buy less games. Like, you don't have to
Yeah,
do that.
totally. That's exactly what I'm
You could
saying.
just
Like,
do that if you feel like it, or just not do that.
right. Well, but we're also podcasters. So, like,
No, I know. Hey, I was seeing with the Bayonetta thing. It was, I've canceled my Bayonetta pre-order. Here's a
Mhm.
picture of me canceling my Bayonetta. I was like, get over yourself.
yeah,
Like, you could
yeah,
just cancel
exactly.
it.
Well, and I've made many a proclamation before. I am not going to get this OLED Switch that is in my hands right
sold
now.
mine.
Like, I'm definitely not buying this. Definitely
Sold
not.
mine.
I love that. Dude, it's worth it even just for this kickstand. This kickstand is
Yeah,
absolutely
I just
S
sold
tier.
mine. I'm gonna play, as I said, when I sent a screenshot in Shack the other day. I have my No More Heroes Switch, which I've gone back to, Old Faithful. And what I did, Sean, is I just set up my dock here at the OLED TV, and I was like, look at that OLED Switch,
Oh,
beautiful,
snap.
beautiful thing right here.
Yeah.
So I'll be playing Bayonetta on my OLED TV via the Switch, but no longer.
How dare you?
Switch
You
OLED.
obviously you don't support. I don't even know what that's supposed to
Nintendo?
mean. God, I hate this
That's
stuff.
fine.
Oh, it's the worst.
I can't
I
wait for Bayonetta.
was playing Rabbids with the kids, and Lincoln is so sweet, man. He looks at me, he goes, "Whenever we have a daddy day, this is the game that we can play." I'm like, "Yeah, buddy." I saw PS5 today. Ooh, in store. Interesting. But Lincoln is starting to like put things together. Like, he started to learn chess. He's 5 years old. He's starting to learn chess, and I started kind
My
of
son just
explaining
joined
Rabbids.
Chess Club.
Who did?
My
Jack
son.
did? Yeah, man. Yeah,
That's
I think
so
Lincoln will
adorable.
too. That's awesome.
Mhm.
So he was into this. Like, I've shown him a bunch of games, but he was really into like helping me with Rabbids. He really felt like we were winning because he was making sure to help me out with this stuff.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it was.
Rabbids is
he's
great. I can't wait
it's
to play with anyone.
so good, and like definitely like paced in a way where you can just like, let's have a look around. Like, you help me count the enemies.
If I love
like,
this one as much as I like the last one, we're talking like game of the years. I love the last one. I would love nothing more if this was like way better.
yeah,
I don't understand what's with the Kirby hate. I love Kirby. I can't wait for the next Kirby game.
it's just
Return to
easy.
Dreamland
It's just easy.
remake.
It's
Chase
easy to
says,
hate
real
on
question,
Kirby.
Donnie, you trade in your Nintendo Switch. So I sold my OLED. I'm down to just the one Switch. Which, if you've never
Why
seen
would you do that way? Why wouldn't you stick around with the OLED?
why? I have another Switch.
Yeah, but you're gonna keep the worst one.
But I have an OLED TV. I just
So?
play Switch OLED on the TV.
I guess.
It's the same thing. Your Switch OLED's not playing the game any better or worse. It's just a better screen.
That was my. Trust me, I've spoken well to this point.
Like we're saying the same thing here. I can't get rid of my old Switch, Sean. It's customized. I have the custom Switch.
Well, there's the answer.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not getting rid of my No More Heroes Switch. Are you kidding me? That
Yeah,
thing's gorgeous.
there you go. Okay, that's fair.
Hey, let's see if I can grab it. I don't know if I can grab it without trying.
I should become a Bengals fan. There's not a chance on this planet.
Dude,
as,
nobody
like,
likes the Kentucky Bengals.
Kentucky Bengals. Yeah, there's no way. Absolutely not, as Donnie would say.
If anybody's ever never
Yeah.
seen it,
Yeah, it's nice.
I have a a dolled up dock and everything to match. So like, this is my Switch. It's never going anywhere. When they come out with the new Switch, it'll go back on the shelf where it sits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had that Splatoon Switch. I upgraded for free. Like I sold my Switch and same
Of course you
money
did.
and upgraded.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I really could use new tires on the Ventura though.
Yeah.
So I sold the Switch OLED and just went back to this, which is great.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've hooked up my dock to the OLED TV right here, so I can play Switch OLED.
Yeah, makes sense.
Same difference.
Brian X says, how's the difficulty in Sparks of Hope? I'm hearing a lot of people are having to play on hard because it's fairly easy. I agree so far. But the bosses will ramp things up for you a little bit. I think people who are saying that might not have hit a boss yet. That's what I would say to that. But also they don't do like the scoring at the end is what I found so far. Where they go like you got an A or an S or
Yeah, they stopped doing
Yeah.
that?
I'm not far into it, so it could come later, but I haven't seen it yet. And I kind of like that. It's like beat this within like 6 turns or whatever.
Yeah, I always enjoy that. Streets of Rage has that. No More Heroes has that.
Yep. It's funny because that is like in some cases I'm down for it, but Devil May Cry has it as well. And I
Yeah, of course.
didn't like it. I couldn't figure out how to
Oh,
get it
no.
S tier. Yeah, so I bounced off of it.
Hmm.
Which is probably why I'm not really into Bayonetta
It gives those games a lot of replay value if you're going for that.
I get, and it's a weird thing because like that on its own, like I'm not principally against it, against it, Donnie. I'm not against.
Do it again,
Uh,
dude. I think Bayonetta is gonna be fucking nuts.
I've never been
Like,
more
it's-
wrong about a game ever.
Like it's
ever,
not,
ever.
I told you that when you said that. I was like, dude, it's not gonna be the case. Everybody loves Bayonetta. But Bayonetta is gonna be bonkers.
Well, good for you, Donnie.
As if the
Look at
story
you, how
wasn't
smart
bonkers
you are.
enough, this one looks truly bonkers. There's multiple timelines and universes and multiple Bayonetta. Like, oh my god, please make it stop.
Who cares?
I do.
I know you. A lot of people care.
Apparently, a
I'm-
lot more people care about the voice actor than the actual game because,
Of course, you
Bayonetta's
can't just-
never sold 10 million copies.
right?
Those videos got viewed 10 million times.
Sometimes I just can't. You just want to unplug from it all. You ever get on Twitter and you're just like, what am I even doing here?
I cut my Twitter. You saw it. You
Actually, I
saw
guess, yeah, you did do that. Yeah.
I did. That's exactly what happened, Sean. I got on my Twitter, and the reason I cut my whole thing down is my Twitter just seemed really spammy. That's the best way I can put it. Like I was seeing a lot of posts or a lot of people that I honestly didn't care about and was tired of reading, and I didn't want to see. And I kept seeing a lot of retweeted things like over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And I just realized that in the years of using Twitter, in following like friends of friends of friends podcasts, to
Right.
be nice and stuff, in following, hey, retweet and follow so and so to win a stupid thing, and following game developers and executives and stuff, all of which I've
Mhm.
moved on and have left. In doing all that, my Twitter feed was just not making me feel any better, like
Yeah.
not enjoyable.
Yeah.
So I cut it down to like just the people that I care about. And then what I did is I set up some lists and I moved that stuff over to lists, which is so funny because now for the last couple of months, my Twitter use is like this. If I'm in the mood for video games, I click on my video games list and I see what people are thinking about video games. But the interesting thing is ever since I've done that, I have started to click on that list less.
Yeah.
and less.
Wow. Yeah.
Like they're just
reveal
entire
something.
days, weeks go by where I don't see any of the video games. And it's
Mhm.
been, I was close to turning Twitter off. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll just go back. Like I've been using more Reddit lately,
Yeah.
and I've thought about just using Reddit instead.
That doesn't sound better to me though. Like
But
I
the
get
difference
the
is I can't post my photos and stuff to Reddit. Right. So
right.
there's still the personal use of Twitter, and I don't want to go back to Facebook to do that.
Yeah.
So for now, this is kind of what I've come up with.
Kato says checks Twitter to see if Donnie.
I may
deleted
have.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I use bots and stuff to do that. So I may have. And if I have and that bothers you, you can let me know and I'll refollow you. The thing is, I only follow people now, like if they're actually like kind of engaging with me. It's so funny
Yeah.
that I don't even know, how did we get on this topic?
I don't even know.
But the funny thing about this, I was just saying, like, so when the G Cloud came out, I was taking a bunch of photos of the G unit and sharing it on Twitter. I lost like 10 followers, which happens every time I get excited about something. If I'm tweeting about F1, if I'm tweeting about Logitech, if I'm tweeting about Nintendo or X, it doesn't matter. Anytime I tweet more than like once an hour, people check out.
I know.
And it doesn't bother me at all. I'm not at all bothered by it. I only notice it because I usually look at my profile to copy my photos back and forth to Discord.
Yeah.
The thing is that I really kind of wish I could ask them why they were following me to begin with. Like I'm
Yeah.
so
What were you
confused.
expecting exactly?
Like why were you here? Like if this makes you turn me off, what brought you here? I don't get it. I'm so
Mhm.
confused.
I'm gonna go through and I'm just gonna give you some engagement juice here. I'm just gonna go through the last couple of tweets because I love it. Like I'm here. It's eat the hype.
That's
it's
it.
It's eat.
So we were laughing about it in Discord because I was like, "What are they doing? Like, why are they here?"
Yeah, I'm
who
liking
cares?
all of these things. Super
Oh,
Mario All Stars, a
thank
picture
you.
of
You don't
that.
have to do that.
Like it. No, I'm doing it because I actually
But-
genuinely like it.
So the thing about the reason I was taking a lot of photos of the G Cloud was I was kind of like, I got the sense. Obviously, there are people that don't like it and don't want to like it, and
Mhm.
they're out there. But there were a lot of people that were responding to me. They're like, "I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could do this. You
Yes!
can play the and I was like, "This is why
Mhm.
we share. Like, this is
Yeah.
why I'm taking photos. Like,
Right.
I'm not showing off this thing that I bought. That's not it at all. I'm like, hey, did you know you can play The Last of Us Remastered on this device? Did you know you can play Halo and Gears
Right.
of War on this thing?
Doesn't that sound awesome? Like,
There you go.
isn't that exactly what you want? Like, this is why I think this is why you and I get along so well. Is there was always a kid at the playground who came to us with something like that. It wasn't always the same kid, but like every other day, it's like, did you know about this? Like, there's something amazing I discovered, and
Exactly.
isn't that cool? And you
Yeah.
wouldn't go to them and go, we don't want to hear about that.
same-
That's not X, Y, or Z. Like, you get to that in high school and garbage stuff like that.
When
On
I
the
posted
playground,
screenshots
elementary,
of Call of Duty, it wasn't
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to spoil. I'm like, look how cool this is.
yeah,
You should play Call of Duty, maybe.
I know.
You know?
It's really just a sad statement of gaming overall in the community, of just like how everybody's just grouchy, you know,
Kinda, yeah.
just
kinda.
grouchy. That's all it is.
It is it is like a just kind of a discontent group. You know, everybody just seems to be a little on edge, a little upset.
I continue to be reminded of Lincoln when he was a couple years old. He was playing Animal Crossing. He shook a tree
Even
and thought that
Haley's
was the
sister.
greatest thing ever. It's bizarre
This
that
is
he
the
was
thing.
falling. Yeah,
We bring it up in Discord. Like I think now it's become like an event. Whenever I post like 10 things in a row, I'm like, watch. Like,
you should
just watch
see.
it.
Because it used to be the exact opposite. By the way, I remember like when I kind of first started getting into like writing about video games and stuff, like back in the We the Nerdy days, E3 would happen and I would like kind of live or react to it, and I would just tweet all day,
Yeah.
like, I can't believe this, blah blah blah, and it would be this flood of stuff, and I would never have more growth on Twitter than that day.
Wow.
It would be like people, dude, this is like a different. When we're talking 7-8 years ago, it's a different era completely.
Sure.
But that's how it worked. I remembered very specifically. There was probably 2-3 years in a row. E3 time was me just going nuts with all the press conferences and stuff, and that's when people would discover each other, is because everybody was talking about this
I
stuff.
generally think people just get tired of seeing me on their timeline. I think they're just seeing a bit too much.
Maybe.
Of me a little too
Maybe.
frequently.
Yeah, I think you and I talked about this maybe last time. Like when people only retweet, it's like
Yeah.
I don't want any of that.
Well, Garrett told me you can turn off retweets for
That's what I
accounts. So
gotta
when you
do.
see people just retweet, you can turn that off and hide them.
Yeah.
That was a revelation for me. I was like,
Yeah, that's a
where's
big
this
one.
been my whole life.
Hmm. Yeah, I
So-
feel like I never see your stuff. That's the other thing, Kato, is I don't like the way that the algorithm kind of populates my feed. Like there's some people who I haven't like liked a tweet in a little while, and it's like, obviously you don't like this person. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I just haven't seen it, so stop suppressing it. Cord would say that to me back when we were first getting to know each other. He's like, you would never see my stuff, and maybe Cord, I just didn't like it. Maybe that's part of it.
I mean, I always sort my feed to the latest tweets instead of their recommended.
That's what I do, but even still,
They reset it a bunch, don't they? I have to do that like
Yeah.
almost every other week or so.
yeah. Oh,
But I mean, it helps
Hmm.
when I cut down my following. Right, I'm only
Yeah.
following like 190 people now,
yeah.
so I feel less connected and less informed than I used to be. But I am okay with that. I feel good about that because
Yeah.
I know that I can just click on Eurogamer or Gamatsu or go to Reddit and I can get caught up to speed. Like,
Mhm.
So for me, it's kind of changed how I prepare for the podcast because I used to always do everything through Twitter. And
Right.
now I'm no longer really using Twitter for that. Now I
Right.
move that on. I go to other places for that type of stuff.
I don't think I ever really used Twitter for that. But then
I would like certain articles for the podcast, and then I would go to my likes and pull them like a week later and kind of see what I'm doing, or I would retweet a few things, and I would kind of use my feed as almost like a bookmark of things that have happened.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess
I'm not
on
doing
that
that as
angle.
much anymore.
Yeah.
Or at all anymore, really.
How do you decide like what to especially with such a eclectic group? Like you guys all have very different tastes. Like,
yeah.
How do you choose what you're
That's
gonna
a good question. How do you do it?
I think Ryan and I Ryan does most of it. For the Xbox Tribe, it's like 98%.
Xbox. So
I think so.
That kind of writes itself in some.
We definitely have some guidelines as far as like we don't really do rumors. That kind of like
That
takes a lot of it
bothers
out.
me.
I
'Cause
know.
You guys say that a lot, but you do talk rumors often. So what there was a podcast not too long ago that I was going to bring it up, and I just got busy and I forgot.
We allow ourselves to do it, and like we don't normally do this, but here it
'cause-
is.
No, there was a podcast where like the top of the show, You were like, we don't talk rumors, so we're not get into it. And then at the end of the show, a listener question asked you a question about rumors, and you did like 10 minutes on it.
Yeah.
It's like, but you do. So you do, but you don't. But I get it. You don't focus on it. Like,
No.
it's not a thing for you. Whereas I will actually, we actively talk about them.
Yeah.
I think they're fun stories.
Well,
They're
and
fun
that gets back to the
conversations,
point we
fun
talked about before. Like, it's not 100% rule. Like, I think that
Oh, of course.
that's
I know
like
what you guys
anything.
meant.
But it used to be like absolutely not. Even if a question came in, like definitely not. And I think we've softened on it a little bit, but we really try to, where it comes from is we try to like base our conversations on things that are like actually happening. I actually had
Sure.
I talked with Babbitt about this on the Console War Room last week, where we talked about everything except for actual video games. And by the end of the conversation, I was just like, I kind of just want to talk about games.
Yeah.
Like I don't, that's not enjoyable to me. And I have a bit of a threshold for it that after a certain point, I'm just like, I'm kind of done, you know, like talking about whatever the heck we were even talking about. So kind of just want to get into like the actual video game. And I don't even think like, I think it's different here. I don't think that you and I sit down and go like, what's the hot topic for today? And let's make sure that we have a conversation about that. Like, I don't think that's what we do at all. No. But I get a little sensitive to it when I sense either my podcast doing that or when I hear other podcasts doing like, we better talk about this because it's what everybody's talking about. Like, how lame is that, dude? Like, make a decision for yourself.
For us, I always go to Eurogamer, Gematsu, and PC Gamer. Those are the sources I go to.
I heard you say that the other day, and I was so happy to hear that.
I've loved PC Gamer for years.
I feel like you mentioned it in relation to a story that wasn't quite up to its reputation or something.
No More Heroes. They wrote about No More Heroes, and it was
right.
Shit.
Yeah, which is too bad because I think the same thing. PC Gamer is like the last like place.
Yeah, they're good. They're usually good, but whoever that was just phoned it in on that one.
Yeah,
that was a content filler type of a post.
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there. So I go to those three places, and I usually just grab a handful of whatever's buzzing around. Just like I try to find things that are generally things that I think are either interesting to talk about or appealing to Dev and Delvin.
Right.
So a lot of times, I almost like try to work in some PlayStation talk just to make sure it's there.
Sure.
And then because we have Nintendo Shack and so many like more people listen to Nintendo Shack than any of our podcasts, I generally refrain from the Nintendo Shack.
I'm glad you brought that up. Stop it.
Why?
I don't listen to Nintendo Shack as much as I used to.
Oh no. Don't let them hear that. So what I typically do is when there's big Nintendo news,
I want to hear you talk about Nintendo news. I love hearing you talk about Nintendo news.
When there's big Nintendo news, we'll do
Ryan, edit that part out. I want to re-answer the question. You're not the Nintendo Shack, and you're gonna have. This is the real reason why you need to talk about it. You're not the same show, and you're gonna have because you're gonna have a completely different take on the same topic, and that's rare. Most people will just have the same topic on the same tape on the same topics all the time. I want to hear Donnie's Nintendo takes. Right, I heard that. Okay. I'm totally leaving that in.
Well, you could always.
I wouldn't assume you do that.
You could always write a question and let us know if there's something you want us to specifically talk
Fair enough. Okay, that's fair. I am the worst audience community member ever.
But what I usually
I never know what questions to ask.
What I usually do is if they have a direct, instead of going through the whole direct, that's really what the Shack is for. What I will do is here's our standout one or two things that we thought, and now and plug the Nintendo Shack. Let people go listen to those. Hey, we have
it's a good plug.
Focus thing. They're gonna talk about all 60 of these games, and I don't care about 40 of these RPGs. So we're not going to do that here.
That's fair. That's
fair. I'm going to be like, hey, I love Kirby, and I thought Fire Emblem looked fucking dope. And go listen to them talk about Getsu Fuma.
That makes sense.
Psycho, Tell Your Ryzen 18 or whatever.
That totally makes sense. I think sometimes you cut yourself short a little bit thinking there's another show here, or even on this show. You'll be like, I talked about it on Sweet Hanks, and you have a much larger audience on PSVG than this. There's wonderful people here watching us stream it, but it's a Patreon exclusive otherwise.
Right.
Yeah. I can't wait. If we got to stay friends long enough to see Donnie make the turn into RPGs one of these days. It might be here for a couple decades, but that would be amazing.
maybe Valhalla. Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah.
Valhalla.
Oh, there you go. See,
God, I
there's
love
there's
that
the,
game,
the
Sean.
door is cracked open
Did you
just
hear
a
that I
little
beat
bit.
it? I
I
beat
I don't even
Assassin's
believe
Creed
I don't even
Valhalla.
believe there is a beating
There
of that
is.
game.
You
That
can
doesn't make
end it.
sense to me.
There's an end. Credits and everything. I beat
That
Valhalla
is
and all
amazing.
the DLC that I had for it. I couldn't believe it myself.
I've been in awe of you and that game for however long you've been talking about it, and that's where I am with Forza Horizon now, where I just don't even. I have no
Yes.
goal. I have no nothing. I just like
enjoying playing.
I just play
it's
it,
just
and
good.
dude, it's
I
sublime.
love that. Yes,
It's
just play the
so
game because you
good.
like it.
Like
need
it
a
actually
reason.
makes me like emotional about it. It's like, oh, where has this been for so long? And
Forza is very good. How's the anniversary update? I haven't got into
it's
it. Is it good?
excellent, and
Is
it's
it?
yeah, it's well, I
Is there
think it is.
content?
Yeah, there's
Is
a
there
and
more
then-
boards and stuff to do?
no, I've got, but I
Oh.
got all the boards. Fine, I think you did this like forever ago. I finally got all the boards.
When the DLC
Um,
came out, I had all the boards that day.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah,
You
when
know
they had,
what's
like,
funny?
The volcano, the expansion.
Yeah.
I did all the boards in the expansion like I don't know, 4 hours after it was out. I was like,
As
"Done!"
much as I'm enjoying Forza, the Hot Wheels, I gotta say, it feels like work to go into Hot Wheels land. I don't want to do it.
I'm not it's not my
I-
favorite. It's not that I
no.
don't like it. It's fun, but it's not my favorite. I like the different structure that they did this time,
Yep.
where they do kind of make you earn it a little bit more.
Mhm,
That's
mhm.
kind of cool. You know my feelings about this. I feel like Fortnite, that like every like they're kind of like how they do the seasons.
Mhm.
Every so often the seasons change.
Yep.
I think they should do that, but for all the speed traps, the ramps, and the boards.
Agreed.
Every so often, the entire map resets,
Yep.
and you just do it again.
Yeah, because that thing, if I keep plugging away, eventually I'll be completed the Hot Wheels thing. Like that will be a thing.
Wow. Nice.
Where I'm at with Horizon, with the main game, is I am completing every single thing per season, which does change every 7 days.
Nice.
Absolutely every point that you can possibly get on these series, like I'm doing it, man.
What I
There's
really want is an open world driving game that just lets me smash into boards. That's what I've learned. I just love getting the boards and the jumps.
Oh my gosh.
High
Yeah,
jumps
well,
and the speed traps. God,
yeah.
I'm addicted to that stuff.
Mhm. And that's
But
just
what-
it. Like that could be like your experience with it. That could be one person's entire experience with it. It's just that. And there's enough.
So good.
Yeah, it's
So good.
but because I've fallen into this with Forza, like the last time I think that I was like this with the game was probably Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Where I think that game was-
one day.
And I think it's mostly just about I don't think that you liked Cassandra. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where you and I
I honestly
align.
don't know if I do or not. I never
Yeah.
spent that much time with her to be kind of enamored. I
Yeah.
will say I don't like the way she talks.
Oh, really? Like, oh.
I think it just kind of didn't jive with me, and I think that might be a thing.
Yeah,
I don't
that'd be a
know how
sticking point.
Alexios talks. Maybe it's just the
Mm.
accent. I don't know. But
I love it.
I wanted to switch to see if it would improve it. But
I think he's
never really
lame. I think he's a
I
wet
don't
rag,
dislike
man.
Cassandra. I've never really given her. I never played an Odyssey more than 4 or 5 hours.
I think she's spicy. I think she's awesome, man.
Most people do. I'm not saying you're wrong.
There is
I
literally
don't
a
follow
character in us. This is what made it for me. I'm like, this is the best game ever made.
Yes,
You run
Haley
it's a
says he talks
side.
the same way.
He talks the same. Well, I mean the accent, but like,
And I wonder the upgrade. And I was talking to Haley about this, and she's here. The gear grind that you used to do in Odyssey and Origins is different from Valhalla.
yep,
And I'm wondering how much that, because I never really played Origins either. It literally
Mhm.
wasn't until Valhalla.
yep.
And I played a little Origins and I got out. And I played a little of Odyssey and I got out. And then I
Oh,
played a little of
both those
Valhalla
games.
and I completely stayed. And
Yeah,
I'm wondering if maybe those changes to the gear and the RPG and the menus and stuff, if that might, if I unconsciously that was fitting, if I understood that more and stuck around more.
that would do it. Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm wondering.
just
I honestly
clicks.
don't even remember Odyssey and Origins outside of I remember it being more of a focus. Where in Valhalla, I literally paid, I don't know, $10, $20 for an awesome armor set that I thought looked cool, and I never messed with it again.
Right.
I played the entire game the same way.
Mhm.
I upgraded it. I put the stupid runes in and all that, but I never really paid any attention to it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like Origins was different. Like you had to change your gear often. Like you kept getting better and more gear, and you were
There's no doubt.
constantly.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think
Yeah.
that might be a big part of the reason why I never played those games longer than I did.
That's
think
so funny.
maybe.
Like the precise thing that put you one way is the reason I loved it so much.
There you go.
Totally grappled me in. And also I was saying this to Ryan once upon a time on the Xbox Drive, that the location actually mattered big time to me. I thought Egypt was awesome. Like, I had never
I
cared
thought
even
Greece
a
was
little bit.
Beautiful.
Greece was, and that's where I was going to go next. Is like
Odyssey
Greece was like
gorgeous.
totally. And I don't know that I get enough of cold weather place now,
sure.
like in my
I
day to
can
day.
do
Like
that.
I don't really
I
look
wanted
at.
to be, I wanted to like do Troy. I wanted to be,
Oh yeah, yeah.
a Trojan warrior and stuff like that. So like
Mhm.
I'm still interested in the setting, but I think maybe those things bounce me off, and I don't know. I want to
I
give them
almost want to
another
replay
try.
it. Yeah, I almost want to replay Odyssey or Origins because
Good together.
I should try Valhalla. I still have it. Like I could even like start it. I don't think at this point I could ever just pick it up where I last was. I think as I'm a good probably 20 hours into it, or 20, maybe 30. I don't know. But I'm not at the very beginning. But I just kind of like fell off.
I wouldn't start over. I mean, you can get your
I don't know.
bearings. It's Assassin's Creed. You know how to play it. So that's actually one of the things I love most about Assassin's Creed. I mean, you've listened to my podcast. I've been playing this game for 2 years. It took incredibly long breaks in between DLCs and stuff like that. But the great thing about it, I can just pick up my controller and just keep playing because I know exactly how to swing my sword and how to shoot my arrow, and like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I've learned in the past that sometimes it's in my best interest to start over. I've never played an AC game. What's a good one to start with? I mean, this is a great conversation to tack that onto.
Great question.
Like,
this is just this is a really good question.
Because how did you play the original ones, like back in the day, like Black Flag or 1 and 2 and all that kind of stuff?
The last Assassin's Creed I rolled credits on was 3.
Interesting.
I beat Assassin's Creed 3 on
like
Wii
recently,
U, Sean. On Wii U, I beat Assassin's Creed 3.
Okay. And you don't even get like a trophy or an achievement for it.
I don't care about those things anyway.
What? Oh my god!
I'd rather have the statue, Connor statue that I have over in my thing. That's better.
That is cool.
Any digital trophy.
That's the other side of, just to quickly go back to Forza Horizon. Like, I'm back chasing achievements again because I love this game so much. I just want to get like everything.
That's nice.
I just like that's where I'm at.
That's never hooked me into a game, I don't think.
I just feel like it's so like,
but
maybe part of it is an addiction.
People do
or obsession.
I get it. Why people do, and it's people enjoy checking things off
big time.
But yeah, you know me. That's never been a thing for me.
Like I've said before, Assassin's Creed Odyssey was the best. My favorite game of the last generation, the Xbox One, PS4 generation. I think it's my favorite game, the whole generation.
Okay. Before I would say
start with that.
Because I honestly don't even know if I have a good answer for you, Brian. But before I even try to answer, I'll tell you this. This is a really good question and a tough question because I want to tell you to play an older one. But it's hard to recommend knowing the amount of modern conveniences the new games have. And the new games are so drastically different than the old games. I mean, that's just, this franchise has evolved so far from its humble beginnings. Whereas before, it was very much an adventure, uncharted, single-player, linear type of thing. And now it is a gigantic RPG, epic open world quest, like of truly of epic proportions. Valhalla
I actually think
is massive.
To that
and
point,
you fight gods and shit. Like, it's so much bigger than that.
That to the earlier conversation about like what have we done with like generational leaps in power and stuff, like look at Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah,
they did it. They just
but we had games like that back then. They just weren't then. Like, we had Skyrim. Assassin's Creed just wasn't Skyrim. Now Assassin's Creed is Skyrim. Like,
and then some.
We're gonna make Skyrims now, and that's what they do. They make Skyrims that come out every 3 years. I still think for somebody that's never played an Assassin's Creed game ever, maybe one of the older ones is a good place to start. Just
2 or Black Flag of the old ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say Black Flag. Didn't they remaster the Ezio trilogy? So you've got those you
Yeah,
could try,
yeah.
but the remasters weren't really good, but you could still try there. Black Flag is probably a good try, like a good starting point for a lot of people.
Mhm.
I think 3's too old, Rogue's too old, and they did remaster 3. It's probably still too old.
What I worry about, and that's why this
Maybe-
is a really good
Here's the
question.
thing. My answer is kind of going to cheat. The answer might be the next one.
No, that's not a good answer.
You don't think so?
No, how are they supposed to like don't play anything that's available right now?
No, because the next one's
And just
coming
wait?
out in what, like 3 months? It's like March,
What? It is?
isn't it? Yeah. What's it called, Haley? I don't even remember the name. I pre-ordered. I don't even remember what it was.
Next Assassin's
It's,
Creed
Mirage.
taking place. Let's see.
Fred.
It starts in oh snap! It all starts in 2023 with Assassin's Creed Mirage taking place in 9th century Baghdad. That would
Yeah.
be nuts, actually.
So we don't have a date yet. Oh, that's right. The rumored date was it might be in the spring. It might be in the fall. But the reason that I think the next one might be it is you're going to have the modern conveniences of Assassin's Creed, but this is supposed to be a more linear, smaller game. I think they said it was going to be 15, 20 hours. So the answer to the question, and I don't know this to be the case, the game might suck, but it might be the next one. To start, to like just try something without you taking on a 200-hour type of commitment that Odyssey or Valhalla is. And you don't have to play those games for that long.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you definitely don't.
You can
like,
beat those games in 60, 70-ish hours.
Yep.
That's still a lot of game for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
70
no doubt.
hours is not a small game.
Dude, this game,
You know.
I didn't realize this. Assassin's Creed Mirage is Prince of Persia.
Yeah. You didn't watch the Ubisoft Next thing?
Nope.
Oh, it just came out. It was a couple
I think
months
I was
ago?
I think I was traveling
September.
when it
I
all
think it was in
happened.
September. There was a Ubisoft Next event where it's Basim from Valhalla. It's his game, and we're going back to Baghdad, and it is very much like kind of a return to roots for
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed. It's kind of back in the same area. It's going to have that more structure. It's supposed to be. I think they said they think players will beat it in 15 to 20 hours. So it's going to be a shorter type of experience.
See, I just want to imagine they have. I just want to imagine somebody has like all the time in the world, and you play all three: Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla. Just
right after the other.
Holy crap,
That is a
man!
generational worth of game content.
I know,
You could just
honestly,
buy a PS4 and just play that for 6 years.
I recommend
Assassin's
it.
Creed.
I recommend. I think Origins is excellent. I think Odyssey is just absolutely ridiculous. My hiccup with Valhalla is the character. I don't like Ivor, or at least female
Did you try
Ivor. I gotta.
honestly,
This is
I
why I
played-
want to change over. This is why I actually want to.
Played
Go to the
as
beginning.
male Eivor and loved it.
Yeah, that's what I think. That's the thing. I just
And I
didn't
have
really
no
connect.
issues with anybody playing as a female character.
Syndicate was good. Syndicate was in
That's a
England,
good
right?
answer. It's a good
Syndicate was
answer.
really good. Yep.
Yeah. And that one's still really good on PC. I booted it up on PC a couple months ago. I
Mhm.
might replay that one soon. On PC, it's really nice. It never got like any sort of glow up on consoles. So
That I'm trying to think if that was on Game Pass. It was at one point, anyways. I think I played it on Game Pass. Syndicate is very good. Yeah.
yeah. No,
I mean,
that's a
they're
lot
like,
of fun.
this is the thing. It gets back to some of the other stuff we're talking about with Call of Duty. Like, it became annualized, so it became cool to hate. But like, more often than not, I think Assassin's Creed is very
Dude, I
good.
stopped listening to Jez because he fucking went on a tirade about Assassin's Creed one day. And I was like, well, this is where I turn this off.
Like, why? Like, why do we do that? Ryan Turfer says Syndicate was the one that got me into Assassin's Creed. I love the two heroes feeling different gameplay wise. It
Yeah.
actually reminds me of,
That's a good
in
one.
a strange way, of Dishonored 2.
Yeah, no, Syndicate is very much like Dishonor. Yeah. There's a lot of vibes there.
Definitely. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, good call. Syndicate for sure.
I forgot about that one. It's a good call.
That would, yeah. I don't know if the thing is why I hesitate to recommend anything prior to Origins is if you ever like it was a jump. Like Origins feels totally different.
They are, it's not a jump. They are totally different.
Like you're
Just
like even
Across
just
the
the
board.
buttons you hit to attack,
Production wise and everything.
totally
That's the one,
different.
The reason I love Valhalla so much is I don't think I've ever enjoyed like fighting as much. like the
Yeah.
combat and stuff. I just really dig it involved. It's a lot of fun. You get a lot of powers. I'm
Mhm.
chucking axes and sicking
Yeah.
wolves on people, and I'm not doing any of this stupid like, dancy little hidden blade, like gotcha,
Right.
stuff. I literally grab a dude and headbutt him in the face, and then turn and kick another dude in the neck. I'm like, yes, now we're talking. Kick some ass. Like,
See, what if I
Valhalla's
got this
so
on Ubisoft? I gotta get Ubisoft Connect up in here. I gotta
if you're gonna play one of
maybe
the
I'll
new
push
ones,
this
like
on PC.
Sean, I'm gonna go. I mean, Valhalla is one of my favorite games of all time. That would be the one I would recommend.
How's
But I didn't play
that?
the
How's
other
that for a definitive answer? Which
Yeah,
game
right?
should I play? Here's 6.
one. All 8 of these. All 8 of these games ranging from 2011 to 2022.
Yeah, that's our recommendation.
I love Assassin's Creed.
Write
Just
it
like
down.
like to your point, I love Assassin's Creed in the way that I love Call of Duty is that they're dependable. Most of the time, you know what you're getting, and you can expect a really good game. And I don't
Mhm.
always get that. And they're there. Like they come out often. They're there for you. I love us. My favorite thing about Ubisoft is they are always there for gamers. Every time a new console launches, Ubisoft has games there for you. They're like, we're going to be there. We're going to be there on the shelf when you buy your new console. They're somewhat dependable that you're going to get one every couple of years. It's not going to be like one of these. I do get tired sometimes of as often we see with devs. They're like, here's this awesome game you play. You're like, great. When do I get to play it? And they're like 7 years from now. It's just that's the thing that I really love about Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed is that you can look forward to them without worrying if you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah,
on
that's a
them
good
for so long.
point.
And in the NFL or like in at least American sports, I think it's definitely applicable sports wide, but it's something that I've always heard being into sports is they always say that the best ability is availability, like being there, and it's just like I don't think Call of Duty
That's
or
really
Assassin's
good.
Creed or Madden or any of these games, these franchises that people like to throw stones at get enough credit, not only for being there, but being as good as they are.
I completely agree.
That's
That's
like
why
by the time Arcane releases the next game, or 343 releases the next game, or Naughty Dog releases the next game, we're gonna have 7 Assassin's Creeds that have come out. It's just it's a marvel. It's very impressive.
I'm looking up on my PC here, and it looks like I actually have Origins and Odyssey owned somehow. I must have got them like for free or something at some point. I don't remember
Yeah, now
buying
you're
them.
talking.
But I have those. It looks like Valhalla still is full price. I don't know if I would double dip on it because I already have it on.
Brian did respond
on
that he gets he's a little intimidated by the massive open world one. So then, I would push you to go back. Maybe
Syndicate.
Start with the Ezio trilogy. Maybe I think it's a really good place to start. They have been remastered. They're not like super, modern 4K, all that, but it's still a modern take on like the classic Assassin's Creed formula and one of its best characters. Everybody loves Ezio.
I guess I wasn't ever too. I went back afterwards though. I played
Speaking of
one way back in the day.
Speaking of not talking about rumors, the rumors surrounding Assassin's Creed Mirage. You know how they release like these remasters and part of the Gold Pass and all that?
Oh yeah,
there might be an Assassin's Creed 1 remake coming with it.
Yes.
Oh my god, that sounds so good.
How old are we that we can actually look back to like the first Assassin's Creed and go like, I actually like enough time has passed that it's even possible and that we would be excited about it.
Assassin's Creed remake.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'd be so excited.
I remember like seeing big Assassin's Creed posters outside of like E3 and stuff. And I'm like, I guess Assassin's Creed is that big. And it is. It's like it's a pillar of gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's up there.
That's why if somebody was to buy Ubisoft, that would be very like in completely different ways because it's not $70 billion and all that. Excuse me, my dogs are just destroying my house.
Hi, dogs.
But it would be very similar to how gamers would react to that news. Because
that's exactly where my mind was going.
Control of Assassin's Creed would mean a lot to people in the same way that Call of Duty does.
Well, and it's in this like lull period, so it's actually out of sight, out of mind a little bit right now.
Yeah, I
So like
think-
there
I
is
think
so much
Ubisoft's-
potential.
Ubisoft's
in there?
ripe for acquisition too. Like that might be the one that really hurts people. too.
Well, the three that I mean, there's many other games that came around, but like Origins, Odyssey, and then there's a whole bunch of other games that like the Far Cry's really started to hit it, and
Mhm.
Division was really good, and like Ubisoft last generation was bonkers, and it's because they were fighting off Vivendi, and it was
Yeah.
like some of the best games ever. Like we were getting codes from Ubisoft, and I couldn't wait because they were all amazing.
I feel the same way that you do about those, and I agree with you. To be clear, you're right. But I felt the same way before then too. I realized that those games you mentioned are really good.
Mm-hmm.
But back in like 2013, I thought the games they were releasing then were also really
I mean,
good.
Far Cry 3, I feel like changed the
Right.
game. Like
I
people
thought,
looked at
I
that.
thought Assassin's Creed 3 was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody
definitely.
loved Black Flag. I don't like Black Flag as much, but everybody
Mhm.
Black Flag people adored that game when it came out. That
Yep.
was huge. Black Flag was everywhere.
Well, and they were annualizing Assassin's Creed. Like to my point, I didn't realize it was that big back then, but it clearly was. And they just kept getting bigger and bigger. And they like somehow managed to make so many of these games that now it's a bad thing if you make a game even remotely like it. It's like, it's a
Yeah, it's
Ubisoft
true.
thing. God,
That's
that
true.
sucks.
They really did kind of coin or do best like the map game. Like
Right.
they've really nailed down map games, which I love.
Yep. I know a
Those
lot of
are-
people
that is
do,
my thing.
obviously.
Those are my favorite thing. I hate when I see, but speaking of the Jez coming, I hate when I see reviewers take shots at, oh, it's another map game. It's like, great.
Yeah.
Give me 8 more
That's
of them.
the
These
this
are
is why-
fantastic.
This is why I want Court to do sports games for Carpool Gaming. I want more of those. This is Coach Mo, like 1,000%. Like you need people like who really appreciate those games for what they are to have a voice and to share their excitement about them, because otherwise you get everybody talking about the same old, and it creates a narrative that totally denounces games that are super fun and that literally millions of people enjoy
That is
playing.
the Far Cry story. We see it.
It
Every
sucks,
Far Cry
man.
sells so much,
Mhm.
and all it does is have a giant like anchor of gaming press
The
destroying it.
worst. The
Even though it
worst.
sells like 15 million copies,
Don't even-
every one of them.
How out of touch can you be? Like that's really, I feel like what that is.
It's
Maybe
like
you're just a little out of touch.
you always say, it's a term that every time I think of this term, I think about you, but you always tell me, you've said in the past, like people are kind of up their own ass a little too much.
Yeah, I think it's actually
That-
Colin Moriarty thing, but yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of like the Far Cry. It's like they go so far out of their way
Mhm.
to make some sort of grandiose, political statement on the,
Oh,
the effect
totally.
of games, but they use that game for it. That is the poster child, and completely dismiss that there are 15 million people that buy and love that game and play it
Mhm.
a lot, even.
Yeah.
Play it a ton.
I think it might be happening. I haven't seen it yet, but I think that might be happening with Black Adam right now.
Ooh,
Just
really?
this disconnect with the audience scores and critic scores. Like audiences are loving it apparently,
I don't follow the movies,
but
sure.
yeah, I mean that's a whole other topic of conversation. I think of
I don't know what Far Cry,
How much-
why Far Cry. I mean, I do know why, because it deals with some sort of sense of modern reality. So people, like strikes a chord with people.
whatever, man.
That's how, you know how I've been saying that for years,
Mhm.
but I love the open world map game. I want it.
Yeah.
That's why I love Breath of the Wild so much.
Yeah.
That is what Breath of the Wild is. Like I'm all about open world map games. Give me as many of them as you want. And
Mhm.
I get a little concerned when I see that narrative, like that picks up steam and starts to snowball.
Yeah.
Of everybody being like, oh, we're tired of this. We don't do this anymore. Because I don't think people realize that like the weight that has, because there are
I agree.
developers, there are executives at developers and publishers who see that and go,
Yep.
we got to change everything we're doing because
Totally.
people don't want to like it. It's like, do
Mhm.
people not like it, or do those 13 people not like it?
Totally.
You know,
Mhm.
that's the thing that I always feel very safe about with Assassin's Creed is Valhalla and Far Cry still sell very well.
Sure.
And I think
Yeah.
as long as they keep selling very well, Ubisoft will be averse to changing it too much.
Mhm. I can't, dude. I'm so glad that this is my big takeaway today. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Although who the heck knows about release dates? 2023. This could mean anything.
Yeah, before it came out, it was kind of rumored, like Jason and Jeff and everybody were kind of talking around it. And at the time, people were floating around like a first half of the year kind of spring thing. I don't think it's coming. I feel if it's coming out that soon, we'd know about it by now, but who knows with Ubisoft. But
It could be
typically,
leaked like way more any day now. Could be on
Sure.
a laptop on a train or something.
typically Ubisoft does like to have a fall game. So if that's their like game for the fall, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm trying to think. I feel like February like rings a bell. Like wasn't they may have delayed it out of there, but Far Cry 6 I feel like was supposed to be like a holiday or fall game and it got
Yeah.
delayed into like February or March or something like that. Like they
Mhm.
do have a history of some late
They've got other
winter
games coming too. They've got that the Division Heartland, the free to play thing.
free to play.
They've
Yeah.
got Skull and Bones, which I think will be in
Yeah.
that spring window.
Dude, that I just did a thing. I have no real take on Skull and Bones, but what you said the word and I had a reaction. That was me like parroting the narrative.
Because that's how I feel about Skull and Bones. I give a shit about Skull and Bones.
I don't know enough to know.
I do. I saw gameplay of it and I was like, nope, don't want to play that. But that's me, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't. I just caught myself doing it, so I guess it's pretty easy to do.
There's
Because
a lot of
I don't have
gameplay
a
out there.
strong feeling
I
one
watched
way or
people
another.
play it. It was so funny that it got delayed again because in the Ubisoft Next event that they had, the marketing for it was like 30 people that were playing it. They were like, I can't believe we've been working with Ubisoft. It's so ready. We can't wait for you to play it next month. And like 2 weeks later, they're like, delayed until March. It's just like, why?
It's so funny. I was just watching Scream. I think I was telling you before. It's like you don't say like I'll be right back. You don't say it's coming out. And he's like you're a goner, man. Are you kidding me? You know, Jinx is like saying Scully's gonna get a shutout, a shutout.
So yeah,
You don't say that, man.
yeah. So Division Heartland, Assassin's Creed, Skull and Bones. You
Yeah,
might like Skull and Bones. I think people that got into Sea of Thieves will like it a lot. I think
I'm not into Sea
I
of
get
Thieves,
these
so
weird RTS vibes from it.
Yeah.
So I think people might get that. I'm just not interested in ship combat. Like they literally lose me at ship combat. It's why I don't like Black Flag. So I
Yeah.
feel no ill will at judging a book by its cover because that cover is not a book for me. Like it's just in the wrong genre.
you're
It's
really
in
not
the
gonna like
wrong
Odyssey.
side of the bookstore. You know, it's just like I'm not even going over there.
Yeah, Odyssey
Valhalla's
has
got
some.
ships, but
yeah.
it's not like turn
The whole-
sideways and shoot cannon ships. You know,
Yeah, a
It's
little
like a
bit of that
little
in
rowboat.
Odyssey. Yeah. Yeah. Assassin's Creed. Now I just want to play this. I was just saying I'm happy. Like I finally found video gaming happiness.
yeah. To go.
And why don't
what
I
are you
just-
talking about? Go play Call of Duty.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so good. Go
Yeah.
play Call of Duty, Sean. You don't
Do-
even know what like.
You
Can
know
I
what I'm really
spoil a
glad?
little something for you. Can we talk? Can I spoil just a little something? Not
Sure.
all- It won't be story related.
Okay.
Just gameplay related.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If that's not okay for you viewers, if you're still here 3 hours into this damn thing,
Is it
I'm
been
gonna
3
talk-
hours?
I'm going to talk. Yeah, I honestly looked up and didn't realize it. It has not felt like because we've been doing it for 3 hours. Has it not? Like sometimes we've been on
No.
and I'm like, we've got to end this. This
Yeah.
is not one of those shows.
No.
This has been very kind
Talk
of
about
quick.
video games. It's fun.
So you're about to reach a point, and there's a couple of these segments, and I'm very interested in hearing what my friends think about it. Where Call of Duty has some missions that are designed around like scavenging for resources and crafting.
Oh, I did hear
Weapons
about this.
Like,
Yes.
they take your guns away from you and stuff, and it completely changed. And it's like very stealth focused and heavy focused. And I was talking to just Dev, or like we've been sharing like private messages, not really deep on this yet, but just kind of like this is way different. Like this is so much different than what
Mhm.
they've done before. I'm not sure if this is like maybe foreshadowing like what's to come or not, but like it's very experimental and it really I felt like in a really good way because it changes the pace, but
Yep.
feels very anxious and is hard. The
Yep.
enemy AI in this game is really good. They
Yeah.
will flank the shit out of you, and you are not super soldier that you used to be before. You get
Yeah.
shot twice, you're dead.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
I died a shit ton in this campaign. I don't think I've ever died in a Call of Duty campaign more than this one.
They definitely like maybe not recently, but because the only reason I say that is
2019 felt that way too. Modern Warfare.
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It was a bit
this
of a
feels
callback because
more
you always
than
remember
that.
seeing like the quotes. You die, and then there's like
Yeah.
a war quote or whatever. It's like, yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that screen quite often. And there's definitely, especially in the World
This
War
one-
II versions.
This one feels way more than those. For me.
There was a mission with actually the one that I'm on right now. It's like there's a building you've got to get into. There's some information or something inside that you've got to find, and you have like 4 options on how to get there. And they didn't
Yeah.
even really present it in that way until eventually it's like, do you want me to tell you how to get in there? And they kind of lay it out for you. You can do this, you can do this. But like I ended up finding myself on the roof. Just like for me, that was the natural thing to be looking for. I wasn't looking to like breach the doors or anything. It just,
I did
I
the
guess
same
I
as you did.
found some
Played the
crates.
same way.
And then there's windows on the top, and I'm like, I guess I could shoot there. But I checked my heartbeat sensor, and there's like 15 dudes in there. I'm like, that's not a good
Oh, yeah.
idea. And he's like, oh, go over to the vents, and you can throw a tear gas thing. And they're like, this game is awesome.
We
Like
played
from a
we
Call
played
of
that
Duty
mission
game.
the same way. Yeah.
Like, and that was the natural thing that I did, but I skipped over something
Yeah.
else that somebody else
But
would have done.
if you hadn't done it, a lot of people would just blow up the door.
Totally.
Firefight, giant firefight. What I did in one of those buildings is I set up a bunch of mines in front of the door,
Yes, because they're gonna. Yeah,
and then I
they're gonna
went
run
and hid, and then I breached the door, and they came out and exploded. And as they kept coming out, I just kept picking them off.
Donnie, it's basically like Breath of the Wild. It's all like
it's
physics based. It's exactly the same thing. We all play our
Call
different
of Duty,
games.
the Breath of the Wild. Is the
Yeah,
Dark
Modern Warfare
Souls
2
of shooting.
is. Oh my gosh, man. No, that was Kirby. Kirby was the Dark Souls of 2022.
I hope Return to Dreamland's really good.
I was stoked to see that. And it's funny because a couple missions back, I was like, in 2022, here we're playing a first-person shooter, and it's like go from A to B, and you experience the story that it's got to tell for you. And I'm like, am I in for that? And then not even a mission later, it's like that's not what this game is about.
It's completely different.
Like,
And there's
not even
so
a
many
little bit.
different stuff, and it's all tied in. Like Modern Warfare is really good. I'm not going to make any proclamations on my Game of the Year rankings or anything, but I'll tell you it's on there. I'm not sure. I'm the stew on that. I'll have to stew on that a little.
This is the recency thing that I talked about on the Xbox
That's
Drive.
what I'm thinking. I'm
last
going to
week,
think
like-
on it a little bit. And I got a lot of other games too. I got a lot of
You got
contenders
time.
coming.
Yeah, you've got
I
time.
got contenders, but it is one of my favorite experiences that I've played so far this year.
Where are you at with God of War? I can't remember what your
I sent
Experienced the last
Haley
one?
$40 so I can play on her
Okay.
Haley Pass. So I split
Yep.
the cost with her. So I'm playing it. I thought the God of War on PlayStation 4 was the best game of that generation.
yeah.
The entire generation that we just came out of. I think God of War is the best game there.
Yeah, so I think it's right up there as well. I also want to comment the fact I just said Assassin's Creed Odyssey was. I didn't play God of War 2018 until I think just earlier this year on PC.
PC.
Yeah, and then
so
I was
you
like,
got the
holy
best
crap, you guys, this is
experience possible.
very,
It's
very
really
good. And for that reason, I just don't, I guess in my brain, I don't consider it part of that generation.
Sure.
I didn't play it as
Makes
part of that
sense.
generation, but definitely it's got to be in that.
This is
Top three.
it's a lot of game. I say the campaigns will take 40 hours.
Yeah.
And it just seems like a lot for me to do, like right in the middle of November where all these games are coming out. It's going to be a tough ask,
Yeah.
but I'm there for it. Like I'm going to try. It's like another Horizon, I guess.
Yeah.
I did
I love
read,
Horizon.
I
Oh,
read
man.
some of the preview coverage. It's interesting how I have some of the things that I've heard said about it, which I don't want to like parrot because I don't know how much, I don't want to give off. I've just heard some things. I'll just put it that way. I've heard some interesting things said about the previews.
Mhm.
And
77 on Metacritic.
I look forward to seeing how it goes. I mean, I'm here for it, I think. But I'm not like, it's not my most anticipated game of the year. That I think
I'm trying
it
to think
is
if
for a
there's-
lot of people.
I'm trying to think if there's another one that it's not for me. Definitely not. And that's where I'm kind of like,
I'm more excited to play
What
Bayonetta
else?
next week.
yeah, that's not it for me either. I'm like, what else is there? This is normally a question I ask at the end of like We the Gamercast. I'm like, so what are you looking forward to this year? And I honestly
Bayonetta, Pokemon, Evil West. and
looking forward
Sonic.
to Pokemon. It's not my most. Sonic, I'm very
It's
intrigued
Sonic.
about. I guess that's the most I could say about that.
Is
Very
it
intrigued. I
Evil-
cannot wait to
Evil
hear what you
West?
have to say with that.
Evil West. Let me open my library, make sure I've got that right.
Like,
Yeah,
I don't-
I've got Evil West and Sonic Frontiers pre-ordered, and Callisto I've got pre-ordered.
I think Callisto Protocol is the one that I'm like just chomping at the bit for. That's probably the only one out of, and I'm excited for Pokemon. That looks
Yeah,
cool.
I've got Pokemon, Bayonetta. I got to start Rabbids. So like now my Switch, like if after all year, like since Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, now Switch time comes around. So yeah, and then that'll get us into next year, and then I look forward to Fire Emblem, Resident Evil, Dead Space. You know,
That's too much. Game Informer definitely has the best rundown of this, at least by my measure.
really?
GameInformer.com/2022 or GameInformer.com/2023. There's a great, just very simple by month. These are the games that are
easy
coming
thing
out.
to remember. Yeah, just here's the year.
Yep, great. Yep, totally.
That's solid. Let's take a look.
Let's check a look. See, you should be Eat the Hype, and I should be Check a Look.
And Need for Speed. Yeah.
Dude, I'm
for Speed
hoping,
looks
I am
awesome.
fingers crossed they actually stick the landing on this.
It looks real good.
When I talk about my history of playing racing games, like a lot of it is centered in Need for Speed.
Oh,
back
and I
on
have
PC.
Blacktail pre-ordered. Yep.
What the heck is
Not sure
that?
if you see that. Yeah, you should check it out. I don't know if you're it's a smaller game. It's not like a big. I played it on the demo fest from Xbox, and I really kind of liked it. So I went ahead and pre-ordered. It's like real cheap. It was like $17.
I'm going to the official website. Give me.
It was like, yeah.
what is this? What is it? Are you like, it's like a fantasy. You're
Yeah,
like a
it's an
wizard or
action
something?
adventure game where you play in the demo. Like I got to play with like a bow,
It's a bow and arrow. Yeah.
and it kind of has like this kind of. It's hard to explain. It's like this dark occult type thing, almost like a Senua type thing,
Mhm.
kind of, with like some action. And I just thought it was cool. It's not
Oh
like a
yeah.
big game of the year or anything like that. But yeah, definitely those. So God of War Ragnarok, Pentiment. Are you gonna try Pentiment?
Yeah, and it's one I'm excited to see what they come out with here. But again,
I
it's
still
not.
haven't played
I'm
Scorn.
not pushing over little kids over. I think I'm gonna skip Scorn, which is disappointing for me to
play
admit.
It's just bad time, right? I'm playing Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I play Rabbids.
My time is passed on it. Like if I was gonna play it, it would have been like the day it came out, and I missed it.
I got you.
I think I missed it.
So yeah, God of War Ragnarok, Pokemon, Bayonetta, and then that gets me to Need for Speed, Callisto, Blacktail, and then next year,
There you go. Then that's it.
Atomic Heart.
I'm intrigued to see about Warhammer 40K Darktide. Oh, it's just on PC.
Signal
November 30th.
That's coming to Game Pass.
Oh yeah, that did look cool.
Yeah, that one's been on the radar for a while. I've
Yeah,
had it
there's
on
a
the
bunch of
wish list
like
for
kind of
a couple
middling things
years.
for me. Like,
Yep.
Ryan Turfer says, I'm so excited for Sean to just get irrationally excited for Crisis Core, Final Fantasy VII Reunion in December since that game. I don't even understand what
Game
that means.
Informer and I saw that, and in my head I was like, oh no, if Ryan just opened this page, I just know somebody's going to bring up Crisis.
I don't even understand what that is.
John, so far that Callisto Protocol is a rumor. They did come out and say we look forward to releasing on our release date.
It's gone
Who knows?
gold.
Yeah.
Like it would, like I want it to be delayed only because Bad Bit
There's a
and
lot
them
to play.
chose it, and also there's lots to play. But Bad Bit chose it for Fantasy Critics, so I want them to eat dirt.
There's a lot to play.
But it's not happening. I think that game is getting released
I do too. I think they want to be out in front.
as is. They definitely do, and that's why they're crunching to do it. But
Yep,
that's a whole.
They want to be out in front.
There's no doubt.
Let's see here. And then 2023, I think is more of an interesting conversation because we get Fire Emblem in January.
Man, I'm like between Fire Emblem and Pokemon, I've got the last games in both of those series that I haven't beaten, and the next ones are coming out, and that gives me a little anxiety.
Which
I never
was the
actually
last
beat.
game? You talking about Fire Emblem Warriors?
No, Three House, like the main line,
Three
of Three Houses. I never actually beat it. And the
Dude,
next,
Three
this-
Hopes was stellar.
Yeah, I've got the demo on the thing. Like
It's really good. Three Hopes is really good. Like for
Warhammer
real.
is good. Oh man, it looks great.
Hang on a second. Because I have a list. I keep an ongoing list of like my favorite games, because at the end of the
Mhm.
year, I always hate trying to put it together. So
Yeah.
I got into the practice years ago of just kind of when I have something I really like, I just kind of put it aside.
Yeah.
Fire Emblem's Three Hopes is currently my number 3 game of the year.
Wow.
Like I really like Fire Emblem Three Hopes. This is one of my favorite Switch games in recent memory.
I was listening to the Good Morning guys. They're kind of like they came out of the Married to the Games crew, Mark and
Cool.
Patrick and Lucas and everybody. They do this thing. I don't know if you'd ever want to do anything like this. They play 20 games for 20 minutes each, I guess. And then they give a rundown of their experiences with it. Are they going to keep playing it, or are they going to like kind of ditch it or whatever? And I thought it was kind of interesting.
A short take.
Yeah.
It is interesting. It's interesting in the sense that it's like an impressions piece.
Yeah.
It's like playing a demo. But at the same time, you would feel bad if you dismiss something because you only played it for 20 minutes.
That's definitely me. Like I mean, you know me.
Is the point of the exercise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what makes it interesting to talk about.
Right. Like,
so
you could be making the worst call, especially to put it out there on the internet, and people are like, "Are you nuts? Like this 20 minutes that you played is like you need to play more. You missed."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that necessarily.
Playing The Last of Us for 20 minutes.
Well, and that's the thing. I think they're more like they're smaller games to begin with, so they're somewhat realistic. But yeah, like if you're talking about Legends Arceus, Sean, you're not missing much. Go straight to Scarlet and Violet. Yeah,
dude,
I am talking about that and Diamond, Brilliant Diamond. I didn't beat Diamond either. So
January, and in 2023, Fire Emblem Engage. I'm not going to play Forspoken, but I know a lot of people are excited about that one.
Call up Doom for Warhammer.
Dead Space remake, and that gets us to February, which for now, right? Asterisk. Dead Island 2.
Yeah.
No.
Hogwarts. A lot of people. I'm middling.
Kirby's Return to Dreamland.
Yeah. Okay.
Octopath Traveler 2.
Okay.
Telluride 3.
There it is.
Like a Dragon Ishin. And there's a completely like derpy, grungy game that I know you have no care about, but I'm very excited about this game called Wanted Dead that I've been following for like a year.
Oh, cool.
It's fucking cool. It is rad. It's definitely like No More Heroes, Lollipop Chainsaw type.
It even sounds like it.
It's really, I'm really excited.
It's a weird thing. I guess this whole like looking forward to what the next game is. Like, I don't know exactly what it is that makes me go, I can't wait. Like, you have that like childish, I need that date to be here now.
Yeah.
You know? And I guess I still say that for
things you don't.
I guess it's just
there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know if that was saying that. I just wish it was more often, I guess.
Oh, okay. Well, the way that I heard, like when you first started, you were like, why am I excited for this thing that I have no reason to be excited for, was how I took what you were kind of saying.
No, I think Dead Space is probably the closest thing to that. Like I love Dead Space. Like the original game is just so good. And
I haven't played Dead Space in so
it's excellent. Like it really does hold up. And I'm kind of surprised to hear some people starting to say this sort of thing. It holds up as one of the all-time greats, because when it came out, it was like, I feel like we were maybe spoiled at the time.
I love the first one.
Yeah.
But you're right. It did kind of just fit in with all of the kind of really good horror games of the time.
And games just like we were getting Modern Warfare at the time. We were getting Uncharted's at the time. We were getting BioShocks at the time. Like, holy crap. Like the 360 PS3 era was bonkers on the third party front.
I love the first one. The second one, I played till I finished it, but I don't think I liked it as much. And then I stopped playing the third one. I never finished.
Yeah, I never did the third one. No.
So I'm looking forward to the remake, because I have not played a Dead Space game since 360 hardware.
Yeah.
I haven't played a Dead Space game in 10 years.
And I'm glad to see EA did it with Mass Effect. Remember when EA's like, we're not going to do remakes ever? It's like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got some of the most important franchises and properties in video games.
Yeah, they realized when things got a little rough, just how easy money remakes and remasters can be.
I think it's important. Like, I think people can toss them away or marginalize them or whatever, but I think they've played a key role in Capcom's.
Marginalize is a good word.
Right? Like
they devalue them. Like they're not.
Totally.
And they're huge. They're and it's not. The thing that bothers me about how people feel about remakes is that they act like it's a new thing. And remakes have been a part of video games as long as the video games have been video games.
Yep. Big time.
There were ports and remasters and upgraded versions and remakes of games on Genesis and NES and like from arcades and from the PlayStation from the generation before. Like, this is not new. This has been a thing forever. We had Ocarina of Time on GameCube and like
3DS.
This is just a thing. This has always been a thing, but you're right. They get marginalized, and it's not fair.
It was Ryan McCaffrey. I used to listen to Podcasts Unlocked a lot, and Ryan McCaffrey would kind of go on these tangents every once in a while, go like basically devaluing remakes because they were rampant, especially at the beginning of most console generations. I remember listening to them at the beginning of the Xbox One generation. And then I can't remember which game it was, but one game that he liked was getting a remaster. And he's like, oh, wait a second. This happens for somebody for every game. There's somebody who's out there who's like, oh, thank goodness they're remaking this.
Yeah.
And it kind of opens things up a little bit where you stop thinking about it just for you. Like, I don't care about this. So why would anybody care about this? It's like, do you understand like how many people play video games?
Yeah.
Like what millions of people really means? Like, you know what that looks like?
And most people don't play everything like us. We are an extreme minority.
Totally.
We got to be like in 3% of all gaming people that play more than 10 titles a year.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. And I don't mean that as an exaggeration. Like if I had to guess, it would literally be
I agree.
digits.
Single digit. Yep.
Like we're such a small sliver of the pie.
Dude,
we're very profitable part of the pie, but a very
Sure.
small part of the pie.
yeah, well, they're a bit of the whales. That's kind of how all
Yeah.
this stuff works, like inverted
Yeah.
pyramids and whatever.
We keep it going. We're
Yeah.
the heartbeat. But
Well, a couple people were asking questions in our shows. I think Jamie was one of them. Maybe Brian also throwing in questions like, do you think the video game industry is upheld by people like us who buy a bunch of games that don't end up playing them all? It's like, yeah, probably.
sort of
Probably to a certain extent. Like,
I mean,
yeah.
there's a few things. Call of Duty had over 100,000 concurrent players on Thursday night.
Mhm.
You remember when nobody played Call of Duty for the campaign?
Dude, I know.
Number one played thing on Steam.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. And this whole pre-order to play it a week early, I love it.
Yeah,
and I'm
here
so
for it.
glad. I don't know if people just have stopped caring so much about Call of Duty as far as like podcasters and whatever are concerned, that people just stop complaining about it. Give it to me every year.
Yeah,
All the
this is
things,
great.
like amazing. Let me get my campaign done, and then I like to play the multiplayer.
I think roll the whole thing out over a few weeks. Just do the campaign a
Yep.
week, and we'll do
Zombies
Warzone
comes out
next, and then
sometime,
comes
yeah.
Zombies, and
Mhm.
yeah. Just
I'm
roll the whole
down,
thing
man.
out.
I'm so down. That's the kind of thing. Like, why would we complain about that instead of all the other loot boxes and whatever other nonsense happens with pre-orders and like the things that don't mean anything that you get for a pre-order bonus? Like, oh, now you got a purple jacket. It's like, who cares?
I'd rather have early access.
Give me the campaign a week
I
early.
think I told you this before. I think Xbox should do this every game on Game Pass.
Yeah, they do it They do it for at least a few first-party stuff. They definitely did it for Forza. They've done it for Gears. You get either like the pre-order, like the gold version or whatever. You get it like 4 or 5, the ultimate version.
No,
you get it a
I
couple
would do
days
it
early.
specifically for Game Pass.
Just Game Pass.
I would make people sign up for early access for Xbox published titles on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I don't think
So it's
too
even
much to
more
ask.
than like, you don't even just get a day one, you get it earlier. Yeah. Yeah, I could see it, man. I could really see it. They could be holding that
Yep.
for
You want to play
a
Hellblade
rainy
2?
day
Play it 5 days early if you're a member of
on Game Pass. That totally makes sense. Yeah.
1000%.
This is one of those moments, like you say this, you record it, clip it, put it on the fridge for a year, and pull it back out. And Donnie was right.
I have
Again,
another
this is-
one of those. I don't know if it's as good, but I was thinking about it. I was cutting my leaves, and I was thinking about E3,
Mhm.
and why don't the demos that are on the E3 show floor? I know they don't put them out, like the demos aren't going to go out to the public, so people rip them down and data mine them and all that. Why can't you stream the demos?
They did a couple years of demo fests. Like they have done something similar to that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I want the next, like when they show off Gears at E3, whatever, Gears 6 at E3 2025 or whatever, when they have that demo on the show floor that Ryan McCaffrey's playing,
Mhm.
I want to stream that demo on Xbox Game Pass cloud streaming the same time they're doing it.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, what's the risk?
I think part of it is usually they're built on they're like it's an early build, and you
Sure.
multiply how
If
many
they're
people are playing it.
there.
Yeah.
It's running on
I
PC.
think it can be. I think it can be risky because I think if you let millions of people play a demo that on a game that isn't completed yet, that the narrative gets created like, oh, it's busted and blah blah blah. Like I do think that that's a little bit risky. I don't think it's as
marketing angle.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest reason. But I agree with as a player. Like I've been saying
Just
that for
wanna-
years as well. I just want to play
maybe
it.
not. Okay, let me rephrase the question. I pulled Gears out of the hat because this is a bad example, maybe because that would be like the earliest demo.
Right.
We're at E3. There's a game that was announced. It's coming out the next fall.
Sure.
Starfield,
Mm-hmm.
right? The next time there's a demo event for Starfield, why can't we play that demo on Xbox Cloud Beta?
I agree. Yeah.
Like if it's further along, it's in develop, it's close to release. This thing is ready to go.
Do you think, and this gets into the whole, what role does like podcasters or content creators kind of play as far as like drumming up excitement? Sometimes it can be, this is the risk of allowing it to be for a select few to create these narratives. But sometimes there's like a mystery, like, oh, I'm hearing it's good. I haven't played it myself, but I'm hearing.
You like the interest, the intrigue?
I don't know if I do. I just wonder like what role that plays in the
what
community.
Was the last Saints Row?
Yeah.
Saints Row I already pre-ordered it, but I got more intrigued to play it by hearing the diverse opinions on it.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is cool. I want to see it. I want to play it for myself now. It kind of made me want to play it more.
Yeah. I think I'd much rather see more games just figure out a way to demand my money immediately. Like I think one way that like pre-order early and get early access.
Yeah, that's a good point. I agree with it somewhat.
Like engaging me with the demo is great.
Of these events, they just feel so old. It's like such a living in the last millennia. How to do
that makes sense. Yep.
Like we're living this. Like we're still doing these events where we have a convention center that people travel to put their hands on a demo for 15 minutes. Like why?
Yeah.
This doesn't like when I played like 10 games during Steam Next Fest. I had so much fun. I'm like, why aren't we doing this with more games? Out of the 10 games I played on Steam Next Fest, I put 8 of them in my wish list that I plan on buying when they get released. So it's like that conversion to some sort of purchase was successful because I got a chance to try these games.
For sure.
So why can't we do that more often?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because you're asking the question in like a why, I'm answering the why, but I don't necessarily.
Sure, no, yeah,
like,
you're right. You did answer the why.
I think I'm like, why am I talking
right,
like this?
because you said it, and I was like, yeah, you're right, but I don't like it.
Right.
You know.
And then I guess the other side of it is like, do I need
a little hand? And I think in like this
in
this influencer world, you know, like with
everyone's
YouTube reactions and content and podcast, like getting that out to more people. You don't like maybe all of a sudden those 13 news sites don't speak for Far Cry because maybe there's 100,000.
That's a good point.
For Far Cry.
Yeah.
You know, it's like then actually like get it out there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually where I just hope things continue to go on the YouTuber front and podcaster front, like that people actually generate communities and there can be various voices. But there's still
streaming. I don't think there's a whole lot of risk for anybody to data mine it or pull something away from it that they shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Or anything like that because it's remote on a separate server. They don't.
It has to be of some sort of like service or some sort of objective to something. It's not just a matter of more people playing it. Like wouldn't
it help embed or integrate cloud into people's lives?
I could see that, and that's why like I could see Xbox doing it.
Yeah,
like really just play it. Here it is.
You know, you can play Starfield today. Like you have a 30-minute thing of Starfield. You can play on Game Pass right now. That sounds fucking awesome.
It does sound awesome. I think about the opportunity cost though. Like even like E3 in general, like they always talk about how much effort has to be pulled away from the actual development of the game to like do a vertical slice of the thing and to create the whole presentation, all these things. So anytime you do anything like this, it's going to pull away from what the game is supposed to be in the end anyway. So it has to be pretty substantial, I would say, as far as like pushing forward the game and what people think of it and making sure people actually sign up for Game Pass and all these other things.
But they could sign up for Game Pass. You make it Game Pass exclusive.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it becomes a nice little perk for Game Pass.
I think so. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
They just has to exist. Like somebody has to make it.
Gets people using cloud. Probably limits the amount of people even going to mess with it to begin with because a lot of people may be like, I'm not going to stream it.
Mm-hmm.
But for folks that are really excited, like, yeah, I do want to stream 10 minutes of Hellblade to see what it's like.
Do you think that like this gets
like
into
a banner on it, you know, streaming only, like pre-alpha or something? Yeah, of course.
I was thinking about like sports and how trying to get somebody to spend whatever $50, $60, $70 to attend a football game is trickier and trickier because the home experience.
$500, Sean.
Well, if you're having good seats, like I go nosebleeds.
I got you.
But like the home experience is so good. So why would you go pay for parking and have all these inconveniences and all these other things?
Very similar to that.
Yeah.
It's why are we doing that instead of bringing these things to the people?
Yeah. It's a good question.
TV does. Yeah. Because I'm not going to go to a game. Why would I go sit all the way up there and see little thing? I am going to go to a race though. I'm planning on going to a race next year.
That sounds awesome. My brother's big into racing. He's been to
But
a
I
few.
want to hear the engines. That's why I'm going.
Totally.
I wanna hear it.
Well, and I think that's one where it actually is objectively because you feel it. Like you actually
Yeah.
feel those cars in
Can't
your
get that
chest.
through the TV.
Mm-hmm. And arguably for a lot of sports, I think basketball, I've heard basketball is very similar to this. Like there's something that just doesn't like translate to the TV.
I've gone to dozens of NBA games, and I can tell you, if you've never been, all of the players from top to bottom are way taller than you think they are.
That's what I mean. Like
even the littlest guy out there, like when you see on
Mhm.
TV, the smallest guy is significantly taller than you.
Yep. And moves
Every
faster.
one of them. Hell yeah. But also in this, again, just my opinion, I think the feats the NBA players pull off, like the really cool
Mhm.
moves or plays that they make, like if you see Steph like drain a three from the logo, or you see LeBron on an ISO go and just throw down a dunk, it's more impressive on TV than it is in person.
Oh, you think so?
It is.
I was
You
going to
don't-
say the
you
same
don't
about
get-
hockey.
It's just the camera angles.
Yeah.
You can't see it the same.
Mhm.
So when you're there in person, it just looks like like I know who they
Yeah.
are, but it looks like a bunch of dudes jumping and stuff. But
Yeah.
when you see it in relation to everything, like on a camera angle, it looks way more polished and pristine and entertaining.
Yeah.
It's just like,
you see every
wow, look at
nuance
that.
of every.
Yeah, you see like the lift and the depth and everything. When you're in person, it kind of just looks like guys in a gym because it's just guys in a gym.
Yeah.
So I think with basketball, it adds. I think the TV product adds a lot to basketball. You see
Interesting.
facial expressions,
Yeah.
like all of that. You don't get a whole lot of that when you're in person, and I usually get I'm talking courtside. You still don't get a whole lot of that.
For
But
teams that people care about.
when you're sitting courtside, you do get a lot of what you don't get on TV. Is all the trash talk that the players are talking.
Totally. Mhm.
Cussing up a storm, yelling at each other, yelling at the refs. You can yell at them, and they look at you, so you know they heard you. Like I love going to basketball games in person. It's just it's different. It's real. So the best way I can explain this to you, I've told this story a few times. The first game I ever went to go see in person was a Cleveland Cavaliers Atlanta Hawks game. And the Cavs lost by about 10 points. And as I'm sitting there watching the game, because when you're watching the game, you don't have all the stats and the overlays and everything. You're just watching the game. And I was just like, man, like LeBron was like, he is good. He scored some points, but like he didn't take over like I thought he would, like LeBron James does. And then we got out, we went to a restaurant, opened the box score. He had a triple double. I had no context for what was happening because I was just watching them play basketball.
Yeah.
Right. He had like 38, 10, and 10. It was like a huge night. And it did not appear to me. That was lost in translation.
Yeah, and I feel like that gives you a different sense of even like from a coaching standpoint, what those guys are seeing. Like they don't have anybody like telling them stuff, and like NFL is different. They have all the cameras and they got 50
when you're
people.
in person and somebody sets a pick, it looks like guys ran into each other.
Yeah.
On TV, you see the play being really. You see where the
Oh,
ball
I see what you're saying. I was gonna say that sounds better. It sounds like you see like the impact of them like bumping into each other.
True.
Like
you do get
like,
that.
Yeah, because you can definitely get closer with basketball. I've had pretty good seats at a couple Jets games, but you're still far.
Yeah.
Like there's still like the whole sidelines and the 1,000 people that are on each team and everything. They kind of separate you from
when
the
you
actual
see Shaq
game.
in person.
Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see.
He's 1,000 times bigger than you think.
I'll bet. Yeah, I mean, look at him next to The Rock, like in pictures.
Yeah.
The Rock is a big deal.
Like a real NBA center, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Like there's something like what's wrong? Like
when you see Joel Embiid in person, you're like,
oh my gosh, yeah, no kidding.
7 foot 300 pound gigantic man.
Yeah. What sport do you think is best to see in person? Like, is it? I mean, I guess we would count F1. It's got to be that.
I really enjoyed watching hockey in person when I was little.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I used to go to Ohio State hockey games, and I used to watch collegiate hockey games. They're real cheap to get into. It was walking distance from my house when I was in elementary school, and so I used to go watch them. Because I couldn't afford tickets to go see the football games.
Yeah,
but I would go watch Ohio State versus Michigan or Michigan State or Wisconsin or something on the ice, and it was fun to watch in person because it's really hard hitting. And the thing about, and I don't know if this is true for you at all, so let me say my piece. You tell me if I'm wrong. But my impression from watching hockey in person is they are way fucking faster on skates than you think they are.
Yep.
Like when you see them on TV, they doesn't look like they're that fast. When you see
Yeah.
them live, like it's real fast.
They're
So when
going.
you see them like go fly down the ice and then hit the wall, and you see the wall shake and you hear the wall, that hits different than watching it on TV.
That's why, to the first thing we talked about at the start of this 4-hour conversation, that's why I don't play hockey. I can't
that's why
do
we do
that.
ball
Like
hockey.
I just run. I'll run around instead. My frustration with hockey is it doesn't have NFL or even NBA style broadcasting, and they try so hard and they can't figure this out.
Oh, we need the power puck. I was talking about this with Court.
It's
We need
not the answer. No, that's the
Oh,
stupidest. No,
I liked it. It was easy to follow. It looked cool. It was
It's
like
a
red and
black
blue.
object on a sheet of white ice.
Yeah, but
What's
it's
the
full of
problem?
people and sticks and everything, and it's really small. It's really small. It's hard to follow sometimes. It really is.
Hey, I
Plus, they
I
had those
get it.
cool robots, and I'm just nostalgic. That was
It's so
back when I
funny.
actually cared about hockey.
It's like on Fox.
Like I would
like
watch the Stanley Cup.
NHL
Like I
on Fox.
knew- I watched
Yeah.
those at the Devils versus the Avalanche. It
Yeah.
was the last Stanley Cup that I
Yeah,
watched.
Patrick
I remember
Waugh
watching
versus
it. Yeah,
Marty Brodeur. Yeah,
I
man.
remember watching it because it was must see TV because hockey was popular.
There was a beer
I don't
commercial
know,
here in
see-
Canada that used to make fun of that. Like it had like an American. It wasn't really said, but it was implied like this American suit.
I got Ryan with me. Yep.
Yeah.
Bring back the Dragon Ball Z puck.
Blue
That's what's
pass,
missing.
red shoot.
It was so good.
Yeah, the
So
blue pass.
good.
Yeah, it was a Molson Canadian commercial. that made fun of
Brian,
that.
I had plans to
But
go
that's
to
not the
F1
answer.
in Vegas, but then I took on this terrible albatross of restoring this car that has bankrupt me financially instead.
Come to Montreal. I'll meet you in Montreal. I've
But
always
I'm-
wanted to go to Montreal.
I'm going to an IndyCar race
Oh, cool.
next year. Yeah.
Nice.
So I just want to see. Well, I'm excited because it's a much smaller profile, it's much
Mhm.
cheaper to get into,
Yeah, we used to have
Faster.
one here.
as fast, if not faster, cars. But the cool thing about this is, IndyCar races, you can buy pit passes. You can walk through
Oh,
pit lane and
wow.
watch them like tearing the cars apart.
Oh
and
my
shit
God,
in the
it's
garage and
terrifying.
stuff.
Terrifying.
Oh, that's cool. It's like
That's so
that's kind of
fast.
the experience that I want, is to be a little closer. And there's an IndyCar race like just a couple hours from me. It's not that far
Yeah.
either. So I'm gonna go to an IndyCar race just to check it out. I'm gonna buy weekend passes. I don't even know if I'll go the whole weekend. I don't think my kids want to go that long.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of just maybe like do the pit passes like on practice day when there's not that many people there, and then maybe go to the race for a little bit and just kind of bounce out. I don't even know if I'll watch the whole race.
None of this is Montreal. All these words that you're saying, none of this is.
Jordan, Donnie should never go to Vegas. You're right.
Yeah.
I would love Vegas.
I feel like it was made for you.
I think my wife agrees, Yark. I think when I was planning a giant Vegas excursion, she was scared. She was scared she was going to lose her husband, or we're going to lose our house, or something was going to go bad.
I'm on a website for Montreal Grand Prix. Why isn't like the first thing I see the date? When the hell is this thing? I just want to know.
It might be because they just set the calendar for next year. I don't remember if Montreal's on it. I'm sure it is.
June 16th. It's E3 time. Look at that.
I was about to say they just set the calendar like last week. They
16,
set the
17,
calendar.
18 of June. Playoff hockey's hands down best experience. Is so electrifying. I won't disagree with that. Being live for a playoff game is, if you're in the right city, it's bonkers, man.
Watching golf in person is boring.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be a
And
real golf dork.
unless you're watching somebody that's like a real physical presence, it doesn't look as skillful or as impressive as it does on TV.
Sure.
TV gives golf a lot of scale
Mhm.
that you don't get in person. When you watch golfers in person, you just see somebody just like
It's a ball that lands closer to you or away
but
from
like
you.
the swings that they do is like
Mhm.
smooth and rhythmic, and it's not like a powerful athletic thing happening in front of
Yeah.
you. Even Tiger, like
Yeah.
when I've watched Tiger hit balls a bunch, and it's just like he just looks really good at golf.
Mhm.
When you see him on TV and they've got the sound, if you're like, holy shit, he hit the hell out of it. like,
yeah.
You don't
There's
get
a
a whole lot of that in
microphone sitting
person.
right beside the ball.
Yeah, you don't get a whole lot of that in person, unless you're watching like DJ or Bryson. Like Bryson DeChambeau just obliterates fucking golf balls.
I
Like
just
he's
want to
worth
see like
watching.
blow up into a dust ball like he's at a gender reveal or something like that. Just like pop. The other thing that just to close out this, soccer is frustratingly not good on TV. And I know you'd say something like it wouldn't be good to watch in person, blah, blah, blah.
Probably. Yeah.
But similar to like the speed that you talked about with hockey, like those guys are doing what they're doing, running full sprint.
That's true.
Doing what they like. It's so impressive. And like they just plant the camera on like 100,000 yards in the sky and go like, watch it from here. It's like, that sucks, man. Like,
you gotta see all the players and stuff.
Totally.
Kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to, I've worked a few games when the United were playing, and I've been to several crew games. I have a Columbus Crew, like a whole get up and everything from back in my days in Ohio.
Oh, Columbus Crew?
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
The Columbus Crew is the Ohio Major League Soccer team.
Nobody's ever heard of that.
They've won a few championships. That's okay. No. I mean, I don't think many people's heard of soccer, period, so. The world sport. No, that was one of the cool things. Columbus didn't have a lot of professional teams before they got the hockey team. And they were one of the founding members of the Major League American Soccer thing.
That's cool. I actually shouldn't crap on the MLS. That's actually a really important thing to exist in America.
They're trying their best, they're trying their best to become a thing.
Yeah.
So give them credit. But I've never been to soccer.
Yeah.
Football is impressive in person.
Football is. Yeah. Well, like I said, like you can never get really that close.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I guess soccer is somewhat the same, but
unless you're a much smaller venue.
Yeah, in which case is it a game really worth watching?
But it's more about the fan experience, right? When you see like the Seattle team or some of the European teams that like set off smoke and have chants and are jumping and they do the march and stuff. That's the fun part of being there in person.
Big time.
That's what you don't get a whole lot of in football. Unless you're tailgating or like if you're in the South.
Tailgating is the real deal, man. Oh, it's the best. That's like we have, and I guess it's just because it's minus 30 here most of the hockey season, but like, how do we not have tailgating for hockey? How have we not just like stolen this? But like, we live in the cold. Like, we're good. Like,
yeah, but you don't go out there. Just because you live in the cold doesn't mean you're standing outside.
Yeah, people do, man. Like,
but you should have.
There's really no good reason.
You should have indoor.
We totally could. Yeah, I guess. It's because we don't make a day of it. It's because it's not Sunday. And you go like set up in the morning and then
that's true.
Like it's because the hockey games happen at like 7:00 at night after a work day.
Court blew my mind when he was like, hockey's started. I was like, what? There are active hockey games being played right now? He's like,
yeah, just started a couple weeks ago.
Completely.
They're like 6 games in.
That's how far off the radar hockey is for me these days. I didn't even know the season.
It's basically, isn't basketball started? Like, aren't they like basically the same?
I don't know. Again, that's how far off the radar. I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't know.
We don't see it. All right. So you're in Canada. Your view of this is completely different. I don't watch a lot of news, but I have ESPN Plus. I frequent like Bleacher Report, ESPN, usually at least once a day.
Yeah, but ESPN doesn't cover hockey.
Stuff like that. And that's the thing. I turn on the TV. I've got Hulu Live TV.
Yeah.
I'm watching sports. I'm watching football. I'm watching F1. I'm watching basketball. I've got League Pass. So it's not like I'm not a sports fan and I never see hockey.
That's just how far down the list.
It's never mentioned. You don't see it. There's not an advertisement. There's nothing. I never see it.
Yep.
I have no clue. I know more about the UFC or the tennis than I do hockey.
You're speaking the truth, man. Because when in 2006, I went on a cruise with my family. We did a week in Disney, and then we did a week cruise. So it was basically like 2 weeks in the States, watching ESPN. The Edmonton Oilers went to the Stanley Cup that year, but I had no idea how well they were doing. We couldn't find any coverage. Like we just didn't know what was happening. We left, and we figured they were going to lose at any moment, and we would come home, and that would be it. And we came home, and they were like lighting the streets on fire. Like they were rioting because they were doing so well in the playoffs.
Isn't a very easy sport to follow in America, even for its like Netflix popularity. It's not big, but I still see way more of that than hockey.
Yeah, I was so frustrated.
Like, the season just started. That literally shook me. Like it threw me off my rocker. I was like, really?
Like, well, it also gets into games though. It even gets like because NHL 23 comes out at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Which just happened. Like it all just came out. Nobody cares. Nobody talks about this stuff.
No way. Look at Chase.
I gotta watch this. E60 on
ESPN has
ESPN
a
had,
documentary on the Avalanche Red Wings rivalry. That sounds
and the
cool.
Claude Lemieux hit on Chris Draper. Wow, that brings me back. Holy cow! The Red Wings used to be just unstoppable. I think they were in the playoffs like 20 some odd years in a row.
Yeah,
That's
they're
like, and it's not like
they're like the Yankees of hockey, right?
well, the Yankees, I would say, like they buy their way into stuff. Like I don't think the Red Wings. They were excellent at picking up veteran players. Like they were like 3 or 4 years away from retirement, extending it beyond that, and just being. They were like this. They were like an all-star team. Like they're somehow managed to get all these players at the top, and then their drafting was excellent as well.
I don't even know who. So I used to, for all the things I used to make fun of hockey, I used to be more in tune. Like I don't even know who good hockey players are.
Right
like
now,
I used to know, the goalies you mentioned, Brodeur stuff, Rick Nash, which I
Chris
loved.
Osgood was the goalie for the
Sidney
Red Wings back
Crosby,
in the day.
Ovalchuk.
Dude, Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin are in their 19th year or something.
Ovi. Are they still playing?
Yeah, they're in their like 18th or 19th year.
Are they still good?
They're excellent. And they're I think at the start of the season, they were tied for points, which I think is bonkers.
Wow.
Like, and that was such a big deal. I love seeing that kind of stuff, like two players kind of like pit against each other. And I think they were drafted just it was around the lockout, I think. Joe Sakic and Stevie Yzerman. Oh my gosh, man. Those are the days. I'm trying to get more into. I'm trying to watch because local sports team is good now, so I try to watch a little bit more. Ilya Kovalchuk, yeah, man. Oh my gosh, that team was unbelievable.
Is it Martin St. Louis?
Martin St. Louis, yeah.
The Lightning.
He was there with oh my gosh, Lavalier. What the heck was his name? There's two of those guys on the Lightning. Yeah.
See, like I'm not.
Now we're just throwing out names. Curtis Joseph, just like randomly.
The point I was trying to make is I'm not like
Lecavalier,
nobody.
yeah.
Like I know a little. Yeah, Lecavalier. I know a little hockey, and like I said, I used to watch, and just whatever. It just died off in America. I guess it's not on, so I stopped watching. So I stopped following. So I don't know.
Now you see all these guys are all in the offices of all these teams. I think Martin St. Louis on with the Montreal Canadiens. All these guys are on stuff. Yeah.
That's good.
Rob Brendamore's coaching. Like he's got this all smushed up face.
Didn't my Jackets they had like a little run there for a minute ago?
Yeah,
maybe a year or two ago. I remember Jason and Lucas were like, "Hey, the Jackets." And I was like, "Oh shit, fire the cannon!" Like, do I need to watch? And they were like, "No, they're not that."
No,
good. I was like,
no.
"Okay." I think
I love the chat. We've got a hockey fan group in the chat here, man. Throwing out Dominic Hasek, Sergei Fedorov.
Fedorov.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I remember.
Yes. Yeah.
I think Columbus would very much love to hoist the Stanley Cup if they ever could. Columbus is a really good sports town, but nobody knows.
It's not going to happen anytime soon. Dude, I think St. Louis could do it.
Yeah,
this year. Arguably the best goalkeeper of all.
Wait a minute,
Dominic Hasek.
Hang on. The last time I heard about you tweeted me about the Blue Jackets. Didn't they just sign some really important player or something? It was like, wasn't that this year?
I can't remember. Maybe
they got some big free agent, and I was like, should I know about this?
Oh,
and you were
yeah.
Like,
who the heck was that? Yeah, that was a big deal. Yeah. Who the heck was that?
I don't know who this is.
Who the heck was that? Columbus. I can't remember.
You were like all capsing me. You were like, this is major hockey news. And I was like, I have no idea.
Oh, Johnny Gaudreau. Yeah, that was a big deal. Yeah, he's good.
Johnny Gaudreau.
Johnny Hockey. He's very.
Is he really Johnny Hockey?
That's what I hate. I hate that guy. Your dude's name is John, and then like Johnny Football, and
there's John Gargano who's from Ohio, and he's Johnny Wrestling. So that I was at the reason I'm asking.
Oh, that's funny.
It's an Ohio thing.
Oh, he was Johnny. Well, he was Johnny Hockey in Calgary. There's Johnny
if you didn't
Football.
Tell me his name was Johnny Hockey. My immediate response to you was, I bet Ohioans are going to call him Johnny Hockey.
Yeah, he already was. No, that was a big deal. I actually should follow up on that. That was a big story because he wanted to be closer to his family, I guess. So
does that mean the Jackets would be good? Is he that good?
Yeah, he is that good. I don't know what they put around him. He is that good. Yeah. Yeah, he's like top probably 15
Maybe you can
in the league.
Enlighten me here. Is hockey that way? Like in the sense that
I got a book for this.
Is hockey
and actually
is hockey similar to
he's right here. He's on literally the cover of this magazine that's sitting on my desk. Like, who are we talking about? Who's this dude?
I have
the guy.
I have the Blue Jackets jersey in my closet. I haven't worn it in many years, but I've got
Oh man.
Mine though is the baby blue with the cannon, not the patriotic star thing that they do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I dated a girl who was really into hockey about 10 years ago. Is hockey similar to like basketball? In basketball, you can sign one really good free agent and completely change the outlook of your entire franchise. Like you are one player away from being a championship contender. Is hockey that way? 'Cause I always feel like hockey, like you can have a really great player on a really bad team.
Yeah, there's definitely been great examples of an excellent generational talent being stuck on a crappy, because usually they get there because I think this is like NBA, like worst team of the year gets the first pick.
Higher
So you end
draft.
up getting like, you get your great player.
And the salary cap in NHL is still kind of low.
I think it's gotten pretty high at this point.
Like,
But he
players
does
are not
leave room
making
for-
$300 million playing hockey, right?
God, no,
Right.
definitely not. No,
So
not
their
like
basketball
baseball.
players are getting. So I imagine the NHL owners have a lot of weight. So if they probably, if they want to keep you, they probably can. Is it one of those sorts of things?
It definitely is. Like you need at least two great forwards, I would say. Like just, and this is me talking. I think other people know hockey better than me. You need a top tier goaltender, so you're going to be paying that guy a lot. So you can have like a really great goal scorer, but the world's worst goaltender, which the Edmonton Oilers have had forever, and they weren't in the running for this entire time. So they are a goaltender away at this point. But yeah, there's been a lot of great examples. I think Chicago Blackhawks with Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane, and then they got Fleury, I think was in there at one point. No, he was on Pittsburgh. Chat can help me with who the goalie was back then. They had a couple, but anyways, no, I don't think that you can do one great player and just like make it to the cup.
Yeah, so they still got to build a team around Gaudreau.
Yeah, for sure.
And
But I think that they've got a good system.
The Jackets have never had much success. Because that's my memory of Nash.
Frick Nash.
Like I watched Nash in person. I was like, this dude's amazing.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, he was, right? And
then you watch him on like a Canadian national team, and then he's like one of all those other players who are just as good. It's like, holy crap! Like the collection of them are just unstoppable. Like some of my favorite hockey to watch.
Top 10 player in the league at the time.
And like he's one of those guys. Like he's a big dude, or he was, and he had hands. Like that was so rare. There's another guy. I think there's another guy on Detroit. He's like 6'8" or something, and he's just graceful, just really nice. Yeah, it's so weird to see when you're tall in hockey. Zdeno Chara was like that. 7 feet tall, I think. Dude was so enormous
for how good he was, and he was always at like the top of the list for like goals scored and stuff and assists. You'd see the stats, and for however good he was, dude, the Jackets sucked like constantly. They constantly were losing, and it was like and it's like a Browns-ish type thing. And I think that's why people kind of tune out the Jackets.
Yeah,
I would like to see them win one.
Every team needs like a good run, and then you kind of
kind of cements the fan base.
Yeah, like even in like California, those teams, people actually care about San Jose and Anaheim, like LA. Like again, that goes back to Gretzky, just totally transforming the sport. Like people going to LA and it became a thing. Like the Hollywood stars would go watch Wayne Gretzky play. It was nuts.
I watched a documentary on him. He was way better than I ever really realized. He's before my time though.
Yeah,
he was playing hockey when I was little, but his time was before I ever started watching.
That was exactly my time. Like that was me as a kid watching. Yeah, like I remember. I have memories watching him play as an Oiler, but mostly as a Los Angeles King. Then he was with St. Louis for like a day or something, and then he ended up with New York. But like those were early '90s, mid '90s. Those were my days watching hockey. I'm trying to get back into it now, but it's weird watching these kids play. You realize you're twice as old as most of the people playing.
This is a really long hockey conversation.
I'm proud of you, man.
Like we were about to wrap up the show, and then I realized, like, what? We're just going to tack another hour of hockey talk onto.
Do you think we hard stop at 4 hours?
Yeah,
do you think that's probably reasonable?
I gotta go eat.
Yeah, same here. I definitely did not eat.
It's 11. It's so late. The show is so long.
Look at that. We should chop this up into like 3 parts and go like, you guys are good until 2023. Okay.
Sure. I mean, it might be outdated, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me at all.
All right. Let's go eat. Good
Yeah,
talk.
let's
Sweet
go. It
hangs,
was
man.
fun. Sweet
Yeah.
hangs.
Very happy to see
Everybody-
so many people hanging out with us here at
True.
twitch.tv/psdg.
Yeah,
Very
more
cool.
people this time.
Yeah, that probably did it.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
folks. Catch you next month.
The end.